the ID card to Meiji Yuan and said, 1 billion demon crystal points. The whole audience was in an uproar. A game starts with 1 billion demon crystal points. He is worthy of being called the god of consumption. So scary. Suddenly I became worried. Does Huaxian really have so many demon crystals? Seeing the shocked expressions on these people's faces, Evil Han, he said coldly, it's just a small joke, just a few billion. I heard that you are very arrogant, so let me see if you have the capital to be arrogant. Huaxian kept smiling and said nonchalantly, I always like to let my opponents go crazy for a while. Let them float at the highest point, and then step on them. That's refreshing. Then, he threw the ID card to Rose and said, first, recharge me with 40 million demon crystals. Rose still frowned. What's the point of depositing 40 million? They have 1 billion. I couldn't help but ask, sir, what do you mean by this? Feng Weibing's Yan Wu answered for Huaxian, my man likes this. Sister Huayiran, just top up. Although the level did not meet the requirements, Rose was still recharged because she was a customer after all. Ding, congratulations to the host, you have completed the consumption of 540 million demon coins within 40 minutes and won 3 chances to draw E3. Ding, new mission, complete the critical hit for times the integer within 40 minutes to consume 2 billion demon crystals. If the mission fails, the host's highest level of Gene Realm will be deducted by 70 levels. Complete the mission to get 3 chances to draw lottery. People who don't know Huaxian look at him with confusion, while people who know him look forward to his recharge. The evil Hong, he sneered disaffectedly, do you think it's fun to delay time like this? Huaxian smiled and said to Meiji Yuan, recharge me to billion demon crystal points and put them all up. Ziyuan was still stunned. I still don't understand why I didn't recharge 40 million all at once when I recharged just now. Immediately recharge Huaxian with 2 billion demon crystals and enter the points battle. In an instant, 10 billion demon crystal points were added to the evil river. Yuan Hong, he was a little surprised. He didn't expect Huaxian to be so wealthy. But as a consumption god, and a 5-star consumption god at that, how could he be afraid? Super Rose still said, more than 5 billion demon crystal points. Yes. The whole audience took a deep breath. I was deeply shocked. As expected of the god of consumption, his aura is terrifying. Rose still smiled and earned 5 billion points. It immediately crushed Huaxian by 4 billion. Such an amount is very worrying. Noticing Huaxian's calm expression, the people around him felt relieved. Huaxian still had a smile on his face, and said to Meiji Yuan, recharge me 200 million demon crystals. Rose still frowned, why was it like this again? But I still recharged him. Ding, congratulations to the host, you have completed the consumption of 2 billion demon crystals within 40 minutes, and have obtained 3 chances to draw lottery. Ding, new mission, complete 5 times critical strike within 40 minutes and consume 11 billion demon crystals. If the mission fails, the host will be killed. If the mission is completed, you will get 3 chances to draw prize. The punishment became severe. Huaxian guessed that the system might have thought that he was cheating in the number of draws, so it increased the penalty. He took a deep breath and said to Rose Huayiran, recharge me 10 billion demon crystals. Many people thought that his deep breath this time was because the pressure was too great and he was unable to do it. Therefore, he recharged 10 billion demon crystals, but Evil Han, he did not take it seriously, thinking that he was almost reaching his limit. After the recharge was completed, Huaxian said, brush 10 billion battle points. Rose was finally a little surprised. This consumer crown versus consumer god is so arrogant, and dares to follow again and again. Is he stupid, or what? But the disdainful smile on his face, as if he didn't take Huaxian seriously. The evil Hong, he said to Meiji Yuan, brush 20 billion demon crystal points. The consumption limit of a 5-star god is still huge. It took tens of billions of dollars to lose Samsung. Huaxian was crushed by 14 billion. He said to Meiji Yuan, recharge 1 billion demon crystals. Rose also gradually got used to Huaxian's recharge rules. After recharging, look at him. Ding, congratulations to the host. You have completed the consumption of 11 billion crystals within 40 minutes and have obtained 3 chances to draw lottery. Ding, new mission. Complete the critical strike 5 times within 40 minutes and consume 55 billion demon crystals. If the mission fails, the host will be killed. If the mission is completed, you will get 3 chances to draw a prize. When the new spending limit arrived, Huaxian smiled and shouted at Evil Hong, how about I top up for 10 billion and we can even it out? The whole audience was stunned. Everyone on Huaxian's side started to worry. But it be that he didn't have enough demon crystals? Evil and Grudge Hong, he laughed proudly. My subordinates have said the same thing before. Have you ever given them a chance? Huaxian frowned and asked. You just don't want to tie? The evil Hong, he taunted. I have the strength to crush you, why should I tie with you? Huaxian nodded and sneered. Well, this is you comparing yourself to me. Elected Black Butterfly and asked, Wife, didn't you win a lot of demon crystals before? How many are there? Black Butterfly frowned and said, Hubby, the demon crystals I won just now, plus the ones I have on me. The total is no more than 5 billion demon crystals. Obviously, this is still some distance away from 14 billion. Huaxian looked at the beauties behind him and asked, Is there anyone willing to help me? These beauties looked at each other. Everyone felt the crisis. This time, Zidilan rushed over first and handed her nanospace device to Huaxian, saying, Brother Xian, this is all my belongings, a total of 350. Zarodeme crystals. Brother Xian, this is all my belongings. Only 180,000 demon crystals. Huayan also seized the opportunity and stood up, not wanting to miss it again. Brother Xian, this is all my belongings. A total of. There were more than 200 beautiful women. More than 2/3 of them stepped forward and donated all their belongings. Huaxian felt warm inside when he saw this. Also remember those who did not stand up. Then she was moved and said to the beauties who helped her in the critical moment, If you don't give up on me, I, Huaxian, will never abandon you. I promise you, you will never regret choosing me. After saying that, he looked at Rose and said, Recharge me 50 billion Eamon crystals. The beauties behind were shocked. The total amount they raised through crowdfunding isn't that much. Where did the 50 billion come from? After thinking about it carefully, I suddenly realized. It turns out that Brother Xian was testing us on purpose. All staring at the recharged roses. Of course, when I saw her recharge 50 billion, all of them confirmed their guesses that Brother Xian's show of weakness just now was a deliberate test for them. Zidilan and Huayan all breathed a sigh of relief. After all, I did not miss the opportunity just now, otherwise Brother Xian would never love them again. Those beauties who did not stand up were secretly sad. Chapter 517, Playing Big. After Rose has completed the recharge, Huaxian looked at the evil and grudge Honghe and said, You have 14 billion more magic crystal points than me. So I have 6 billion more than you. Looking at Rose, Huayuan said, Swipe 20 billion. It's a gain of 6 billion. But everyone knows that Huaxian still has 30 billion in his hands. If the evil and resentful Honghe wants to crush him, he will need at least 40 billion. Yuan Honghe's expression looked a little ugly. Mainly because of Huaxian's actions just now, which he thought was a joke on him. This made him very unhappy. She said to Meiji Huayuan, Give me 100 billion. What? The whole audience was shocked. It's directly in the hundreds of billions level. Rose was still shocked. But he still got 100 billion demon crystal points. The evil and resentful Honghe looked at Huaxian and said, I am now 94 billion older than you. Everyone's eyes were on Huaxian. Although he had 30 billion left, he was still short of 64 billion, which was not a small amount. Looking at the medal of Yuan Honghe again, it has dropped to the level of consumer Qian Ziyuan. It can be seen that this consumption of more than 100 billion is not a small amount for him. Huaxian had a smile on his face, and seemed to have no idea what fear was. She said to Meiji Huayuan, Recharge me 5 billion demon crystals. Under everyone's gaze, Rose still completed the recharge. Ding! Congratulations to the host, you have consumed 55 billion Eamon crystals in 40 minutes and received 3 chances to draw lottery. Ding! New mission. Complete the critical hit twice within 40 minutes and consume 110 billion Demon crystals. If the mission fails, the host will be killed. If the mission is completed, you will get 3 chances to draw a prize. When the new spending limit arrived, Huaxian said to Meiji Ui, Recharge me 100 billion Demon crystals. The whole audience was shocked. These are all in the hundreds of billions. The beauties who were originally worried that Huaxian did not have enough devil crystals breathed a sigh of relief, and at the same time were deeply attracted by Huaxian's generosity. Rose still completed the recharge of 100 billion for Huaxian. Huaxian looked at the evil and grudge Honghe and said, You are 94 billion more powerful than me, so I am more than 30 billion more powerful than you. Yuan, recharge me 130 billion battle points. The sound still made Rose frown. But that was all, and Huaxian completed the battle points recharge. In an instant, the flood of evil and resentment grew to 36 billion. At this moment, Yuan Honghe's face looked very abnormal. He never expected that he would meet a tough guy. He is also a tough character who was fearless. Seeing that everyone was looking at him, evil Honghe forced a smile and said inferently, Young man, you have some strength, but I'm afraid your family background has run out. Right? Huaxian chuckled and said, Don't bother you to worry about it. As long as you can afford it, I can keep up. I will definitely not let you down. The tone is full of confidence, which makes his own people feel very secure. but makes the enemy feel scared. When Yuan Hongyi heard this, he knew that this guy was unwilling to compromise and was determined to fight to the end. He said inferently, in that case. He took out an orange devil card, which was second only to the black devil card, and handed it to Rose, saying, "Recharge me 500 billion evil crystals." He deliberately raised his voice, as if he was afraid that others would not know that he had recharged 500 billion Eman crystals. Everyone in the audience, except Hu Xin, was truly shocked. The two have invested nearly 200 billion in the points battle. If we add another 500 billion, it will be 700 to 800 billion, which is really terrifying. Rose was still somewhat surprised and completed the recharge of 500 billion Eman crystals for him. Now we just have to wait for him to score points. Evil Hongyi said without hesitation. Give me 200 billion demon crystal points first. Hu Xin's wealth instantly increased by 164 billion. At this moment, everyone on Hu Xin's side began to worry about him. Black Butterfly asked in a low voice, "Husband, how is it?" Hu Xin said confidently, "Now that we've finished warming up, it's time to get down to business." The whole audience was shocked. The consumption of nearly 200 billion Eman crystals was just a warm-up. Everyone realized that this points battle was about to become fierce. Rose, who had originally been indifferent, was still surprised. "After all, I felt a little curious about Hu Xin. He ran. Recharge me 10 billion first." Everyone knew Hu Xin's habit, so they waited patiently. Rose still quickly completed the recharge of 10 billion Eman crystals. Ding, congratulations to the host, you have completed the consumption of 110 billion demon crystals within 40 minutes and have obtained 3 chances to draw lottery. Ding, new mission, complete the critical hit 3 times within 40 minutes to consume 330 billion Eman crystals. If the mission fails, the host will be killed, and if the mission is completed, you will get 3 chances to draw a prize. Hu Xin continued. Recharge me another 300 billion Eman crystals. After completing the recharge, Hu Xin said directly, "Give me 300 billion battle points." In an instant, it became 136 billion larger than the other party. Hongyi's expression of resentment could no longer calm down. His face turned gloomy and he looked at Hu Xin with extremely cold eyes. He stared at Hu Xin for 5 full minutes. Hu Xin himself looked calm and fearless. Everyone around him felt a chill down his spine. The evil Hongyi suddenly smiled and said to Mei Jiyui, "Give me 300 billion demon crystal points." Rose is still rushing to brush 300 billion. Hu Xin's wealth instantly increased by 166 billion. Everyone's eyes were on Hu Xin. Hu Xin said with a smile. "From the looks of it, it's going to be trillions. I'm looking forward to a trillion-level battle. That's going to be interesting." It sounds lightly said, but it sounds horrifying. They were all extremely shocked. Hu Xin said to Mei Jiyui, "You're on. Recharge me 30 billion Eman crystals." Rose still recharged without hesitation. Ding, congratulations to the host. You have completed the consumption of 330 billion Eman crystals within 40 minutes and won 3 chances to draw lottery. Ding, new mission. Complete 300 critical hits within 40 minutes to get 1 trillion magic crystals. If the mission fails, the host will be killed, and if the mission is completed, you will get 3 chances to draw a lottery. Under the watchful eyes of the public, Hu Xin said to Mei Jiyui calmly, "Recharge me another 1 trillion demon crystals." The whole audience took a deep breath. The feeling can no longer be described as shocking. Feeling terrified. Demon crystals, there are trillions of them. Even if it is demon coin, it is an astronomical figure for many people. Hongyi's expression of hatred and resentment was completely out of control. Hu Xin smiled and said to evil Hongyi, "Let's do something exciting. Otherwise everyone will lose interest after all, you are also a consumer god. So I respect you, right?" Everyone guessed Hu Xin's purpose and was extremely shocked. A beautiful woman muttered, "Isn't he going to use all of the 1 trillion? Based on my observation of him, he seems to have this kind of personality. But if this god of consumption admits defeat, wouldn't that be a huge loss?" These words reached the ears of the evil Hongyi, and he was so angry that he clenched his fists. Hu Xin said to Mei Jiyui, "Why you're on. As everyone wishes, all 1 trillion will be used to earn battle points." Chapter 518, It's not up to you. Yuan Hongyi was in a terrible mood. "I swear, it's never been this bad." Everyone's eyes were on him. But no one dared to show any mockery or criticism. Those who were close to him even stepped back and away from him. I was worried that he would have no place to vent his anger and might suddenly hurt someone. Seeing that evil resentment, Hongyi did not react. Hu Xin smiled and said, "Master Consumption God, I am 834 billion older than you. It's your turn." The evil Hongyi glared at Hu Xin and said in an extremely cold tone, "Young man, you have narrowed the road. Huexien said distaphonially. Too many people have said this to me, but now the grass on their graves is as tall as people. Buzz. A powerful genetic force erupted from the evil Hongyi's body, pressing towards Huexien. A figure stood between the two of them, blocking all the momentum. It turned out to be the security Wild Donkey farming. The evil and resentful Hongyi said angrily, "What do you mean, Wild Donkey Zhongtian?" Wild Donkey Nakata smiled bitterly and said, "This is Paradise Isle and no one is allowed to use direct force. I thought I'm saving you, and you're still looking at me like this. How stupid." The evil Hongyi glared at Huexien fiercely and said, "You'd better take care of yourself." After saying that, he turned around and was about to leave. Huexien shouted, "Wait." The evil and resentful Hongyi stopped but did not turn around. Huexien said with a smile, "Since you lost, you have to honor your bet and redeem them." After saying this, he looked at Rose and the others and said, "From now on, you will be mine. This is not a small amount of money. After all, Rose is still the 9th most beautiful woman on the heavenly ranking, and the price of redeeming her is very huge." Evil and resentful Hongyi said inferently, "What if I don't? Are you cheating?" Huexian's tone suddenly became cold, and he walked towards the evil river step by step. The others became nervous when they saw this scene. Even the Wild Donkey Nakata is the same. He quickly said, "Evil and grudge Hongyi, as a consumer celestial being, can't you afford to lose?" Hearing the sound of Wild Donkeys farming again, Yuan Hongyi became very angry and wondered what was wrong with you today. The evil and resentful Hongyi ignored everyone and left on his own, thinking to himself, "I'm just being naughty today, what can you do to me?" Huexien had already crossed the field of wild donkeys and seemed to be walking leisurely, but his pace was getting faster and faster. The next moment, he stood in front of the flood of evil and resentment. It was so sudden that Yuan Hongyi almost failed to brake and crashed into him. "You can't afford to lose, right? Either redeem them, or I'll take your life." Huexien's voice was extremely cold. The temperature around seemed to drop. The people watching were extremely nervous. The evil Hongyi didn't believe that Huexien's force was his opponent, and said coldly, "If you want to kill me, then you try it." Huexien nodded, the coldness on his face turned into a smile, and he said inferently, "Since this is your own choice, then I will fulfill your wish." A burst of momentum. Just an ordinary burst of momentum. Too many people. There is no danger at all. Yuan Hongyi felt the pressure from this aura and his face was full of disdain. He even clasped his hands together, with an arrogant look as if to say, "Let me see what you can do to me." When Huexian's aura enveloped him, his body suddenly sank, as heavy as 1,000 pounds, and became heavier and heavier. Yuan Hongyi then realized that what this guy was covering him with was just a pure force of pressure. Horrified and unbelievable, how could a pure force burst out with such terrifying power? Crackling. The enormous force and pressure made his body unable to bear it, and the forced support made his bones make crackling sounds. His legs began to bend, struggling to keep from kneeling. When Wild Donkey Nakata saw this scene, he was shocked to the extreme. Only then did I realize that my guess about this human race was still underestimated. Without any big moves, the evil river of resentment at level 72 of the True God was oppressed to the point of kneeling down. It was truly terrifying. Ding dong. The evil and resentful Hongyi could not bear the increasingly powerful pressure and fell heavily to his knees on the ground. Magnetic. The tremendous force of kneeling down directly caused the ground made of special material to shatter into countless cracks of varying sizes. This scene made others realize how tremendous the pressure that Yuan Hongyi was under at this moment. Even so, Huexien still didn't stop. The ground where Yuan Hongyi was kneeling was still sinking. This is caused by the power from the evil Hongyi being transmitted down. Click. Some of the bones in the evil and vengeful Hongyi's body broke because they could not withstand the tremendous pressure. The power of genes is becoming increasingly ineffective in protecting the internal organs. Blood rushed into the nose and gradually flowed out of the mouth. Then the ears and eyes? Finally, blood beads appeared from the pores all over his body. Yuan Hongyi was completely turned into a bloody man. Most of the bones in his body were broken, and he was lying on the ground, looking miserable and in an extremely bad state. My heart is filled with fear. Why is this human being so terrifying? At this moment, he understood that Wild Donkey Nakata was helping him from the beginning. It's a pity that I was too confident. Mercy life. The evil and resentful Hongyi's difficult voice sounded. At this moment, he deeply felt the threat of death. On the verge of death at any time. Looking at Huexien again, his expression was calm, with that faint sense of oppression still there, as if it would be the same even if he didn't explode. Huexien said coldly, "You chose your own path, it's too late to beg for mercy now." As the pressure suddenly changed with these words, the air froze. Everyone in the audience saw a terrifying air wave formed by gas, which was like a huge mountain falling and pressing down on the evil river. Everyone's faces were so shocked that they forgot to breathe. The evil and resentful Hong He was even more desperate. Unable to struggle, he roared in despair with all his strength. I regretted it to the extreme. Why did I come to provoke this human lunatic? Just when everyone thought that Yuan Hong He was dead, a graceful figure suddenly appeared in heaven. No. 7. Floating in the center of the hall, Hu Xian's extremely oppressive air wave, like a flood of evil and resentment, was unexpectedly blocked by a force. Hu Xian looked up suddenly. He stared at the smoke-shrouded opponent with cold eyes and asked coldly, "Who are you?" The evil and resentful Hong He shouted excitedly, "Ancestor, save me." I immediately understood the other person's identity. Hu Xian said coldly, "So you are the ancestor of the evil and grudge family. You are not good at managing the backstage. You agreed to a points battle. But you can't afford to lose. You still want to cheat. Which is like bullying others with your power. What's the point of keeping this kind of loser offspring? Why don't I help you kill him?" The other party slowly said, "No matter what, he is still my descendant. It is hard for me to bear watching you kill him like this." The tone was flat and bland, and no emotion could be heard. Hu Xian sneered and said, "That's not up to you." Chapter 519. Scared away. A powerful aura burst out from Hu Xian's body. The space distorted instantly. The next moment, unable to withstand the increasingly powerful force, the space began to crack, pressing towards the ancestor of the evil clan who was flying in the air. This scene left everyone present dumbfounded. I'll remember you." The ancestor of the evil and resentful clan disappeared in the air in an instant. This scene made everyone present look at each other in surprise. The ancestor of the evil clan was actually scared away. The evil Hong He, who had originally seen hope, was now in extreme despair. Even the ancestor was scared away. What level of terror is this guy at? Hu Xian looked at him with cold eyes and stretched out his hand. The evil and resentful Hong He hurriedly said, "Please spare my life. Sir, I will redeem them right now. No, I will redeem all the beauties here. They are all your wives." Hu Xian finally stopped, and Hong He breathed a sigh of relief. He said to Yl Zongqian, "Take me to redeem them quickly." Then he said to Mei Gui and the others, "You all come with me. I will redeem you now." All the beauties on Hu Xian's side looked at him. Hu Xian nodded and said, "Go ahead, after you redeem yourself, you will all be mine." "Yes, husband?" They shouted sweetly and excitedly followed the wild donkey Nakata away. Only Hu Xian and Heidi were left at the scene. Black Butterfly rolled her eyes and said, "You are really a playboy with so many beauties. Can you handle them all?" Hu Xian smiled and held Heidi in his arms, hugged her gently and said, "They are all beautiful women. Which man would think it's too much? Paradise Island is spread all over the continent. Can you go to one place and collect all the beauties there?" Hu Xian's eyes lit up and he said excitedly, "Thank you, my wife, for reminding me. I will definitely do it." "You're asking for a fight." Black Butterfly pinched his waist fiercely. "My dear wife. It hurts," Hu Xian shouted cooperatively. "You feel the pain now? Who told you to be so unfaithful? My dear wife, please let go. Otherwise," Black Butterfly interrupted fiercely, "what else can you do? I'm going to use my ultimate move." After roaring, he bit down hard. Accompanied by the screams of black butterflies, the dresses fell off and the scene was full of spring scenery. The other side, evil Hong He asked Yl Zongqian in a heavy tone, "What realm is that guy in?" Wild Donkey Zongqian replied bitterly, "I thought he was a true god level 80, but just now, even you were scared away by him when you called me ancestor. I guess he is at least a true god level 90. Yuan Hong He took a deep breath. True god is level 90, so terrifying. He had originally thought of asking Wild Donkey Nakata to help him escape, but he immediately gave up the idea. He honestly came to the management service center and tried every means to collect the devil crystals to redeem the 213 beauties present. Among them there are a total of 100 top-notch beauties. 6 beauties on the earth list, 2 beauties on the heaven list, 45 beauties on the 8th grade, and 60 beauties on the 7th grade. After redeeming themselves, they all ran excitedly towards the 7th heaven, when a group of people rushed in. Suddenly I saw that lingering body. I was stunned for a moment. Then he retreated shyly. A few hours later, Hu Xian brought Black Butterfly out of the 7th level of heaven. All these beauties looked over. They shouted in unison, "Husband!" The scene of more than 200 beauties calling husband in unison was so shocking that it is simply indescribable. Hu Xian was a little shocked and overwhelmed when he saw the more than 200 beauties in front of him. This is really too much. How to arrange it? It seems inconvenient to take such a large group of beauties with me wherever I go. I suddenly felt that I had gone too far and should have just kept the beauties from the earth ranking in the heaven ranking. And now that the words have been said, I can't bear to kick anyone out. Seeing Hu Xian's expression, the beauties also guessed some of his thoughts. The 7th and 8th rank beauties suddenly became panicked, fearing that they would be driven away by Hu Xian. At this time, Wild Donkey Nakata arrived and said to Hu Xian respectfully, "Sir, with your current spending power, you are fully qualified to be the god of consumption. Do you think you need to upgrade?" Hu Xian looked at his ID card and found that he had been automatically upgraded to Consumer Supreme. After thinking for a while, he said, "Then let's consume the god." "Okay, then you need to recharge 1 trillion Eman crystals." Hu Xian nodded and said, "Okay, then recharge 1 trillion demon crystals." Hu Xian checks the spending limit. Ding, the host's spending limit has been locked for unknown reasons. Hu Xian was stunned. I saw that the task of consuming 1 trillion Eman crystals, it should have been completed, was actually shown as locked. No wonder there was no notification of task completion and release of new tasks after spending 1 trillion. But why lock it? System, why do consumption tasks need to be locked? Ding, the host has received too many lottery opportunities, causing his realm to rise too quickly, which is contrary to the rules of the heaven and earth. The system is adjusting the task rules and is expected to complete the adjustment within 12 hours. Hu Xian was speechless. Will he be sanctioned for being promoted too quickly? Come to think of it, the 98 evil genetic powers increasing to the 91st level of Taoist God is indeed a bit too fast. Embarrassed Asano Asahi Nakata said, "Forget it this time. Come back to recharge next time. System, give me 18 draws." Hu Xian was worried that his draw times would be reset to 0. So he hurried to draw, hoping to win an upgrade ticket to break through to the true God realm. Ding, because the consumption reward system is closed. You cannot get special rewards by drawing lots to make up for the 18 draw opportunities consumed by the host. You will be rewarded with a skill transformation. Hu Xian was stunned, then looked at the skill transformation gained in exchange for 18 chances to draw with heartache. You won't know until you see it, and you'll be shocked. This transformation does not discriminate between men, women, or races as long as it's a creature you've seen, have an impression of, and can be constructed by your mind. It can be transformed. And yes, if you know enough about this creature and are familiar with its aura and so on, you can completely transform into it. If you can obtain the other person's bloodline, and even the bloodline can be exactly the same, it would be too terrifying. Wild Ass Nakata smiled bitterly and said, "That's fine. No one thinks that Hu Xian doesn't have the demon crystal. After all, he is a man who can even defeat the god of consumption." Black Butterfly asked, "Husband, what should we do next?" Hu Xian thought for a moment and said, "It's time to leave." Black Butterfly was stunned for a moment, then said, "Aren't there still the heavenly ranking, the 3 goddesses, and even the legendary beauty that haven't been taken?" When the others heard this, they looked at Hu Xian in surprise. Hu Xian touched his nose and said, "Next time, there will be plenty of opportunities." After saying that, he was about to leave. At this time, a graceful figure slowly walked towards them. Everyone looked over. The feeling that the beautiful figure gives people, besides being beautiful, is cold, like an iceberg, giving a feeling that keeps people thousands of miles away. Feng Weibing's Yan Wu said in surprise, "It's the Frost Beauty Bin Gpo Dongzu." Chapter 520, I feel relieved when you belong to me. A name sounds extremely cold. After scanning the entire audience, Bin Gpo Dongzu's gaze ignored everyone else and fell on the only man, Hu Xian. She was wearing a long dress as white as snow, and her skin was also extremely white. She really looked like an ice goddess. Wherever she passed, there was really a chill that spread out, making people shiver uncontrollably. Bin Gpo Dongzu came directly in front of Hu Xian and looked at him curiously. A look was unbridled and without any scruples. After a while, he asked, "Are you the human who was defeated and consumed by the god honor that Zuer mentioned?" "Who is Zuer?" Hu Xian asked back. "Not far away." An 8th grade beauty came out and said with some fear, "Hubby, I am Zuer." Then she explained, "Hubby, I used to be a maid of the young lady. Later the young lady let me out, saying that I would have my own future." Hu Xian nodded, looked at Bin Gpo Dongzu and asked, "What do you want to talk to me about?" Bin Gpo Dongzu frowned and asked, "You have won so many beauties, don't you think highly of me?" Who is ranked 5th on the heavenly ranking? Hu Xian was stunned, and he asked in surprise, "You mean I can take you down?" Bin Gpo Dongzu said coldly, "You ask this if I say no. Then you are no longer interested in me?" "That's not the case. It's mainly because you're too cold. I'm a little uncomfortable with it. As a member of the Ice Soul Clan, I am not cold, and you still expect me to be passionate. Misunderstandings are just misunderstandings. I wonder what the price is to pursue Miss Bin Gpo Dongzu." Benjipo Donzu said coldly. You guys have piles of demon crystals. Isn't it easy for you to exploit us? Huaxian smiled and said. I'm different. I don't want to consume once and for all. I want to consume forever. You are very ambitious. If you help me redeem myself first and do me one more thing, I will marry you. Okay, that's settled then. Then redeem me. Benjipo Donzu left after saying this. The purpose of coming to Paradise Island is to find a strong man. And Huaxian is obviously suitable. After all, I learned from Zuer that even the ancestor of the evil resentment clan was scared away by him. This kind of strength is enough to help me, Huaxian said awkwardly. Well, can you wait a little longer? I'll redeem you tomorrow. I have a small problem with my funding chain. No one was surprised by this. After all, Huaxian consumed crowns, heavenly lords, and god lords throughout his battle. And the consumption was enormous. I'm afraid there are only a few demon crystals left on my body, so it's normal to need some replenishment. Benjipo Donzu also understood this and nodded. That's fine, come with me and let's talk. I thought to myself, let me give you a little benefit otherwise. What if you forget about me because there are so many beautiful women around you? After all, she was a great beauty, and her icy beauty had a unique temperament. So Huaxian followed her with great interest. The others stayed voluntarily. What do you think? If our husband is always unfaithful and has more and more wives, will we be forgotten? A beautiful woman suddenly said. The others actually thought of this as well, so they looked at each other. In the end, it all fell on Heidi in their opinion. Heidi followed Huaxian first. Black Butterfly said confidently, whether you can forget him or not depends on your own ability. He is such an outstanding man, there will never be a lack of women around him. So if you have other ideas, you'd better give up on them. I don't have any ideas. I find a man mainly because I want to have someone to rely on and live a good life in this world where martial arts is respected and killing is rampant, said a beautiful woman. Me too, I just want to find a shelter so that I and my family can live a good life. These beautiful ladies also relaxed and talked to each other. Huaxian followed Benjipo Donzu to her residence. As the most beautiful women on the heavily ranking, they all have their own small courtyards for living alone. The environment is beautiful, quiet, and has its own privacy. It is also convenient for the beauties on the heavily ranking to entertain guests. However, the beauties on the list can only be entertained once in their lifetime, and will be removed from the list after that. After all, the rule of Paradise Island is that only virgins can be on the list. Of course, those who can afford the beauties on the list are not ordinary people. Most of the beauties they like will be redeemed and taken away. Although it can be said to be consumption, it can also be said that Paradise Island is a large blind date site. Of course, it is not ruled out that they come here just to consume. Walking into the courtyard, you will see blooming flowers and flying butterflies. It is simply a paradise. The colorful butterflies didn't seem to be affected by the cold air. They actually flew towards Benjipo Donzu and danced around her. Huaxian was stunned by this scene. The ice and snow in such an environment are simply too perfect. Plus, she is already the 5th most beautiful woman on the heavenly ranking. So Huaxian was drooling. What's more important is that the coldness on Benjipo Donzu's body has also subsided. And he has a bright smile on his face, which is extremely attractive. Huaxian couldn't help but walk towards her, reaching out his hands obsessively, just wanting to hug her in his arms. Benjipo Donzu stood where he was, without dodging, and faced the smile with the corners of his mouth raised. I thought to myself, no matter how outstanding a man you are, you still cannot escape the temptation of beauty. Tenderly, Huaxian hugged Benjipo Donzu in his arms. She was as soft as snow and felt extremely comfortable. There was also an intoxicating fragrance that made people not want to let go after hugging her. Just holding it, smelling the fragrance, and feeling the softness is a kind of happiness. I couldn't even think of any other evil thoughts. It's so mysterious. A full quarter of an hour. The icy and frozen fairy voice asked. Have you hugged enough? Huaxian suddenly woke up and said from the bottom of his heart. It's not enough, it will not be enough in a lifetime. Then you can marry me and hold me forever. Marry. You must marry. Huaxian spoke in a firm tone, as if he was willing to give up everything to marry you. The smile on Benjipo Donzu's face became even brighter. And then she asked, then are you willing to help me do something? Don't mention just one, I'll even ask for 10 or 100. The premise is that I want to stay here with you tonight until I redeem you tomorrow. Only then will I feel at ease if you belong to me. Okay. Benjipo Donzu was about to agree happily. A cold and angry voice came from outside the yard. Benjipo Donzu, what do you mean? I, the great god of consumption, have been pursuing you for 10 years, but I have never even entered your yard. Every time I can only reach the gate of your yard. Now, a new lowly human being was brought directly into the yard by you. What do you think of me? Boom. I actually launched an attack on the gate of the yard. Despite the loud noise, the gate of the yard did not break, and the alarm system was triggered. After a while, several strong security figures came rushing over. Chapter 521. Go to hell. Consumer God Yumazi Yuanlong, why are you doing this? A security guard asked the middle-aged man who was attacking the gate of Benjipo Donzu's courtyard. Yumazi Yuanlong roared, you ask me? Why don't you ask your Benjipo Donzu? There are only a few people in the entire Paradise Island who don't know that I have been pursuing her for 10 years and have never even entered her courtyard door. Now, I received news that she actually brought a human man who she had known for less than 10 minutes into her compound. What does she mean? I, the heir of the Royal Horse Clan, am not qualified to enter her courtyard, and I worse than a lowly human? At this time, the yard door opened. Benjipo Donzu let Huaxian walk out with his arms around her slender waist. Seeing this scene, Yumazi Yuanlong's eyes instantly turned blood red. His aura became extremely violent, and murderous intent burst out uncontrollably. Not to mention him, even the several security guards who arrived were shocked by this scene. Everyone knows that Benjipo Donzu, ranked 5th on the heavily ranking, is a famous Sisi beauty on Paradise Island. Legend has it that no man has ever touched her hand. But now, in her yard, a human man, what is the point of touching her hand? He actually hugged her waist directly. The look on her face, though cold, did not show any disgust at all. It would be strange if Yumazi Yuanlong, who had pursued her for 10 years, didn't go berserk. Yumazi Yuanlong was so angry that he roared like crazy. Venting his anger, it took him a long time to control his violent emotions and asked Benjipo Donzu, why? Benjipo Donzu said coldly, because he is better than you, a lowly human being, and you actually told me that he is better than me? Yumazi Yuanlong looked incredulous. Benjipo Donzu nodded seriously and said, he is indeed better than you. Then tell me, how is he better than me? Yumazi Yuanlong asked in a roar. Benjipo Donzu said calmly, he is braver and more courageous than you, richer and more powerful than you, and more open-minded than you. He listed a long list of Huaxian's advantages. Huaxian touched his nose with his left hand and thought to himself that he didn't even know he was so outstanding. Yumazi Yuanlong was furious and roared, are you describing all the good qualities in him? Benjipo Donzu said coldly, I'm just telling the truth. Tell the truth, right? Then I want to fight him. What if he loses? If he loses, it means I misjudged you if you really beat him. I will agree to date you. Really? Yumazi Yuanlong's breathing quickened. Although I was insulted, at least I got the chance to date Benjipo Donzu. So it wasn't too bad. Benjipo Donzu said, I am the 5th most beautiful lady on the heavenly ranking. When have I ever broken my word? Well, I believe you. After Yumazi Yuanlong finished speaking, he glared at Huaxian and said, you lowly human, quickly let go of my woman if you snatch her from me. I will make you die miserably. Do you dare to fight? Huaxian did not let go of Benjipo Donzu. Instead, he walked behind her and hugged her tightly from behind with his hands. What's more, he even rested his chin on Benjipo Donzu's shoulder. He looked so happy. Benjipo Donzu didn't mind this, because her goal was that thing anyway. Whether it is Huaxian or Yumazi Yuanlong, both have the potential to help me. The battle between the two of them will be a good opportunity to select the best one. But she was more optimistic about Huaxian, otherwise she would not have brought him directly into her yard and allowed him to have physical contact with her. Yumazi Yuanlong was so angry at this scene that he went berserk again. He cursed angrily, you bastard, you are looking for death. Do I want to fight you to the death? My heart was bleeding, as if my wife was being defiled by someone else in front of me. That kind of feeling is simply incomprehensible to those who have not experienced it. Huaxian said calmly, are you sure you want to fight me to the death? Sure, it's now, come here and die. He just hoped that Huaxian would let go of Benjipo Donzu as soon as possible. Huaxian said, well, since you are so eager to die, I will grant your wish. However, since you proposed this life and death battle, let's sign a written agreement. I'm afraid that after I kill you, the people behind you will come to trouble me. Yumazi Yuanlong roared. You should make a will yourself. Huaxian asked the security guard nearby. What if I kill him and the forces behind him take revenge on me? The security guard said, as long as you are on Paradise Island, the Royal Horse Tribe will not be able to retaliate against you. The implication is that they don't care about our business outside. Why? Huaxian sighed and said, trouble always comes to us. Then he said to Yumazi Yuanlong, if you hadn't come to disturb my good things, I would be living together with my Donzu and studying about having children. Benjipo Donzu rolled her eyes when she heard this. I thought to myself, this guy is really getting more and more outrageous. Looking at Yumazi Yuanlong again, he was so angry that he was out of control and his murderous aura was completely out of control. Go to hell. He roared and rushed towards Hu Xian. Hu Xian let go of Benjipo Dongzu and gently pulled her behind him. Such a simple action made Benjipo Dongzu feel strange. If it were anyone else, they would have let go of her and rushed towards the enemy. This guy is really careful and knows to protect himself first. Just as she was thinking this, Hu Xian pulled her hands, put them on her waist, and said shamelessly, "Dongzu wife, if you hold me like this, I will have powerful and invincible strength." Benjipo Dongzu was stunned. This is the first time in my life that I have hugged a man like this. Although it is passive, the action is really intimate. In the eyes of outsiders, they are so loving. Benjipo Dongzu subconsciously felt and smelled the scent on Hu Xian's body. It couldn't be called a specific smell, but it made her obsessed. She also felt a sense of security from his not-so-broad back that she had never experienced before. Although he originally wanted to use Hu Xian, he gradually became curious and concerned about him. Yumezi Yuanlong was so angry that his eyes almost popped out. What was especially striking was that it was Hu Xian who grabbed Benjipo Dongzu's hand and placed it on his waist. She wished she could switch positions with Hu Xian in an instant so that she could be the one being hugged by Benjipo Dongzu. But it's not me. So angry. Vile, shameless human, I will tear you into pieces. Buzz. A powerful aura violently burst out from Yumezi Yuanlong. Shocked the whole audience. It's more enviable. Unexpectedly. Under such circumstances, Yumezi Yuanlong actually broke through a small realm. Even Yumezi Yuanlong himself was shocked after being stuck in a realm for decades. He actually broke through like this? He looked suddenly at Benjipo Dongzu. As long as he could capture her, today would be a double happiness. Chapter 522, Scared. Yumezi Yuanlong looked at Hu Xian and suddenly felt that he was not so disgusting. After all, if it weren't for him, he wouldn't have been able to break through. Nor would he have had the opportunity to get close to Benjipo Dongzu. Although he took some advantage of Benjipo Dongzu, it was just an ordinary advantage. If they killed him, they would have nothing. Thinking of this, he sneered at Hu Xian and said, "Lowly human, I still have to thank you. If it weren't for you, how could I have made a breakthrough? So, to thank you for helping me. Don't worry, I will make you die happily." Exploded and attacked Hu Xian. Hu Xian smiled disapprovingly and said, "Even if I let you break through 10 more realms, you'll still be trash in front of me. You are so arrogant. The day will make you understand that you humans are the lowest slaves in the Red Moon tribe." The sword strikes. The terrifying force caused a visible crack to appear in the space, which took a long time to heal. So strong, the combat capability of this Yumezi Yuanlong is probably far beyond the 75th level of True God. Send a security guard. Another security guard said. Of course he is strong as the heir of the Royal Horse Clan. How could he be bad? I wonder what this human race is like. A security guard asked curiously. Another security guard said. How is it? Look at how calmly he faced Yumezi Yuanlong's attack. He must be either a madman or a strong man. And he is definitely the latter. Why are you so sure? Are you stupid? If he wasn't a strong man, would the iceberg goddess Benjipo Dongzu let him get close to her? Stop talking about it, the result will be out soon, said the leading security guard. Everyone watched attentively. Hu Xian moved at this time. He stretched out two fingers and easily clapped the sword that Yumezi Yuanlong was slashing at him. The whole audience paused, and then were stunned with shock. How is it possible? Yumezi Yuanlong muttered in disbelief. You know, in order to perform well in front of Benjipo Dongzu, he had already attacked with all his strength except that he did not use his ultimate move. Benjipo Dongzu's eyes lit up and he thought, my choice was indeed the right one. This human race is so strong. Hu Xian stared at Yumezi Yuanlong and said disapprovingly, that's all the strength you have, you dare to challenge me? And fight to the death? Two fingers seemed to be just a slight force. Click. The divine sword in his hand was actually broken. Some people were frightened by this scene and took a deep breath. How could a divine sword be broken so easily? Could it be that the divine sword used by Yumezi Yuanlong was a forgery? Yumezi Yuanlong was shocked to the extreme. As the owner of the sword, he knew better than anyone whether the sword was real or fake. Looking at Hu Xian, the originally angry look in his eyes was now completely replaced by fear. He also understood that if such a being wanted to kill him, it would only take a flick of the finger. And I actually provoke such an existence. Even if you have 100 lives, it's not enough to die. Cold sweat broke out instantly like heavy rain. No matter how beautiful a woman is, she is just a woman in his heart after all. If he loses the good one, he will meet a better one as long as he is alive. At this moment, I finally understood why Benjipo Dongzu chose this human race. Now he couldn't think of anything else but how to save his life. Hu Xian said coldly, it's my turn now. An aura burst out. But no one else felt it. It looked like Huaxian just said something casually and didn't take any other action. Yumazi Yuanlong was horrified to find that he was unable to move. So scary. How could he be so terrifying? Subconsciously begging for mercy. Mercy, please spare me. Everyone else was stunned. I thought to myself, Yumazi Yuanlong, are the heir of the Yuma clan after all. How could you be so cowardly? Huaxian smiled and said, weren't you very crazy just now? You wanted to fight me to the death. Is it any use begging for mercy now? As Huaxian spoke, he threw the sword blade between his two fingers towards Yumazi Yuanlong. What shocked others was that, faced with the attack, Yumazi Yuanlong showed despair on his face and did not dodge. Only then did I understand that his fear and despair were probably not as simple as I and others saw. Please spare my life as long as you spare me, I will do anything for you. Huaxian suddenly remembered that the system was locked, and he had no money or identity to redeem Benjipio Dongzu. It was just right that he could use Yumazi Yuanlong. It would be easy to just kill him. But it wouldn't do me any good, so I should make use of him if I can. With a wave of his finger, the sword blade, which was less than an inch long and flying rapidly to Yumazi Yuanlong's forehead, just hovered down. A bad smell emanated. Everyone couldn't help but look towards the place where the smell came from. It turned out that Yumazi Yuanlong was so scared that he peed himself. When facing death, who among normal people dares to say that they are not afraid? Therefore no one looked down on Yumazi Yuanlong. Instead, I feel that this human race is even more terrifying. Benjipio Dongzu, who was originally forced to hug Huaxian, took the initiative to hug Huaxian this time and pressed his entire body against Huaxian's back. Such an outstanding man, even without any purpose, she found herself falling in love with him. That confidence, strong strength, and an indescribable charm are simply girls' killer weapons. Huaxian felt the changes on his back, the corners of his mouth curled up, and he thought, can I take you down tonight? Looking forward to it. Thinking of the perfect feel of Benjipio Dongzu, I can't wait to take her down right now. He asked Yumazi Yuanlong coldly, can you really do anything? Yumazi Yuanlong said quickly, really, as long as you don't kill me. Anything is fine. Huaxian was afraid that if he reacted too slowly, he would kill himself. After all, the sharp blade was less than an inch away from the forehead. Well, I'll give you a chance to live. Your Excellency, please speak. Yumazi Yuanlong just wanted to leave here. Redeem my wife Dongzu, and stop trying to get my wife. Okay, I will redeem your wife and I will never dare to have any ideas about your wife again. In order to survive, Yumazi Yuanlong even changed his name. This makes people around him look down on him. But he didn't care. He just knew that being alive was better than anything else and that only by being alive could he enjoy everything. Benjipio Dongzu looked at Yumazi Yuanlong inferently, feeling lucky that Su'er helped her meet Huaxian, otherwise she would have chosen Yumazi Yuanlong when she was desperate. Judging from his current condition, not only will he be unable to help me, he might even sell me out. Huaxian nodded and then withdrew his hand. Ding dong! The sword blade fell vertically to the ground. And Yumazi Yuanlong breathed a sigh of relief. Seeing that everyone was looking at her with disdain and frowning, Enkin said to Huaxian, Sir, I will go change my clothes and redeem your ladyship. Huaxian nodded and said, you'd better not play tricks. Otherwise I will kill your Yuma tribe, which will definitely be a disaster for your Yuma tribe. Yumazi Yuanlong, who had some thoughts in mind, shuddered violently and said hurriedly, don't worry sir, I will never play Rex, I'm just going to change my clothes. Please wait. Chapter 523, I can't stand it anymore. The imperial horse, Zi Yuanlong trotted away. He came to a corner where no one was around as fast as he could, looked back, and said disapphonically, I'm not stupid, I'm dreaming about redeeming you from the fifth most beautiful girl in Qianbang. I thought, are you going to attack my Yuma tribe? If you dare to come, I will make sure you never return. I want to fly away as soon as I get into the air. At the gate of the yard, Huaxian's expression suddenly turned cold. Lightning flashed on his finger and then he pointed into the void. Boom! Suddenly, a fierce bolt of lightning struck the sky. It hit the fleeing imperial horse Zi Yuanlong. Huaxian walked over quickly. The others quickly followed. And I saw Yumazi Yuanlong, who was struck to the ground, emitting smoke and trembling. Huaxian said coldly, it seems like you really want to die. A murderous aura erupted, enveloping the entire place. Not to mention Yumazi Yuanlong, even the security guards were scared. Yumazi Yuanlong felt that the end was coming. Mercy! Mercy, I will never again. Phew! Huaxian pointed his finger, and an invisible force instantly pierced through his head. His body struggled violently, and due to the powerful genetic force, it took a full quarter of an hour before it gradually calmed down. The whole audience was shocked. The heir of the Imperial Horse Clan was gone just like that. I was also frightened by Hu Xian's ruthlessness. He really dared to take action. And GPO Dongzu smiled bitterly and said, "You shouldn't have killed him. The Yuma clan is one of the top 10 forces in the evil resentment domain and is extremely powerful." Hu Xian said inferently, "They have already been killed. So this is the only way." Just at this moment, Hu Xian's communication rang. I saw that it was the evil one calling again. I quickly answered the call. "Honey, please come out quickly, my mom is here." Hu Xian's body trembled. And then he remembered the important matter. "Aren't you staying here just to wait for Ziyuan Yuan's mother? The evil spirit Yizu. But when it really comes, how should I face it? Although this mother and daughter are not biological children, she is still the mother-in-law." While hesitating, a voice came from the communicator. "Hu Xian, get out of here quickly, you are surrounded by a bunch of beauties. And you are still going to Paradise Island, are you tired of living?" It was so loud that everyone heard it. Hu Xian said bitterly, "Okay, I'll be out right away." After hanging up the phone, Hu Xian said to Bin GPO Dongzu, "I have something to do, so I will leave first. I will come back to redeem you tomorrow." After saying that, he strode away. He then sent a message to Heidi, saying that he was leaving again and asked her to help arrange for more than 200 beauties. I can't help but get a headache when I think of these 200 beauties. What to do now? Soon came out of Paradise Island. Yuan still rushed over first, followed by a woman with a hotter body than her and an extremely attractive mature temperament. He looks to be in his early 30s, and his aura and every gesture is so attractive that one can't take their eyes off him. The woman came over and looked at Hu Xian. After a while, he said, not bad, you look like a decent person. No wonder my baby is fascinated by you, come with me." The tone of command brooks no resistance. Hu Xian looked at Ziyuan Yuan. The latter said in his ear, "Mother came here to break through her cultivation level. You can do whatever you want," and then she left. Hu Xian grabbed her and asked speechlessly, "What can I do?" Ziyuan still blinked his eyes and said, "Just do whatever you want to do. Oh, by the way, husband, if you can take down mother, it will do you no harm." Hu Xian was speechless and asked subconsciously, "Then your father won't kill me?" Ziyuan still smiled and said, "This is none of my business. What are you standing there for? Come here quickly." The evil spirit Yizu shouted. Hu Xian followed reluctantly. The evil spirit Yizu simply grabbed his hand and left. Peng Qiuya and the others looked at them in surprise. At this time, Black Butterfly came out with more than 200 beauties. But she has already dressed up as a man. GFE and the others were all shocked. I guessed something, but I still couldn't believe it. Black Butterfly, they can't all be. Before GFE I could finish her question, Heidi interrupted and said, "Yes, they are all Hu Xian's wives." Looking at the more than 200 people, they were all shocked. Hu Xian was taken to a luxury hotel by the evil spirit Yizu. "You too." Without waiting for the staff to finish, the evil spirit Yizu said, "Get a room." The demon crystal was thrown over. Seeing that the weapon was the demon crystal, everyone in the hotel was shocked. The manager rushed over and said, "Dear guests, please follow me." He personally led the way and walked towards the best top-level suite. Along the way, he said to a staff member, "The best food and wine. Everything must be the best, get the top-grade suite." I thought, it doesn't matter whether the guests eat or not. What's important is to let the guests experience our service attitude. Soon we arrived at the number 1 room. It is more like an independent manor than a room. Swimming pool, golf course, full smartphone service. Everything is available, as advanced as it can be. The evil spirit Yizu took Hu Xian in. When the manager wants to follow in. Clang. The door closed directly. A cold voice came, "No call, no interruption." A manager immediately stopped the staff who came behind to deliver the items. In the room, the evil spirit Yizu took off her coat, revealing her skin, as white as jade, which seemed to reflect light. Hu Xian swallowed his saliva when he saw it and wanted to touch it very much. "I'm also very curious, how does this icy skin feel?" The evil spirit Yizu took off her coat and other clothes, leaving only a set of underwear. Thump. Jumped directly into the swimming pool. After swimming around happily, he climbed up, wiped off the water droplets, lay on the recliner, looked at Hu Xian and asked, "What do you think of me?" Hu Xian had already started to have wild thoughts. Subconsciously, I said, "It's beautiful, very nice and very tempting." My eyes uncontrollably look at places I shouldn't be looking at. The evil spirit Yizu Zhen smiled and said, "Then why are you still standing there? There are no outsiders here, don't you want to do something?" The extremely tempting words made Hu Xian feel as if he was facing a super god-level strongman. The most important thing is that the evil spirit Yizu's suspenders actually slipped off at this moment. It was worth it for Hu Xian to watch it. Unfortunately, the straps had slipped halfway down, so I couldn't see what I wanted to see. But it was still vaguely visible, which doubled the damage. The long straight legs moved slightly. The bow at the waist also split at this time, like a suspender, and it seemed that it would fall off if the wind blew. The mystery made Hu Xian's blood boil and his breathing became slow. Gurgled, swallowing my saliva, I screamed in my heart that I couldn't stand it anymore. She was too seductive. Hu Xian's body began to tremble. Look at the swimming pool on the side. Thump. He jumped down fiercely, hoping that the cold water could extinguish the evil fire in his body. There is still some effect. But he couldn't help but look back. Chapter 524, Rapid Increase of Cultivation. Immediately, the evil fire that had subsided broke through his rationality in an instant. It turned out that the evil spirit Yizu stood up from the recliner. The shoulder straps and bows that had been loosened fell off. Everything that he shouldn't have seen was reflected in Hu Xian's eyes. Thump. The evil spirit Yizu jumped into the swimming pool and swam towards Hu Xian. The rippling water was so tempting. Soon he came in front of the stunned Hu Xian. He put his hands on Hu Xian's shoulders with a smile, and Hu Xian couldn't help but look down. That thing that shouldn't be seen was simply perfect. My blood pressure instantly rose several levels and my breathing became extremely rapid. I'm about to explode subconsciously. The evil spirit Yizu suddenly asked. Can you really help people improve their cultivation? Hu Xian suppressed the terrifying evil fire and replied with a trembling body. Okay. The evil spirit Yizu smiled brightly and said. What are you waiting for? Come on. He hooked Hu Xian's neck and bit him. A primordial power in Hu Xian's body finally erupted. The ultimate charm suit disappeared in an instant. To people in the water. A few hours later, the evil spirit Yizu ignored Hu Xian's madness and asked in a deep voice, why hasn't my cultivation level improved yet? Hu Xian finally reacted and started to vent his anger. And forgot about the matter. Pinkan smiled and said, I forgot to perform the dual cultivation method, so I just stood up. System, follow my pace and strengthen the evil spirit Yizu to the 70th level of a true god. I thought that since you have a lot of human king points now, I might as well strengthen you a little more. Ding! There is a powerful seal in the body of the evil spirit Yizu. If you force it to break through to the 60th level of the true god, a first seal will be opened, allowing the evil spirit Yizu to reach the 99th level of the true god. Do you want to force it to break through the seal? Break the seal by force. Ding! The host sets the movement rhythm to successfully break the seal in the body of the evil spirit Yizu. Next, as Hu Xian went crazy, the evil spirit Yizu finally felt the changes. I found that my body was getting stronger and stronger. I breathed a sigh of relief, thinking that it seemed I had not lied to myself. Only then did he actively cooperate with Hu Xian, extremely crazy and with various actions, which made Hu Xian feel unprecedentedly comfortable. Another hour passed. Boom! A loud explosion sounded from within the evil spirit Yizu's body. His cultivation realm broke through the 59th level of True God and instantly reached the 60th level. The evil spirit Yizu was extremely happy. After stagnating in cultivation for 3,000 years without any progress, he unexpectedly made a breakthrough like this. Just when she was about to call Hu Xian to stop, there was no sign of the rapid increase in cultivation level stopping. True God level 51. True God level 52. True God 50-30. True God. The evil spirit Yizu was shot to the extreme. Looking at Hu Xian, who was still working hard, she thought that all this was her credit. I never thought that just sleeping with him could bring me such horrific benefits. This can no longer be described as defying the will of heaven. It didn't stop until it reached the 99th level of True God. Not to mention her, even Hu Xian, who was equipped with the system, was shocked. This upgrade speed is even more terrifying than when he uses upgrade scrolls. The key is that it uses upgrade scrolls too aggressively, and the system has to suppress it. The evil spirit Yizu did not. No, this is only the first layer of the seal, but it is so terrifying. Is there a second or even third layer behind it? If this is the case, then what kind of terrifying realm will this evil spirit Yizu reach? System, can you tell me how many layers of seals are inside the evil spirit Yizu's body? Ding, the host has asked a question that exceeds his authority. Hu Xian was depressed. The evil spirit Yizu finally reacted, holding Hu Xian's shoulders tightly with both hands and asked, is all this your fault? The tone was excited and shocked. Hu Xian showed a look of pain, thinking that it was a good thing that he was at the 91st level of True God. If it were someone else, his shoulder would have been crushed. He nodded and said, I also contributed to this, but the key is that you have a good physique and talent, which is why you can improve so much. Looking at the evil spirit Yizu's expression, she didn't know that there was a seal in her body out of selfishness. Hu Xian naturally wouldn't tell her. Now that the evil spirit Yizu is so powerful, Hu Xian intends to keep her as his #1 general. The evil spirit Yizu asked excitedly, is it true that every time I'm with you, I can improve my cultivation? Huaxian nodded and said, if I practice the dual cultivation technique, it will indeed work every time. But after performing it once, it will take some time for the same physique to be effective. Is that so? Doesn't that mean I can keep getting stronger by following you? After staying at the 59th level of True God for 3,000 years without any progress, Huaxian broke through to the peak of True God just by sleeping. The evil spirit Yizu was somewhat addicted to it. Huaxian's goal was to keep her by his side, so he quickly said, that's natural. And I will remain as the saint of the evil clan. And I will follow you from now on. You don't dislike me, do you? The evil spirit Yizu asked Huaxian while looking at him. Huaxian was overjoyed in his heart, but pretended to be bitter on the surface and said, of course I won't dislike you, but what about you and Ziyuan? What else can we do? We can just be sisters. Huaxian screamed in shock. Mother and daughter instantly became sisters. What? Why you're on, Yi and Yidai are just evil creatures that I cultivated out of boredom using my own blood and essence. It's not too much to call them daughters, but it's more appropriate to call them sisters. Is that so? And their father? Huaxian was relieved to know that they were not real mother and daughter. The evil spirit Yizu said, I am the saint of the evil clan. How can I have a husband? Their father is just my fiancé. He has been targeting me, how can I let him succeed so easily? However, if he could improve my cultivation like you did, I might still consider it. Now? Are you willing to let me sleep with other men? Bullshit, how could I bear to do that? You are my woman. And will always be my woman. If anyone dares to hit you, I will kill him, Huaxian said with a strong possessiveness. The evil spirit Yizu covered her mouth and laughed secretly. If you dare to treat me badly, I will put a hat on you. You dare? You actually thought of putting a hat on me. I'll teach you a lesson. It's spring again. This time, the evil spirit Yizu no longer had any purpose, and she was in a good mood. So she cooperated with Huaxian. Only then did Huaxian experience a different kind of happiness. A few hours later, the evil spirit Yizu's communicator rang. When I saw it was Ziyuan calling, I hung up immediately. I thought you are disturbing my good time. I secretly muttered to myself. It turns out that love between men and women can make people so excited. I will have to spend more time with this guy in the future. Ding Galing. The communicator rang again. The evil spirit Yizu was so angry that she wanted to take down the communicator and throw it away. When I opened it, I was stunned to see that it was a number I hadn't seen for a long time. But it was marked with my fiancé's number. I didn't expect that guy would call me at this time. Chapter 525, failed to catch an adulterer and got beaten. The evil spirit Yizu said to Huaxian, what should I do? This is a call from my fiancé, should I answer it? Huaxian said inferently, if you want to answer it. Answer it. If you don't want to answer it, don't answer it. The evil spirit Yizu rolled her eyes. How can I answer like this? Aren't you afraid that I'll be seen naked? Huaxian smiled brightly. Of course I'm afraid. Ursula addressed the evil spirit Yizu. And he hugged the evil spirit Yizu. The latter then answered the phone. In the video footage, a man who looks to be in his early 30s is actually with Ziyuan and the others. The man originally had a confident smile on his face. But when he saw the video footage of the evil spirit Yizu being hugged by a human man, the smile on his face froze. Gradually became indifferent. Even though Ziyuan still knew all of this, he was still shocked when he saw this scene. He didn't expect Huaxian and his mother to really take that step. Although I know that I am not my mother's biological child, I still feel weird about it. Subconsciously she looked at her mother's fiancé beside her. I don't know what will happen next. Looking at the video again, Huaxian's hands are not honest at all. The young man who saw this scene became even more angry. He was cuckolded in front of him, this damn lowly human being. No, if the evil spirit Yizu didn't agree, how could this human dare to touch him? Why? The evil spirit Yizu was not worried at all. She leaned on Huaxian and said happily, because he is better than you. As the saint of the evil clan, I will naturally choose the best. You actually said I'm not as good as this human? Buzz. After the angry rebuke, an extremely terrifying aura of cultivation burst out. Boom boom boom. The people around were all oppressed and fell to the ground. The evil vengeance that was closest to this guy was still spurting blood. You dare to hurt my daughter's sister, you are seeking death. The evil spirit Yizu disappeared in the video instantly. It's not teleportation, but the speed is too fast. After the cultivation reaches the 99th level of True God, Huaxian followed closely behind. Soon he appeared in front of the young man. The evil monster is invincible. You hurt my sisters. You deserve to be beaten. Hit me. Buzz. The evil spirit Yizu simply released a trace of aura to oppress the past. The evil monster WUDE had just uttered 2 words when he was oppressed by the aura and spurted blood. Click, click. The bones in the body could not bear such pressure and kept breaking. Under the shocked gazes of the people around him, he turned into a puddle of mud and sank to the ground. His eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. Jia Yuan was still stunned. Just because she heard her mother call her sisters? Evil monster is invincible, now you know how rubbish you are. The evil spirit Yizu walked closer to him step by step and said. The evil monster Wudi asked in disbelief, aren't you a level 59 true god? How can you be so strong? The evil spirit Yizu said confidently. Because my husband helped me break through, is that not okay? Just then, Huaxian walked up to her and she hugged him directly. This scene made the evil monster so angry that he roared. Evil spirit Yizu, don't forget that we are engaged. If you hadn't been delaying, we should have been married 5,000 years ago. The evil spirit Yizu said disapprovingly, it's a good thing I kept putting it off. Otherwise how could I have waited for my husband? How could I have achieved what I have now? Evil spirit Yizu, aren't you afraid of causing a war between the two tribes? My evil monster tribe is not weaker than your evil resentment tribe. And is even stronger. Stronger? Are you dreaming? The evil spirit Yizu said disapprovingly. Evil spirit Yizu, you may not know yet, but the ancestor of my clan has already broken through to the realm of true god. What? The evil spirit Yizu was shocked, breaking through the true god. Isn't that the realm of super god? The evil monster Wudi said angrily. So I came here this time for our marriage, but I didn't expect that you would betray me and get together with a lowly human. You are really a lowly person. The word sheep violated the bottom line of the evil spirit Yizu. When has the dignified saint of the Ziyuan clan ever been humiliated like this? Thinking that I am now a married woman. Leaning in Huaxian's arms, she deliberately said in a coquettish and charming tone. Hubby, he scolded me. It's almost bone-softening. Huaxian hugged her, took a deep breath on her hair, and then said, okay, I'll teach him a lesson. At this moment, the invincible evil monster was just a puddle of mud. Huaxian walked over and asked calmly, I don't know, are you afraid of torture? The evil monster Wud said viciously. You lowly human, use whatever you can do, and I, the evil monster Wud, will take over. Also, you'd better pray, otherwise when our ancestor arrives, it will be your death. Hearing this, everyone knew that this guy had already informed the ancestor of the evil monster tribe. They were all a little worried, after all, that was a super god level. The evil spirit Yizu asked Huaxian, hubby, what about the super god level? What do you think? Huaxian said fearlessly, what else can you say? If it's a woman, I'll take her directly into the harem, and if it's a man, I'll beat him to death. The evil spirit Yizu burst out laughing. Then she said, hubby, I guessed it right, the ancestor of the evil monster tribe is really a woman. Although she has lived at the true god level for millions of years and has become extremely old, she has broken through to the super god level and her genes have evolved. I think she is worthy of you. Huaxian's eyes lit up and he said, if that's the case, then wouldn't I be the ancestor of this guy? And so are you. You are shameless. How could the ancestors of our clan fall for a lowly, shameless and vulgar human like you? Huaxian chuckled and said, it doesn't matter whether your ancestors like me or not. What matters is that I like her. You dare to blaspheme our ancestors. You will die miserably, very miserably. And you, the evil spirit Yizu, you and your evil clan can just wait for your destruction. The evil spirit Yizu said disapprovingly, the evil monster is invincible. Are you fooled? My clan is able to dominate the Red Moon Star. Do you think it's really as simple as it seems? I just realized now that you are really stupid. I am even more fortunate that I did not marry a fool like you. You bitch, I will make you regret this. The evil spirit Yizu took Huaxian's arm and said coquettishly again. Hubby, look, he scolded me again, it's too much. Yuan was still shocked when he saw this scene. He couldn't believe it. Was this really his majestic mother? It's just too. Huaxian embraced the evil spirit Yizu and comforted her with great enjoyment. Okay, your husband will make the decision for you. System. Exchange me for a creature that can enter a human body and devour the genetic power from this guy. The omnipotent system really has everything. Ding! Congratulations to the host, the exchange of the gene-devouring insect was successful. Because of the infinite strengthening points, there is no consumption. There was only one, and it was only as small as a flea. Huaxian thought it was too little. The system exchanges for 10,000. Chapter 526 coming. Huaxian took out 10,000 gene-devouring poisonous insects that were packed in transparent glass bottles. Everyone looked on curiously. The evil spirit Yizu asked curiously, husband, what is this? Huaxian explained with a smile. The kind of poisonous insect that devours the genetic power of living things. Are there such vicious poisonous insects in the world? Huaxian said calmly, there are many more vicious ones than this. But to punish this guy, this poisonous insect in my hand is enough. Then let's hurry up, the evil spirit Yizu said with some anticipation. The evil monster Wudi heard their conversation clearly and looked at the transparent glass bottle in Huxin's hand with fear. Regardless of whether it is true or not, swallowing his genes would be equivalent to destroying him. Huxin nodded and said, "Okay, let's try it right away." He walked up to the evil monster Wudi and said, "Aren't you very arrogant? Come and experience it." He opened the lid and pressed the bottle mouth against the invincible evil monster. Boom boom boom. The gene-devouring poisonous insects in the glass bottle went crazy, scrambling to rush into the body of the invincible evil monster along the bottle mouth. The invincible evil monster felt that thousands of creatures were rushing into his body, let alone the gene-devouring poisonous insects. Even if so many ordinary insects entered his body, it would be a disaster enough to make people despair. Soon, the evil monster became invincible and felt that the genetic power was disappearing. They were not deceiving themselves, this really was a gene-devouring insect. "Oh, you are so vicious, you will die miserably if you treat me like this." The evil monster was invincible and desperate, roaring and cursing in anger. The onlookers could also clearly feel that the genetic power in the evil monster Invincible's body was disappearing. Huxin didn't expect that the power of this gene-devouring insect would be so fierce. There are 10,000 of them, and only 2,000 of them have come out. But they have such a terrifying effect. He quickly used his mental power to seal the bottle mouth, then gave up putting all the energy into the invincible evil monster's body. Even so, more than 2,000 gene-devouring poisonous insects are still the evil monster's invincible nightmare. Kill me, kill me. One can imagine the pain of feeling the genetic power in the body being devoured. The evil monster was invincible and desperate, and longed for death. Huxin said calmly, "You insulted my wife. If you want to die, it won't be that easy. Lowly human, you dare to do this to me. Not only will you die, but you humans will all be the mortal enemy of my evil monster invincible alien race. My race will definitely exterminate all humans on Red Moon Star." Huxin smiled coldly and said, "Then I will destroy your evil monster tribe first. Do you think being at the super god level is awesome?" This rhetorical question shocked the whole audience. What everyone sees on Huxin's face is confidence. He is not lying. He doesn't even take the super god level seriously. So what level is he at? Everyone is curious about Huxin's strength. The evil monster's invincible aura is getting weaker and weaker. He was in despair, his life force was fading, and death was a relief for him. Boom! There was a sudden explosion in the sky. There was no flash of thunder, just a sudden loud bang. Then, an extremely huge vortex exploded. The vortex grew larger and larger, spreading to the left. A scorching sun even darkened the sky. Everyone looked up at the sky in shock, feeling increasingly uneasy, as if a disaster was about to strike. The next moment, an extremely evil and powerful aura came from the vortex. The evil monster was invincible and was extremely surprised when he felt this breath. With tears in her eyes, she shouted loudly, "Ancestor! You are finally here." The vitality that had been dissipating stabilized a little, and he was going to watch this human race perish. And there is the evil spirit Yizu. Who will make this bitch pay the price? Many people, feeling the increasingly terrifying evil pressure, began to flee. "I dare not stay in Border City any longer. What kind of horror is about to befall our Border City?" muttered an old man whose age was unknown. A young man with green eyes looked at the vortex in the sky and replied, "Beyond the true God." The old man trembled and said, "Let's go, we should leave here." Many beings hidden in Border City left Border City as soon as possible. With an arrival of this level, I wouldn't even dare to watch the show. The evil spirit Yizu asked Huxin, "Hubby, this should be the ancestor of the evil monster tribe coming. It can make such a big noise. I'm afraid only a super god can do it." Huxin nodded and said, "Even if it's not a pure super god level, it should be a half-step super god level." Half a step? If a half-step super god level has such terrifying power, how terrifying would a true super god level be? "Honey, why don't we run away?" I walked over and said furfully. The invincible evil monster roared with all his strength. "You want to escape? You are dreaming in front of the super god. There is no place for you anywhere in the world." He was afraid that others couldn't hear it, and he wanted the ancestor who had not appeared after the whirlpool to hear it. Huxin smiled slightly and said, "Do you believe it or not? I will make sure your ancestor will never get out of this vortex." The evil monster was invincible and was stunned. Then he said disapprovingly, "Go ahead. I simply can't believe that Huxin has such great ability." "Okay, then I'll show you what I can do." Huxin flew into the air towards the increasingly stable eye of the vortex. "System, strengthen the best registered formation sealing technique for me." Ding, congratulations to the host. The 70th level formation sealing technique has been successfully strengthened. With unlimited strengthening points and no consumption. In an instant, his understanding of the battle formation reached a terrifying level. Especially the seal, it is even more transparent. Look. A human is so brave that he actually flies towards the eye of the vortex. You lowly human race are just looking for death. Amid the shocked curses of countless people, Hu Xin stared at the increasingly powerful pressure and came to the eye of the vortex. Exchanged a bunch of materials. Because there are unlimited enhancement points, there is no consumption in exchanging these materials, which is really cool. With the blessing of genetic power, the formation began. The people below were very curious when they saw Hu Xin placing materials one by one near the eye of the vortex. What was he going to do? After a while, an old man who knew a little about formations exclaimed, "He is setting up a formation. Is he going to seal the eye of the vortex and prevent the Great Terror from coming? Can this human race do this? What can we do? What can the human race achieve?" Buzz! The eye of the vortex suddenly shook violently. Hu Xin sneered, "Are you in a hurry? And you're in a hurry to come here." It turned out that such a big commotion was caused by the ancestor of the evil monster clan who entered the passage in advance and rushed over. "You lowly human being, you deserve to die for hurting my genius." An angry voice came from the eye of the whirlpool. Hu Xin shook his head and said, just from the sound, "I know it's not good to watch, so you'd better not come over. Throw more materials into the eye of the vortex." The ancestor of the evil monster clan who rushed out saw the light of counting materials passing by. His expression changed drastically. Could it be that this human wanted to trap him to death here? Chapter 527, Evil Night. As the materials were in place, Hu Xin used both hands to cast the formation spell. Rays of light enveloped the entire eye of the vortex, and the formation took shape in the blink of an eye. People outside felt nothing and just saw that the eye of the vortex was covered by the formation. The ancestor of the evil monster clan inside felt an incomparably strong for suppressing him. The power of half a step to super god level was forcibly suppressed in the body and could no longer be mobilized. At this moment, she was shocked to the extreme. What kind of formation is this? Who set up this formation? It's so terrifying. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Hu Xin took a step forward and entered the formation. This scene made countless people break into a cold sweat for him. Hu Xin, who entered the formation, was not only not suppressed by the formation, but was also able to mobilize the power of the formation for his own use. This is the terrifying thing about a level 70 formation master. Step by step, he came before the ancestor of the evil monster tribe. The strange thing is that the ancestor of the evil monster clan was shrouded in a terrifying evil aura, and his true face could not be seen at all. Hu Xin wanted to see clearly. He made hand seals with both hands and mobilized more power of the formation to suppress the opponent. The other party was extremely shocked when he saw this scene. Such a terrifying formation was actually set up by a young human. When did such terrifying humans appear on Red Moonstar? With the suppression of more powerful formation force, the evil smoke on the ancestor of the evil monster clan was finally suppressed bit by bit. Soon a face appeared that shocked Hu Xin. Beautiful. So beautiful. It's unbelievable. Are all these foreign women so beautiful? The evil spirit Yizu is like this, and so is the ancestor of the evil monster tribe in front of him. The transparent eyes are opened and see through everything. It's real no matter how you look at it. The other person is just so beautiful. In other words, it is very consistent with human aesthetics. When the evil smoke in her body was suppressed, the perfect body also caught Hu Xin's sight. Hu Xin felt a hot stream gushing out of his nose. He reached out and wiped it. And it was all blood from his nose. It's just because the ancestor of the evil monster clan was not wearing any clothes. Not at all. Hu Xin finally understood what the smoke was used for. It turned out that it was used to cover the body. The ancestor of the evil monster tribe said angrily, "You have seen enough." I thought to myself, humans are all lustful people. Hu Xin took a deep breath and mobilized his genetic power to forcibly suppress the evil fire in his heart. He stared at the other person and said, "It's impossible to see enough. Mainly because I still want to touch it." He said, approaching her. "You lowly human, if you dare to touch me, I will make you live a life worse than death." The ancestor of the evil monster tribe threatened angrily. Hu Xin said with a smile, "Now, in this situation, how can you make me live a life worse than death? You'd better not piss me off, or I'll kill you first. You are despicable and shameless, you are a hooligan and a beast. If you have the guts, just let me go and fight me head on. What's the point of using such a despicable formation to suppress me?" Hu Xin asked with a smile, "I can suppress you with my formation. So why should I let you go and fight you head on? It's a thankless task that won't benefit me at all. Do you think I would do it? However, now I want to do something to take advantage of you. I never thought that as the ancestor of the evil monster tribe. You are so beautiful and charming, with a good figure. Just like an 18-year-old girl. When Huaxian was speaking, he was very close to her, his face was almost touching hers, and his breath was spraying on her face. It made her feel extremely sick. However, she was suppressed so tightly that she couldn't move at all. She was desperate to experience such a setback not long after she broke through to the half-step super god level. Lowly human, what on earth are you going to do? Huaxian smiled and said, what else can I do? He reached out and lifted her chin. The touch was cool and soft. I thought to myself, this is indeed a half-step super god level skin. The genes have evolved perfectly and it feels great. You, the ancestor of the evil monster clan, was so angry that his eyes were about to pop out. The murderous intent exploded to the extreme, and he just wanted to tear the evil human man in front of him to pieces. Huaxian's gaze began to move downward. The scene that he shouldn't have seen made Huaxian's blood boil instantly, and he couldn't take his eyes off it. Gurgle. He swallowed his saliva and reacted, his hands moving uncontrollably towards the place he shouldn't be looking at. Seeing this, the ancestor of the evil monster tribe was terrified to the extreme and roared, human race, if you dare to defile me, I will not let you succeed even if I am you. The super god level power in her body began to expand, and a breath of destruction burst out from her body. Because it exploded inside her body, directly impacting her heart and brain, the formation could not suppress it. Huaxian quickly stopped and said, why are you so impulsive? I thought to myself, this powerful woman is really hard to take down. If you are not willing, he will threaten you with death. 8 steps back. Looking at the body of the ancestor of the evil monster clan. The more I look, the more excited I become. His breathing quickened again. After weighing the options, he asked her, I really like you. Tell me, what should I do so that you will be willing to be my woman? The ancestor of the evil monster tribe originally wanted to refuse it outright. But if he wanted to get away, he had to use Huaxian. So he said, my evil monster tribe likes strong people. If you want to pursue me, the easiest way is to defeat me head-on. Huaxian smiled and said, you mean as long as I give up the suppression of you by the formation now and fight you head-on? As long as I defeat you, you will be willing to be my woman? The ancestor of the evil monster tribe didn't believe that Huaxian could defeat himself, who was half a step beyond the god level, and said without hesitation, yes, that's what I mean. As long as you can defeat me, I will be your woman. I thought to myself, if you let me go, I will make your life a living hell. Huaxian nodded and said, okay, that's the deal. But if I let you go, you won't run away, right? How could I, the dignified ancestor of the evil monster clan, escape? I thought I will only torture you to death. Huaxian nodded and said, in that case, I will let you go. While speaking, he walked behind the evil monster Yao Yi. Looking at her perfect back, my eyes couldn't help but move downwards. See the picture that you don't want to see. Argyle. I couldn't help swallowing my saliva. The evil monster Yao Yi realized what Huaxian was doing and said angrily, you lowly human, stop doing those useless things if you want to get me, and let me go and defeat me head-on. Huaxian suppressed his anger, took a few deep breaths and said, okay, I hope you won't lie to me. He made hand seals with both hands, and the suppression on the evil monster Yao Yi was instantly lifted. The evil monster Yao Yi, who had recovered, was extremely excited. The smoke spread out from his body again, covering his torso. Thinking of what this despicable human had done, he became furious. With murderous intent bursting out, he turned around and rushed towards Huaxian. The speed of the half-step super god was extremely fast. He approached Huaxian in an instant and kicked him hard in the place where he wanted to do something bad. Chapter 528, Taking Over. Huaxian's expression changed drastically. This is a half-step super god level. If it hits someone with that terrifying power, it would be strange if he is not disabled. He unleashed all his strength, and with quick eyes and hands, he grabbed the evil monster Yao Yi's ankle. Just drag her over. The evil monster Yao Yi spun around, and with a terrifying burst of superpower, he kicked Huaxian's face hard with his other foot. The speed was so fast that Huaxian could hardly keep up. I had to loosen the ankle of her other foot and quickly step back. Fortunately, he is now at the 91st level of True God, and with various enhancements, he is not inferior to the half-step super god level. The evil monster Yao Yi stopped and looked at Huaxian with shock in his eyes. It's unbelievable that this human man is so terrifying. Although he is not half a step away from being a super god, he has burst out with a fighting power that is no weaker than his own. Meow. A kitten appeared on Huaxian's shoulder. The billion-level combat power increase caused Huaxian's overall combat power to skyrocket. Rushed towards the evil monster Yao Yi. But she didn't forget that if she lost the battle, she could get him. How could that be? Has this guy's power become stronger again? Is it because of that little kitten? No matter how you look at it, there's nothing special about that little kitten except that it's cute. It doesn't even look like something that can increase combat power. Boom! The speed and strength reached a terrifying level. Huaxian's impact caused the space to explode. He approached the evil monster Yu Yi and punched her in the chest. Snort? He is indeed a gangster. He wants to take advantage of others even in a fight. Huaxian said, speechless lie, I'm afraid that if I punch you in the head, you won't have time to dodge and I'll kill you, then I'll be the one who feels bad. Just you? You want to kill me? Dream on? As the man retreated strangely, a long whip appeared in his hand and he lashed towards Huaxian fiercely. Pop! The space distortion made a crackling sound. Huaxian was quick-witted and quick-handed. He grabbed the whip and was about to explode. A powerful force spread from the whip. It was weird and gave Huaxian a sense of danger. Step into the air. Release the whip and burst out at an even more terrifying speed. Too fast. The evil monster Yao Yi only caught a glimpse of its afterimage. But the look of shock on his face, he could only whip the whip in his hand towards the restaurant. Click. Obviously failed. Huaxian appeared behind her. He suddenly burst out and hugged her from behind. The evil monster Yao Yi's expression changed drastically when he was suddenly attacked on the waist. Instinctively unleashes the most powerful half-step super god level power. However, with the blessing of the billion level burst of the demonized coffee cat, plus the blessing of other attributes, Huaxian, whose overall combat power was already strong, was further constrained by his combat power increased by 1.3 billion times. The outburst of the evil monster Yao Yi seemed a little overwhelmed. Even though he exploded to the extreme, he was unable to break Huaxian free. Huaxian had already put away his exquisite charm suit, and was hugging the evil monster Yao Yi naked. The evil monster Yao Yi was shrouded in mist. Although we couldn't see what was going on, the touch felt so real. Huaxian also cheated, relying on his mental power to lock onto a good character and then attack fiercely. Huaxian was shocked, feeling that a layer of obstacles had been broken. It's unbelievable that the evil monster Yao Yi is still a virgin. The barrier that had accompanied her for millions of years was finally broken by Huaxian. The evil monster Yao Yi screamed in pain, but he felt more shy and angry. A million years of chastity, but I didn't expect that it would be taken away by this hateful human being in the end. Ding, the host breaks through the evil body and cultivates dual cultivation, and can obtain half of the other party's cultivation. A system's prompt should have made Huaxian stunned. Evil body? What kind of monster physique is this? However, this physique seems to be very strong, and practicing dual cultivation with it can actually gain half of the other party's cultivation. This is not some kind of evil fortune body. It is clearly a body that brings good fortune to the husband. Now I understand why the evil monster Yao Yi is still a virgin. Her evil body cannot be combined with men at all, otherwise her cultivation will be taken away. Who would be willing to have half of what they have gained through hard practice taken away by others just by sleeping? After adapting, Huaxian was extremely excited. He didn't expect to be able to experience such benefits. I felt even more excited at the moment. The evil monster Yao Yi was angry and murderous, especially when he felt the loss of his cultivation. He became extremely angry. He roared, "Human, you have destroyed me. Even if I die, I will never let you succeed." Buzz! A destructive aura burst out from the body of the evil monster Yao Yi. This is actually a self-destructs. Huaxian was speechless. It has come to this. Why are you exposing yourself? Huaxian said. I'm not taking advantage of you. System, unlimited exchange of human king points. Give me the same amount to strengthen her. The so-called equal strengthening means that he will strengthen her by as much cultivation as he took away from the evil monster Yao Yi. After Huaxian issued such an order, he was extremely shocked. Wouldn't it be possible to cheat this way and convert all the human king points for your own use? You know, there are more than 200 trillion human kings now. You don't even have to finish refining to break through to the super god level. It makes me excited just thinking about it. The evil monster Yao Yi, whose virginity was taken away and who felt his cultivation raining away, was so desperate that he wanted to self-destruct suddenly. He felt that the cultivation that was taken away by this human was returned to him. No, this genetic power is even more pure. Under such circumstances, her cultivation level would not only not decline, but would become even stronger. And he was shocked and thought of something and asked, "Are you the human king?" In her opinion, the only human who can do this is the mysterious human king. Huaxian smiled brightly and said, "You figured this out." Ding! Congratulations to the host. The 98 evil gene power has been upgraded to the 92nd level of the true god. I didn't expect to break through to level 1 so quickly. Huaxian worked even harder. It is so blissful to enjoy life and improve your cultivation at the same time. The system has enhanced the evil monster Yao Yi slightly more than the cultivation I took away. Ding, congratulations to the host, the setting is successful. The evil monster Yao Yi, who originally felt a little uneasy, suddenly felt that his cultivation was actually increasing. If he could maintain this upward trend, not only would his cultivation level not fall, but he would be able to break through to the half-step super god level in one fell swoop and become a true super god level powerhouse. He suddenly struggled away from Hu Xin, faced Hu Xin head-on, and stared at him. He had never expected that combining with the human king would have such great benefits. No wonder, since ancient times, every king has been surrounded by countless women. Women of all races were vying to marry him. I didn't expect that there would be such benefits to combining with the human king. It seems that even though she lost her virginity, she did not suffer any loss. She suddenly threw herself into Hu Xin's arms, took the initiative, bit him, and then cooperated more actively. The two rolled in the void. I don't know how much time has passed. Boom! An explosion sounded from the body of the evil monster Yao Yi, and the aura of the half-step super god level increased wildly. In just a few minutes, he reached the first level of super god. And he did not stop there, but continued to improve. This situation made the evil monster Yao Yi even more crazy. And Hu Xin even cried out that his body could not bear it anymore. Chapter 529, Half-Ancestor. Human king points can convert any power. Before, it was a half-step super god level power, belonging to the super god level power, but not completely. Now that the evil monster Yao Yi has broken through to the super god level, the power converted by the human king will automatically become super god level power. What excites Hu Xin is that half of the power he obtained is also super god level power. So in a moment, buzz, an explosion sounded in his body. And water gathered together. Hu Xin's evil 98 genetic power also broke through to the super god level. The evil monster Yao Yi made a great effort and reached the third level of super god. Such a terrifying improvement made her obsessed, and she became even more crazy when doing things with Hu Xin. Pity. Hu Xin couldn't watch it anymore. With a loud shout, hundreds of millions of elite soldiers were defeated, and Hu Xin had to use brute force to push away the evil monster Yao Yi and surrender. The evil monster Yao Yi didn't care about all this and pounced on him madly. Hu Xin quickly summoned out the ultimate charm suit, not giving her any chance. Remember that the evil monster Yao Yi wanted to violently destroy the ultimate charm set. The results were unsuccessful. After calming down a little, she complained to Hu Xin, "Are you still a man? I took the initiative, but you still didn't want to." I was thinking, I don't know who was so impatient before. Hu Xin said bitterly, "My queen, it's almost done. You have broken through from the half-step super god level to the super god level 3. We have been fighting for who knows how long, and your body really can't take it anymore. The human body is really useless." The evil monster Yao Yi said with disdain. "I didn't force it, thinking that if I really ruined him, he wouldn't be able to practice in the future, which would be a loss. For the long term, I shouldn't go too far." The body was covered with smoke. Seeing this, Hu Xin couldn't help but say, "Baby, can't you wear some clothes? If someone disperses the smoke, won't everything be exposed?" The evil monster Yao Yi said disapprovingly, "It's exposed. So what if he saw it? I can't make him banged." Hu Xin was speechless and could not find any reason to object. "It seems to make sense. What if you see it? If you can't touch it, you will feel suffocated. What are you doing with the clothes you're wearing?" After thinking about it, I decided to wear it after all. It didn't have the smoke from the evil monster Yao Yi. "Can we go out now?" The evil monster Yao Yi flew in front of Hu Xin, took his arm and said, "If you don't want to go out and want to rest for a while before continuing, I have no objection." Hu Xin's body trembled, and he hurriedly said, "Let's go out. There are many people waiting outside." "When you mentioned this, it reminded me that you treated the young men of my clan like this." "You?" Hu Xin interrupted. "First of all, he was the one who provoked me. Secondly, if it weren't for this incident, would you be here? If you don't come here, you will never be able to break through to the super god level. Not to mention that you are already super god level 3 now. Be content." You have a point." The two walked out of the eye of the vortex together. "It's out." The people outside immediately screamed. Hu Xin and the evil monster Yao Yi stared with wide eyes, both stunned. On the ground, the invincible evil monster, whose genetic power had been completely devoured by the gene-devouring poisonous insects, recognized his own ancestor at a glance. But he was stunned by the scene before him. My own ancestor was actually holding the arm of this human being like a couple. It was obvious that they were very much in love. What is going on? What is going on? The whole audience was a little stunned. Hu Xin ignored the situation below. He turned around and waved his hand to collect the formation materials. The evil monster Yao Yi also waved his hand and took away the mother and child materials that were teleported to the layout space. Suddenly, the powerful vortex eye disappeared, the terrifying pressure also disappeared, and everything seemed to have returned to calm. Huaxian brought the evil monster Yao Yi and slowly flew towards Gefei and the others. Countless eyes in the audience followed them. When Huaxian arrived in front of Gefei and the others, he immediately asked, "How long has it been?" Judging from the battle between himself and the evil monster Yao Yi in the void, it has probably been 2 or 3 days. Duffy said, "About 3 hours." "Only 3 hours?" Huaxian muttered in shock, looking at the evil monster Yao Yi, wondering if she was too fierce, or if his body had deteriorated. The evil monster Yao Yi saw through Huaxian's thoughts and couldn't help but laugh and said, "The time in the void is different from that in the planet. We are in the void for about 3 days. Hearing this, Huaxian breathed a sigh of relief. After fighting for 3 days and 3 nights, my body shouldn't be in bad condition, right? The people around were stunned by the peerless beauty of the evil monster Yao Yi. Especially when she smiles, she is attractive to both men and women. And her lethality is extremely high. It turns out that the rule of the evil monster tribe is that once you become someone else's woman, you will no longer hide your face. It was also to tell her fellow tribesmen and everyone who knew the rules of the evil monster tribe that she already had a husband. It is also a rule to reject other people's pursuit. At this time, the evil monster Wudi reacted and asked in disbelief, "Ancestor, why are you with a human?" The evil monster Yao Yi then looked at the young man of the tribe, and he said to Huaxian in dissatisfaction, "Look at what you have done. What have you done to torture me, your descendant?" Huaxian said with a smile, "Since he is your descendant, then he is also my descendant. Well, let's treat the previous incident as a lesson for him." As he spoke, his mental force turned into stone and was pushed into the body of the invincible evil monster, pulling out the gene-devouring insect that had devoured enough genetic power in his body and had fallen into a dormant state. The evil monster said with great hatred, "My genetic power has been devoured by these poisonous insects you planted. I am already a useless person. What's the point of you taking them away?" He said to the old ancestor, the evil monster Yao Yi. "Old ancestor, you have to make the decision for me." The evil monster Yao Yi asked back, "Why did you become like this?" The evil monster was invincible and unable to explain. The evil monster Yao Yi said, "To be honest with you, this human will be my man from now on, and he is also considered half of the ancestor of my evil monster tribe. If you dare to offend me again, you deserve to be killed." Everyone around was in an uproar. It's unbelievable. How did this human race conquer the super god level ancestor of the Ziyuan clan? You know, he is a super god level person. I don't believe that he conquered him by force. I can't figure it out no matter how hard I try. The evil spirit Yizu walked over to the evil monster Yao Yi and asked, "Sister Yao Yi, what is your current level of cultivation?" According to seniority, she should still call her the ancestor. But now they are all Huaxian's women, so naturally she should call her sister. The evil monster Yao Yi seemed to have just noticed the evil spirit Yizu and asked in surprise, "Are you the saint of the evil resentment tribe? I think your name is the evil spirit Yizu?" Recalling that she seemed to be engaged to the evil monster Wud, I immediately understood what was going on. I glared at Huaxian fiercely and thought, "It turns out that you were the one who stole my future Fiang Qi. That's too much." Chapter 530, Acupuncture? The evil spirit Yizu pulled the evil monster Yao Yi to the side and asked curiously, "Sister Yao Yi, with your status and strength, how did your husband take you down?" The evil monster Yao Yi suddenly discovered that the evil spirit Yizu's cultivation was also not right. After careful observation, he exclaimed, "You actually broke through the 59th level of True God and directly reached the 99th level of True God?" And he glanced at Huaxian and said, "It's also because of the dual cultivation with him that you've improved, right?" Hearing this question, the evil spirit Yizu immediately understood what was going on, and asked in surprise, "Sister Yao Yi, are you following him because he can help you improve your cultivation?" Tigui Yao Yi felt that there was nothing to hide. So she nodded and said, "Yes, you should know this guy's identity. Anyway, Zigui Yao Yi will be his woman from now on." The evil spirit Yizu hadn't figured it out yet, and asked doubtfully, "Husband, what other identity does he have?" Very curious and eager to know. The evil monster Yao Yi asked, in surprise, "You don't know his identity yet?" The evil spirit Yizu shook her head. She thought her husband was biased, and that even the evil monster Yao Yi knew her identity. But she didn't. The evil monster Yao Yi thought for a moment and said, "I'm telling you, don't talk nonsense. We men are the kings of the human race." The evil spirit Yizu was shocked. She had guessed it herself, but she couldn't believe it. How could the human king appear in a world dominated by demons? Now that I have heard it from the evil monster Yao Yi, it can be considered confirmed. She said bitterly, I didn't expect my husband to be really the human king. No wonder he can improve our cultivation. The evil monster Yao Yi emphasized. My husband's identity must not be leaked. Even the fact that he can help us improve our cultivation needs to be kept secret. Otherwise something serious will happen. The evil spirit Yizu naturally understood that if the human king appeared in a world dominated by demons, he would be the enemy of the whole world if this were known to others. The two men talked for a while and then returned to Uxian. Uxian has taken out all the gene-devouring poisonous insects from the evil monster Wud's body. He took out a handful of silver needles and pretended to be treating the patient. System, as I use the silver needles, strengthen this guy to true god level 70. Ding, congratulations to the host, the needle spell enhancement setting is successful. So, under the shocked gaze of countless people, every time Uxian's needle landed on the evil monster Wud's body, a powerful aura of cultivation would burst out from him. This scene left countless people stunned. Some are extremely envious. I never thought that acupuncture could improve my cultivation. Now that I saw it with my own eyes, I still couldn't believe it. I rubbed my eyes vigorously, wondering if I was hallucinating. It turns out that it was not an illusion, it was all real. As Uxian injected the needle one by one, the invincible evil monster became stronger and stronger. The evil monster Wud himself, who had endured all of this, was also stunned. It's unbelievable. What kind of method is this human race using? With every needle that fell, his cultivation level almost improved by a small realm of true god. In just a few minutes, Uxian gave him 50 needles, and his cultivation level recovered to around 50 true god levels. It seemed that Uxian was about to stop. The evil monster said excitedly, Don't stop, stab me, stab me. Why does everyone think this tone is weird? Uxian said reluctantly, Well, I'll just go against the will of heaven for once. The acupuncture started again. The 70 needles were given. The evil monster's invincible cultivation had reached the 65th level of true god. Such an improvement made countless people around me envy me. After deciding to do this, I must curry favor with this human race. Maybe if he gave himself to injections, his cultivation would improve by leaps and bounds. Especially those elderly people who have reached their death limit seem to see a chance to survive. I swear that no matter what the cost, I will make this human give me 2 injections. When the 99 and 81 injections were completed, the invincible evil monster's cultivation level stopped at the 71st level of true god. Although it was 8 levels lower than his previous true god level of 78. But he felt that his current state was more solid and stable, without any head and diseases. In the past, he blindly improved his realm, which caused a lot of irreversible damage to his body. The existence of those injuries meant that he was doomed to never have the chance to break through to the super god level in this lifetime. Now, because of this encounter, all that damage is gone, and he has a chance to sprint to the super god level. I feel like my genius confidence has returned. I wasn't greedily asking Uxian to give me a few more injections. Instead, he stared at the silver needle and knelt down towards Uxian, saying, Although you stole my Fiang Qi, I really don't deserve her. Thank you for saving me. Instead, Uxian felt a little embarrassed. I thought if I had known that this guy had turned over a new leaf, I should have given him a promotion. He never expected that his own actions would backfire and heal the evil monster Wud's hidden injuries. He smiled and said, I'm glad you understand you must control your temper in the future. Remember the teachings of our ancestors. The ancestor called out this name willingly. What if a person with such bad habits is the ancestor of the human race? If he gets injured in the future, can't he just give him 2 injections? Okay, you can leave now. Uxian ordered him to leave. Thinking to himself, Don't disturb me when I'm picking up girls. To ancestors, and Ancestor Yizu, goodbye. It's a bit weird to call your Fiang Qi ancestor. It's not that I can't let go. After all, as long as you are alive, there are women everywhere. The evil spirit Yizu smiled and said, It's a good thing that you can let it go. The evil monster Wudi nodded and said, And I'll take my leave. Arian leave. GFEI and the others all looked at Uxian. Feel the gazes of more than 200 beautiful women. Uxian suddenly felt tremendous pressure. I used to think that I was strong enough that I wasn't afraid of having many wives. His encounter with the evil monster Yao Yi made him realize that his body was far from enough. Husband? More than 200 beauties shouted in unison. Uxian looked at Heidi and said, Didn't I ask you to arrange them? Black Butterfly said speechless lie. Not long after we left Paradise Island, they heard that you were in trouble. Everyone was very worried and came here. They are all your women, and you still think they don't care about you? I thought to myself, you deserve it. Who told you to be so unfaithful? Let me see how you can satisfy so many wives. Huaxian is also having a headache because he has too many wives. Suddenly I felt that the emperor with 3,000 concubines is actually quite pitiful. No wonder you can only pamper a few. But I am not the emperor. So how can I bear to neglect so many beauties? Thank you ladies for your concern. Now, go get ready, we will be heading to the island of the dead soon. Death Island? Death Prison? These beauties were all extremely shocked. Where else is not good to go? To Death Prison? Huaxian nodded and said seriously. Yes, we are going to the death prison. A beautiful woman asked worriedly. But husband, why would you go to the prison of death? Chapter 531, Mosquito Yene is in trouble. Huaxian looked at Ziyuan Huayuan and said, my wife wants to go there to broadcast live, and I promised her that I will accompany her to broadcast live there. I thought I used to hide from my enemies, but now I don't have to. With super god level combat power, there are probably not many people who can seek revenge on me. A whole audience was shocked just because of a live broadcast. Hey, we're going to go to death prison. It's just too crazy. They all looked at Ziyuan Huayuan, thinking, can't you change this crazy idea? Ziyuan still explained, I went there to make a bet with others. So Death Island must marry me. It's better to go. I heard that besides the dangers, there are countless opportunities on Death Island. Maybe we will be lucky enough to come across a great opportunity. A beautiful woman who obviously loves adventure said excitedly. I think it's not bad. I will also broadcast live at that time. Seeing this, Huaxian said to them, then you all go and get ready now. I will contact you when the time comes. Okay, husband. More than 200 beautiful women scattered in a hurry. Shiryuan still asked, husband, aren't we going to the island of death now? Huaxian said, no rush, we'll go in 2 days. I thought to myself, my husband has not yet seen the legendary beauties of Paradise Island. He asked the evil spirit Yizu, have you explained everything to us? Iran? The evil spirit Yizu laughed and said, do you need to tell me that? Still no sister coming. Ziyuan still feels very weird. After calling each other mother for tens of thousands of years, they suddenly become sisters. No one is used to it. He walked over and called out, Sister Yizu. Huaxian also found it strange. I couldn't help but laugh. The evil spirit Yizu glared at him and said, what are you laughing at? I have 2 sisters, Yihi and Yidai are not bad either. Do you have any ideas? Huaxian asked curiously, are they still beautiful? Qiyuan still rushed to answer, my 2 sisters are much prettier than me. And they are both very talented, you will definitely like them when you see them. Huaxian smiled and said, does Huayuan's wife mean that I should take them in as well? Qiyuan still looked indifferent and said, it's up to you. As long as you are busy, it's fine. Huaxian thought for a moment and said, forget it then. Ji Fan asked, husband, what should we do next? Huaxian smiled and said, what else can I do? Consume. Everyone was speechless. Ziyuan still said, hubby, please stop thinking about spending all day, as if you have endless demon coins. Huaxian smiled confidently and said, you are right. It is really inexhaustible, however, it is not demon coins, but demon crystals. Extremely shocking. At this time, Huaxian's cell phone rang. When I saw that it was an unfamiliar number calling, I subconsciously hung up. DFE, I said, husband, you have more than 200 beautiful wives. I'm afraid that beautiful woman called you. After hearing this, Huaxian answered the call. Hubby, I'm on Cultural Street. Come here quickly, they want me to marry an ugly bastard. A beautiful woman's voice came from here. I had some impression of it, but I couldn't remember which beautiful woman it was. After all, there were more than 200 people, how could I remember whether the other party had given her name or not? But what is certain is that something happened to his woman. He said to the others, I'm going to the Cultural Street. You guys can wander around by yourselves. Disappeared from everyone's sight in an instant. The super god level speed is extremely terrifying. We arrived at the Cultural Street in minutes. All the buildings here are dominated by calligraphy and are full of cultural atmosphere. It's not an exaggeration to call it Cultural Street. Huaxian quickly arrived at the place where the soul was locked. Inscribed on it were 3 big characters, Tianhui and Fu. Huaxian stopped here and looked inside. Who are you? Leave now. The security guard shouted angrily. Huaxian ignored him and walked in. Fort Death. How dare a little human challenge us? Kill him. Several security guards are about to take action. An invisible aura burst out from Huaxian's body. Several security guards were instantly frozen in place. Huaxian walked in with swagger. The angry looks of several security guards turned into fear at this time. The immobilized bodies were trembling slightly. Huaxian activated his mental power, instantly covering the entire huge astronomical palace. In a hall, a 7th-rank beauty was lying on the ground in a mess, with 5 conspicuous finger marks on her face. You, a middleman, glared at her and cursed. I asked you to seduce a rich husband for me on Paradise Island. But you were redeemed by a lowly and incompetent human. What use are humans to me? I'll beat you to death. He kicked the head of the 7th grade beauty. If you get hit by this kick, you will either die or become an idiot. Huaxian was angry. I didn't expect a father to be so cruel to his own daughter. The aura is turbulent. Instantly locked onto everyone in the hall. The middle-aged man's feet instantly floated in the air. He blocked it with his hands and was shot to the extreme. He broke out in a cold sweat and asked in a trembling voice, "Which lord is visiting Might Yanwen mansion?" At this time, Huaxian walked in. Everyone looked over. The 7th grade beauty was overjoyed when she saw Huaxian. "Hubby, you're finally here." He used his hands and feet to crawl over and hugged Huaxian's legs. Looking extremely miserable, Huaxian gently helped her up, hugged her in his arms, and said guiltily, "It's my fault. I'm late." "Hubby, no, you're not late, you're just in time," Wen Yina said excitedly. Although she is good looking, she has no talent for cultivation. She was born hundreds of years ago, but her cultivation level is only at the 40th level of a pseudo-god. She is a real waste. And her father, the middle-aged man who was going to beat her, had thousands of wives and several thousand children. Her existence is even less than that of a servant. Take advantage of it if you can. No status at all. I originally came back to visit my mother, but I didn't expect to find out that she had passed away due to illness. But she knew her mother's health and didn't believe that she would die of illness. So she questioned her father. Unexpectedly, Huaxian not only did not answer his question, but also directly questioned how he got out of Paradise Island. When he learned that he was of human origin, he got furious on the spot. He took the initiative to ask me to call this human being over. And also called another short, ugly and clumsy man, saying that he wanted to use him to suppress the human race. Now Huaxian is here. Mosquito Yina looked at this beastly father and said heartbreakably, "Aren't you going to use this man to suppress my husband? My husband is here, and you suppress him." Huaxian picked up Wen Yina in a princess hug and walked towards him step by step. At this moment, Wen Yina was extremely happy. Looking at Huaxian's affectionate expression, her heart was completely occupied and there was only this man in her mind. Now even if Huaxian asked her to die, she would do it without hesitation. "Thank you, husband." Thousands of words are expressed in 2 words. "Thank you." Huaxian said gently, "Silly boy, I'm your man. It would be awkward for you to say thank you to me." Chapter 532, The Viper Prince. "Hubby, Yina knows that Yina loves you." He held Huaxian's head and bit it. "I just want to prove with my actions how much I love him." Huaxian responded, and the people around him were suppressed by him and looked at this scene in horror. It took a full 5 minutes before Wen Yina let go of Huaxian, panting, and she whispered in Huaxian's ear, "Hubby, please take Yina." Huaxian nodded and said with a smile, "We'll talk about it after we've dealt with this matter." Although his body couldn't withstand the evil monster Yu Yi. Although Wen Yina's body is only a pseudo-god level, Huaxian is still full of confidence. Mosquito Yina then remembered and said sadly, "Husband, they sent me to Paradise Island for 3 years. When I went in, my mother was still in good health. And my mother was a true god. But now, this beastly father told me that my mother died of illness. The only relative who was kind to her is gone. And Wen Yina is extremely sad." Huaxian had already carried her to the middle-aged man and asked in a very cold tone, "Tell me the truth, what happened? If one word displeases my wife, I will kill you." The middle-aged man was terrified to the extreme. He never expected that the human who redeemed Wen Yina was so terrifying. It is unbelievable how on the Red Moon Star, where the human race has been so badly suppressed, there are still such terrifying humans. According to conventional thinking, those humans who are able to go to Paradise Island to consume are all flatterers who betray the human race. That's why he didn't take the human race mentioned by Wen Yina seriously. But now, this human came and suppressed all of them casually without releasing any aura. What kind of terrifying strength does it take to do that? Changing his previous attitude towards Yina, he said with a hasty and disgusting smile, "Son-in-law, this is all a misunderstanding. Yina is my precious daughter. And I love her mother even more. I will never hurt her mother. Her mother died of illness." Huaxian said in an extremely cold tone. "Who are you calling son-in-law?" The middleman shuddered and argued. "When Yina is my daughter, you are with my daughter. So you are my son-in-law." Mosquito Yina reacted extremely strongly and yelled, "Shut up, you have said it countless times yourself. Without a useless daughter like me, you have never treated me as a human being since I was a child. In this family, apart from my mother, no one loves me or cares about me. I am even worse than a servant. The more I talk, the sadder I feel." Huaxian said coldly, "Since you don't consider you as one of our own, And kill them. All this can be regarded as revenge for your mother. All the members of the mosquito family took a deep breath and were terrified to the extreme. Especially the short, thin and ugly middle-aged man. He was terrified to the extreme. He quickly said to Huaxian, "Sir, please spare me. I am not a member of the mosquito family. All this has nothing to do with me." "Huh? It doesn't matter? Aren't you planning on hitting on my wife?" "Sir, this is a misunderstanding. I didn't even know she was your wife." Huaxian suddenly had an idea and said with a smile, "If you want me to let you go, you can kill him," pointing at Mosquito Yin as beastly father. "This guy is scared to death." Trembling, he said, "Sir, can you change?" Huaxian interrupted coldly, "If you don't kill him, I will kill you. I'll only give you 3 minutes. The guy hesitated. Finally, he made up his mind and thought that the mosquito family had offended this guy and might be exterminated. If he killed Mosquito Chaotian, it would be fine. If he didn't kill him, he would die. If he killed him, he could survive. He took out a long sword and approached Wen Chaotian step by step. When Mosquito Chaotian saw the short, ugly man approaching, he was terrified and roared, "Toad Marshal Han, you dare to kill me? Aren't you afraid of being exterminated?" When Huaxian heard this, he thought, "No wonder this guy is so ugly. It turns out he evolved from a toad." With genetic evolution, countless living creatures, even flowers, plants and trees are evolving, so there are countless humanoid creatures that have evolved. Hode Hong Shui laughed cruelly. "Wen Xiaoqian, you killed Wen Yina's mother. Do you think you can still survive? It would be better if I kill you. And I can still survive. You're talking nonsense. Wen Yina's mother was my first wife, who forced her to death. What does that have to do with me?" It had come to this point. When Xiaoqian didn't dare to hide it anymore and shouted loudly. Behind him, a woman's expression suddenly turned gloomy. "I didn't expect that Wen Xiaoqian was such a coward that he would betray himself." Mosquito Yina looked at her suddenly. He said angrily, "My dear aunt, you are so cruel. My mother was bullied by you everywhere and you never let her go. But you killed her. I want you to pay for my mother's life." He took out a broken sword and rushed towards the ant regardless of everything. Seeing this, the ant was terrified and said anxiously, "Wen Yine, don't be impulsive. It's not entirely my responsibility to force your mother to death." And, phew, Wen Yina stabbed her heart with a sword. However, for a true god-level genetic cultivator, a severe heart attack will not kill him. At most it will only cause serious injuries. So, Wen Yina pulled out the broken sword fiercely and chopped off the old lady's head with one fierce blow. If the brain is damaged, even the most powerful genetic practitioner will die. Unless the soul is strong enough, it can survive by recondensing or taking over a body. "No, don't kill me, please don't kill me." In the face of death, the old lady had no dignity left and begged bitterly. Mosquito Yina's sword was suspended 3 inches above her head. The ant heaved a sigh of relief and said trembling lie. "Yine, listen to me, it wasn't us who hurt your mother." "Who is that?" Wen Yina asked angrily. The ant took a deep breath and said, "It's Mr. Viper." "Mr. Viper?" The ant nodded and said, "Yes, it is the Viper Prince of the Viper clan. He was attracted by your mother's genes. So he came to our mosquito family. You know how powerful Lord Viper is. If we don't hand over your mother, he will kill her and destroy our mosquito family. So we have no other options." Mosquito Yina looked at the others and asked, "Tell me if it's true?" Another woman said, "Yine, it's true. Young Master Venomous Snake killed not only your mother, but also your cousin, Mosquito Fairy." An old man said, "Yine, the Venomous Snake Prince who killed your mother not only killed people from our mosquito family, but also people from other clans. Anyone they could bully was killed." Mosquito Yina's body trembled, and she cried out, "And why didn't you tell me?" The ant said bitterly, "Yine, what good will it do to tell you? If you come back, I'm afraid you will be killed by Mr. Viper." Although Auntie often suppresses others, you can see that she has never hurt anyone. We are all family. You can suppress them, but you will never hurt Auntie. Chapter 533, Special Genetic Vitality Ability. Wen Yina was extremely sad and looked at Huaxian. "Husband." Without waiting for Wen Yina to finish her words, Huaxian said, "Take me to find this Viper Prince. I'll take you there." Wen Chaotian said excitedly, "Now I just want someone to distract Huaxian. Otherwise the mosquito family will be in real danger." Mosquito Yina said coldly, "You'd better not lie to me. Now that her mother is gone, she no longer has any feelings for this family. Looking for me? Who is going to look for me?" A confident questioning voice came. Everyone looked over there, and then a young man in white walked in. The young man was surrounded by beauties on both sides. All of them were beauties, probably no less than the 5th grade beauties from Paradise Island. Walking carelessly. Look at the whole audience. When his eyes fell on Wen Yine, they lit up and he couldn't look away. Then he let go of the 2 beauties he was hugging. looked straight at Wen Yina, and walked towards her. Wen Yina looked at the sky and her eyes gradually turned red. The murderous intent could not be concealed and she asked angrily, "Did you kill my mother?" Young Master Viper asked with a smile. "Too many people have died at my hands, including many from your mosquito family. I wonder which one your mother is. Tell me about it and see if I can remember it. I'm also curious about how badly your mother struggled in my hands. You beast." Mosquito Yina could no longer control her anger and rushed towards Prince Viper. "I just want to tear him apart," the Viper Prince said with disdain. "Kill me, you are qualified. Warming my bed is something you are qualified to do." He reached out to hug Wen Yina. Mosquito Yina didn't care and, holding a dagger, slashed fiercely at one of the arms of Prince Viper, not wanting him to die so easily. Huaxian's aura surged, and the air twisted instantly. The next moment, the confident Mr. Viper found himself unable to move, and his expression changed drastically. Mosquito Yina's dagger had already chopped down, which made him feel even more frightened. He shouted loudly, "Which master is targeting me? Please stop. I am from the Viper clan." Phew. Wen Yina cut off his right arm with one knife. The right arm, which possessed super genetic power, seemed to come alive. It flew up and grabbed Wen Yina fiercely. This scene shocked the whole audience. Even Huaxian was quite surprised. "Stretch out your finger and point. Look your finger." The arm was about to become useless. Young Master Viper also realized that it was this pretty-faced human who was suppressing him. He roared angrily, "Human, you dare to provoke me, Prince Viper. You are." Huaxian swung his hand and slapped the air. An invisible palm print directly occupied the entire face of Mr. Viper. He was knocked to the ground. Huaxian took Prince Viper's right arm and looked at it for a while. "System, why is it that even after this arm has left the body, it still has such a strong vitality?" Ding, this is a special genetic vitality ability possessed by a special group of people. Once the arm is reattached, it will heal quickly. Huaxian glanced at Mr. Viper and felt a little envious of his ability. "System, can you extract this special gene vitality ability?" Ding, you can extract since the host has unlimited enhancement point permissions. There is no consumption for extraction. Do you want to extract? Extract. Ding, extraction of 10 special gene vitality enhancement points succeeded. Do you want to enhance the special gene vitality? Strengthen. Ding, congratulations to the host, you have succeeded in strengthening the special gene vitality ability by 10 points. Huaxian didn't feel any changes, probably because there were too few strengthening points. Looking at Prince Viper, he is simply a mobile library of special genetic vitality abilities. Phew. Another arm of Prince Viper was chopped off by Mosquito Yina. Huaxian came over and said, "Yanei, let me take care of this guy." Grabbing his arm, he first extracted the special genetic vitality points. Only then did he look at Mr. Viper with a fiery gaze. Noticing Huaxian's gaze, Prince Viper became very worried and shouted in fear, "What are you going to do?" Huaxian put his hand on his Diantian, which is usually the storage point of genetic power. "System, extract the special gene vitality ability points for me." Ding, congratulations to the host, special gene upgrade ability points are being extracted. Unlimited enhancement points without consumption. Prince Viper was horrified to discover that the genetic power in his body was actually lost. To be precise, it was sucked away by this human. I was horrified. Wasn't he a human? How could he have the evil ability to absorb the genetic power of others? "Stop it, I am the heir of the Viper clan. If you dare to kill me, you will die a miserable death." Huaxian smiled and said, "Who said I want to kill you? When you lose your genetic power, there will be a lot of people who want to kill you. As for the Viper tribe, thank you for reminding me. After I take care of you, I will go to visit the Viper tribe." Everyone was shocked. He said he was visiting, but in reality he was probably going to destroy the poisonous snake tribe. Ding, congratulations to the host, the extraction of 100 special gene vitality points has been successful. System, strengthen everything for me. Ding, congratulations to the host for successfully strengthening the special gene vitality ability points by 100 points. With more than 1,000 points of special genetic vitality enhancement, Huaxian finally felt something different in his body. He couldn't help but mobilize his strength and deliberately injured his fingers. It's a very small movement and no one else will notice it. After the finger was injured, the special gene upgrade ability immediately became active. It actually rushed towards the wound on its own, bursting out with powerful vitality force, and quickly healed the injury. This total ability made Huaxian extremely excited. If this thing possessed powerful special genetic vitality, wouldn't it be immortal? It makes me excited just thinking about it. He said to Mosquito Yina, led the way to the Viper tribe. Since the Viper tribe has committed so many evil deeds, but I will enforce justice on behalf of heaven and destroy the Viper tribe that has committed so many evil deeds. Mosquito Ina nodded, swung the dagger in her hand, and slashed the Viper Prince fiercely. At this moment, Prince Viper had lost his genetic power and both arms broken, making him worse than an ordinary person. Faced with the slashing knife from Mosquito Ina, there was nothing he could do except despair. You will suffer. I still want to curse. Do. Mosquito Ina's knife did not give him a chance and fiercely split his head in two. Without the special genetic vitality ability, Prince Viper could no longer die. When Ina looked around the room and said coldly, "Since my mother is no longer with us, I, Wen Ina, will sever all ties with the Wen family and we will go our separate ways from now on." After that, she took Hu Xian's hand and said, "Hubby, I'll take you to the Viper tribe." The Mosquito family watched Mosquito Ina and Hu Xian go away. They looked at each other, and finally their eyes fell on Wen Xiaoqian. When Xiao Qian felt extremely regretful, he knew that the Wen family had lost an opportunity. This human race is not simple at first glance. If they don't fall in the future, they will probably have unlimited achievements. However, the Wang family lost the opportunity to curry favor with Ina because of her mother. Chapter 534, The Vicious Viper Tribe. Viper Clan. Possessing super strong special genetic vitality, the Viper Clan is simply an indestructible cockroach, and its sustained combat capability is the most terrifying in Border City. Coupled with the testimony of powerful people, the Viper Clan can be said to be accustomed to being rampant in Border City. Except for big forces like Paradise Island, they don't take any other forces seriously. If you want to bully someone, just bully them whenever you want. Therefore, the reputation of the venomous snake tribe is very bad. Approached the Viper Clan. Hu Xian looked over. The sky above the Viper Clan was filled with resentment, like dark clouds covering the sun. These resentments were not cultivated by the Viper Clan, but were formed from the powerful resentment of those who were bullied by them and their curse on the Viper Clan. This kind of resentment is different from any other evil genetic power. It is a cursed resentment, so ordinary evil creatures cannot absorb it, nor dare to absorb it. There was not a single stranger within a kilometer of the Viper Clan. Mosquito Yene explained, the Viper tribe is tyrannical and has a strict rule that any creature that enters the Viper tribe's 1,000-meter atmosphere without their permission will become their food. As a humanoid creature evolved from a carnivorous venomous snake, it is still brutal and devours people of all races for food. Hey, you just arrived at Border City, right? That's the territory of the venomous snake tribe. Don't get close to it or people will die, an old beggar reminded them kindly. Hu Xian looked over and said, "Old man, since this place is so dangerous, why don't you go begging somewhere else?" The old man smiled bitterly and said, "My entire clan was killed by the venomous snake clan. I am the only old man left. There is no meaning in living. I'm here just because I don't want some innocent people to get close to the Viper tribe and get killed." Hu Xian nodded and said, "Thank you for your kind reminder. Old man, good people will be rewarded. Don't worry, your family's revenge will be avenged." After saying that, he turned around and walked towards the Viper clan. "Hey, why don't you listen to the old man's advice? The Viper tribe is really murderous and has killed countless people tragically at their hands." A middle-aged woman came over with a sad face. Hu Xian looked over and asked, "Auntie, what's going on with you?" When someone asked, the aunt cried, "My poor child, only 8 years old, was beaten to death in public by the venomous snake tribe because he was ignorant and trespassed into the territory of the venomous snake tribe. He was taken away and eaten. I didn't even get his body." Crackling. Hearing this, Hu Xian clenched his fists. A trace of murderous intent burst out, and looked at the venomous snake tribe. He no longer felt guilty about extracting the special genetic vitality ability in their bodies. More and more people gathered around. Everyone is full of resentment towards the Viper clan. Hu Xian could even feel that the curses and resentment emanating from these people were gathering towards the sky above the Viper clan. "Husband, you must destroy the poisonous snake tribe," Mosquito Ina said in tears. "Thinking of my mother, I was afraid that she had been eaten by the poisonous snake prince, which made me even sadder. Okay, wait here for me. I'm going to destroy this tribe of poisonous snakes." After Hu Xian finished speaking, he walked towards the Viper clan. "Young man, don't be impulsive. Many people, like you, wanted to take revenge on the Viper tribe and ended up dying miserably," an uncle reminded. "That's right, young man, the Viper tribe is not someone we can afford to offend." More kind humanoid creatures began to persuade. "Go away. Oh, away, you all wanna die, don't you?" A team of Viper clan soldiers came over, carrying dozens of humanoid creatures. Almost all of them were young boys and girls. Their faces were pale and they looked extremely desperate. And behind them, a large group of people were crying and praying. "Master of the Viper tribe, I beg you to release my daughter. I am willing to replace my daughter as your food. Please release my daughter. A woman cried and begged. Go away, look at you, you are old and ugly. The Viper tribe doesn't even want to see food like you. Bang! He kicked the woman away. Mother! Among the crowd of people who were captured, a little girl screamed in great pain. He struggled to rush over and help his mother up. The Viper clan guard who was holding her slapped her hard and said, behave yourself. All those who were blocking the road quickly made way for the team of Viper soldiers. Looking at the boys and girls who were captured, I felt extremely sorry. But what can we do? The Viper clan is very powerful, and it is said that they have the backing of a powerful clan. So no one dares to touch them. Any forces that have the ability to touch them are all well managed by the Viper clan. So the Viper clan is the local tyrant in Border City. Everyone moved aside, but Hu Xin did not. You blind human race. If you want to die, I will grant your wish. The leading Viper soldier lashed at Hu Xin fiercely with a whip. The people around him closed their eyes nervously. I thought, this human race is doomed. Hu Xin grabbed the whip and pulled it hard. A huge force caused the Viper soldier, who had no time to let go, to rush towards Hu Xin. Hu Xin's right hand formed into a claw. Dew! Cruelly grabbing the heart of this venomous snake soldier. This scene shocked the whole audience. Hu Xin said viciously, today you will see how dark your hearts are to do such a heartless thing. After hearing this, those around who thought it was cruel no longer thought it was cruel. Instead, I feel relief. Some people were also worried about Hu Xin. But people would not be rewarded if they offended the poisonous snake tribe. Hu Xin dug out the heart of Shibin from the venomous snake tribe. Under the powerful genetic power, the heart was still beating strongly. You know what, this heart is not blood red, but jet black. What a black heart. Ding dong. Hu Xin slammed the Viper clan soldier to the ground. Unfortunately, the other party was just an ordinary venomous snake. Not a venomous snake with special genetic vitality abilities. He looked at the other Viper clan soldiers with a cold gaze. For a moment, these soldiers were frightened by Hu Xin's move. It took me a long time to react. Disturbed by Hu Xin's eyes, he came to his senses and became furious. He dared to kill our Viper clan soldiers. Kill him, cut him into pieces and then make dumplings for him. Dozens of Viper clan soldiers abandoned the young boys and girls and rushed towards Hu Xin with murderous intent, holding various weapons in hand. Daughter, son, granddaughter. A large group of relatives rushed to reunite with their children. But none of them ran away, because when these boys and girls were chosen, a special mark of the venomous snake tribe was planted on their bodies. Even if they ran away now, the venomous snake tribe could find them through this mark. It's just because many people are targeted by the poisonous snake tribe as soon as they are born. And this mark is planted on them, waiting for them to grow up and become food. Seeing a large group of Viper soldiers rushing towards the righteous Hu Xin, countless humanoid creatures began to worry about Hu Xin. Or people pray in their hearts. Peace, God, please bless this kind human race with peace. Lord, I am willing to exchange my life for the peace of this race. He is brave, otherwise he would be harmed by evil. Chapter 535, Martial Arts Fanatic, Venomous Snake Prince. Ding! Congratulations to the host, you have received the blessing of the people and have been rewarded with Almighty Faith Points. Ding! Almighty Faith Points can be exchanged for any level of genetic power. Only available to the host. Ding! Almighty Faith Points 111. Hu Xin was stunned. Then he was overjoyed. Look at the simple humanoid creatures around. How could I not understand that it was because these people prayed sincerely for me that I was able to obtain this powerful Almighty Faith Point? At the same time, he also felt that as they prayed, mysterious points of power and light were rushing towards him. I think this is the point of omnipotent faith. Die! These soldiers of the Viper tribe approached Hu Xin with great hostility and all hacked at him. Hu Xin, who hadn't engaged in close combat for a long time, summoned out the weapon he had made himself, the Spirit Sword. Rushing towards these Viper soldiers, kill one with one sword. No skills required at all. No matter how ferociously these Viper soldiers exploded or what special skills they performed. In the end, he was too late to dodge Hu Xin's sword. Almost all of them were cut in half. He didn't die. But he was in a miserable state. Struggling and wailing in a pool of blood. They are not the venomous snakes with special genetic vitality abilities. If you become like this and cannot obtain information, you will die sooner or later. This scene is shocking. Everyone then realized that this human race was not simple. Everyone saw hope. Those who pray are more sincere. I just hope Hu Xin can always maintain this invincible status. And destroyed the vicious serpent clan. The advantage is that the almighty faith points skyrocket. The huge commotion here had already alarmed the poisonous snake tribe. A large number of soldiers rushed out. Seeing the miserable plight of the Viper clan soldiers, these soldiers were extremely angry. Kill him to avenge our brothers. The leading general roared in anger. Densely packed Viper soldiers rushed towards Hu Xin like crazy, carrying destructive murderous intent. The people around were frightened by this scene and stepped back one after another. Only those whose family members died tragically at the hands of the Viper clan had long lost the desire to live. Now that someone finally dared to fight against the Viper clan, they saw hope for revenge. Kneeling on the ground, facing Hu Xin, he prayed for him with great sincerity in his heart. This moment, Hu Xin felt an extremely dense array of almighty faith points rushing towards him. I murmured in my heart, "Don't worry, I will never let you down." Holding a sword, he walked towards the murderous snake soldiers. One man can stand against thousands of enemies. This scene made countless humanoid creatures around tremble with fear. Everyone broke out in a cold sweat for Hu Xin. In the crowd, a man dressed in black and wearing a veil and a bamboo had looked at Hu Xin and muttered, "This human race is so brave. Miss, no matter how brave he is, he will have no chance of survival against the poisonous snake tribe," said a maid beside her. The people nearby heard what the maid said and shouted angrily, "Shut up, a hero of justice will never lose, he will definitely win." The fight begins. Basic all-round combat skills, including basic swordsmanship. Hu Xin used these elementary sword techniques to move among the densely packed soldiers of the Viper clan. When he was far away, the bodies of the Viper soldiers behind him gradually separated. Blood splattered and the scene became a river of blood. The wails of these Viper clan soldiers resounded through heaven and earth. The scene was like hell on earth. When people saw this scene, they not only did not feel it was cruel, but instead felt extremely relieved. Someone noticed that all of these Viper clan soldiers were cut into two sections and would not die so easily. "Good, well done, we want these lackeys to die miserably and painfully." Someone couldn't help but yell. Hu Xin killed his way forward, and was already approaching the gate of the Viper clan. There were still dense crowds of Viper clan soldiers rushing out. And the strength of these soldiers is getting stronger and stronger. At this time, a team of 7,749 people surrounded Hu Xin in a strange formation. Seeing this scene, countless people were frightened for Hu Xin. The first few dozen people, all armed with spears, launched a fierce attack on Hu Xin. Hu Xin held the sword in one hand, his expression still calm. Not panicked at all. Instead, those who hoped he would win began to worry about him. But the swing of the sword, the figure moved. Click, click, click. Hu Xin actually cut off most of these spears with one sword. And as he approached these people, he slashed with the second sword. And several people were cut in half. The sword in his hand is so sharp. It's definitely not an ordinary weapon, someone in the crowd exclaimed. "Miss, can you tell what level his shuriken is?" asked the maid who was holding the lady in the veil pocket. She replied calmly, "I'm afraid it's a spiritual artifact." The maid took a deep breath. A spiritual artifact is equivalent to a super god level existence. I never thought that the formation that the Viper tribe was so proud of could be broken by this human youth with just a sharp weapon. Seeing Hu Xin charging into the crowd like a tiger into a flock of sheep, killing indiscriminately, a big man who was watching the show from a distance stroked his beard and said. An old man at the side said with a smile, "The Viper tribe has committed many evil deeds. And this time they are in trouble." "That's right, even my tribe. The Viper tribe has begun to look down on us. They are truly a disaster." On the side of the Viper clan, the strong ones finally couldn't sit still anymore. A voice came down from the sky and scolded, "How dare you to go wild in my Viper clan? Die!" Seeing this figure, someone exclaimed, "It's the Viper clan's martial arts fanatic, Viper Young Master." It is said that he is even more terrifying than Young Master Viper. He gave up all his power because of his obsession with cultivation. Now that Lord Viper has taken action, this human race is probably in danger. The venomous serpent prince drew his sword in Midra. And the destructive aura carried by the scabbard killed Hu Xin. Hu Xin casually swung his sword to fight. Dew! The scabbard was split in two. But he still shot in both directions. The Viper soldiers had no time to dodge. The scabbard, which was split in half and weakened in power, was focused. Dew! He was shot directly through the body. Moreover, the remaining force carried by the scabbard also shot through the person behind him. The residual power carried by half of the scabbard was so terrifying that it shocked the entire audience. What was even more shocking was how powerful Lord Viper was. He was also shocked by Hu Xin's strength, as he easily caught the opponent's scabbard. The Viper Prince looked at Hu Xin with disdain and said, "You have some strength, no wonder you are running wild in my Viper clan." Slowly landed at the gate of the Viper clan. "It looks like you have to pass me first if you want to join my venomous snake tribe." The Viper clan soldiers around Hu Xin all retreated, holding weapons, and were on guard with caution and fear. Hu Xin held a sharp sword in his hand, his expression calm. as if he was doing an ordinary thing, walking towards the poisonous snake tribe like taking a walk. Getting closer and closer to the Viper clan's genius martial arts fanatic, the Viper young master. This made the countless humanoid creatures watching the scene nervous. The voices praying for Hu Xian became louder and louder. And everyone hoped that Hu Xian could defeat the venomous snake man. Chapter 536, Not too much, right? The Viper Prince had an indifferent smile on his face, looking at Hu Xian with full confidence, not taking him seriously at all. Both are so confident that it creates a strong sense of anticipation. Is it that the martial arts fanatic venomous snake is more powerful? Or are the human race better? The distance is getting closer. Everyone held their breath and looked at the two quietly. The Viper said coldly, "You are very good and courageous. So I decided to give you a quick death." The sword comes out. A shadow flashed by. The sword remained in place and did not disappear. It can be seen how fast the sword of the venomous snake man is. Hu Xian waved his sword to block. Boom! A loud bang deafening lie reached people's ears. Everyone then noticed that the two swords touched each other. What was shocking was that the blade of the Viper Prince's sword was obviously bent. He subconsciously looked at Hu Xian's sword and found it was undamaged. This shows that the human race is still superior in terms of weapons. The Viper Prince's arms were trembling, but very slightly. And people far away couldn't notice the change at all. A look of shock flashed through his mind, and he became serious. Interesting. He muttered to himself and glanced at the sword in Hu Xian's hand. Feeling very excited, he changed his moves and attacked Hu Xian. This time, it was not only physical force, but also a terrifying genetic force that spread towards Hu Xian. Apart from dodging and resisting, it is impossible to resist. Being behind in weapons, Lord Viper naturally had no intention of engaging in a head-on confrontation with Hu Xian. Hu Xian swung his sword, and the sword energy overflowed from the sword body for several meters, easily breaking the move of the Viper man. Step forward and walk towards the poisonous snake tribe. The Viper King must either block or retreat. Damn it. Having failed to gain any advantage twice, the Viper Prince finally lost his temper. As a super genius of the Viper clan, he was well known throughout the Editor City. Unexpectedly, he suffered losses twice at the hands of a lowly human. Even the best mentality would easily explode. Wang! The aura of Lord Viper suddenly surged, and the sword also emanated an extreme pressure. It's the famous sword skill of the Viper clan, Snake destroys everything. An old man in the crowd exclaimed after seeing it. I didn't expect that Lord Viper would be able to perform his famous skill so quickly. This shows that this human race has brought him tremendous pressure. And it also proves that this human race is stronger than Lord Viper in terms of basics. Look, facing the outburst of Lord Viper, this human race remained calm and didn't seem to take him seriously. Boom! The space could not withstand the power of the Viper Lord's explosion and shattered. The void cracks spread around. The Viper clan soldiers who were close by retreated far away in fear. Click! The branch of a big tree was instantly broken by the crack in the void. Die! The Viper Prince attacked Hu Xian. A sword slashed out. A huge sword energy shattered the void and rushed towards Hu Xian. Hu Xian swung his sword and slashed out. The space appears to be smooth, without any cracks. It looks like just an ordinary sword. It's very confusing. What on earth is this human race doing? Boom! There was a loud bang. When the Viper Lord's domineering destructive power touched the sword slashed by Hu Xian. Although it was still a long distance away from the sword, the void exploded with a loud bang and even more powerful force swallowed up the void crack cut by the Viper King and spread towards him at an extremely fast speed. That strange aura seemed to devour everything. Gurgle. Many people were shocked by this scene and swallowed their saliva. It's unbelievable. What level of seriousness is this? A casual sword strike could cause such terrible damage. The expression of the venomous snake prince changed drastically, and he was actually stunned in place by the blow. My dear, please step back. How could an old man from the Viper clan be willing to see a genius from the clan get hurt? He stood in front of Lord Viper and shook him away. With one sword, he slashed the void that was coming towards him. Boom boom. With a loud bang, he finally blocked the damage caused by Hu Xian's subsequent sword. The more this happened, the more shocked the onlookers looked at Hu Xian. Because Hu Xian's sword repelled the attacks of 2 generations of the poisonous snake clan. The old man glared at Hu Xian and asked, "Sir, my Viper clan has no grudge against you. Why are you killing me?" Within 1,000-meter range of the Viper tribe, no less than 1,000 Viper tribe soldiers were cut into 2 pieces, still wailing in pain. Hu Xian said coldly, "The Viper tribe has done so many evil things, and the curse and resentment hanging over their heads are as dark as a cloud covering the sun. Today he will destroy the Viper tribe and enforce justice on the behalf of heaven. That's all." The sword comes out. A fatal blow. Originally, No skills were needed to deal with this kind of character. Uxian just wanted to experience this fatal blow, how powerful it was. Only a small portion of his strength was used to unleash this fatal blow. The old man from the poisonous snake clan had already been split into two halves. Buzz. The sound of the air explosion caused by his action was heard. The space then underwent a severe distortion. Two. Everyone saw that the old man from the venomous snake tribe was mysteriously split into two. Huaxian stood there, looking like he hadn't moved. No one could tell that it was Huaxian who caused the incident. Huaxian then walked over, grabbed the old man's body, and extracted the special genetic vitality points in his body. Then he walked into the Viper clan. The venomous snakes that were blocking his way finally reacted and retreated in horror. Even the Viper King is like this. I was shocked to the extreme. The people from the outside world, who live with Huaxian and walked into the Viper clan, looked at each other in bewilderment after they couldn't see him. They wanted to rush in and watch. However, the soldiers of the Viper clan blocked the door. At this time, Huaxian took out the materials for the formation, burst out with soul power, and threw them into the air. Under the control of the soul power, these materials flew in all directions and landed in every corner of the poisonous snake clan. Huaxian then made a formation hand seal, and a large imprisonment formation was created, making it impossible for the poisonous snake tribe to escape. Huaxian put away his weapon, put his hands behind his back, and moved forward step by step, waiting for the strongest of the Viper clan to appear. Your Excellency, that's too much. A white-haired old man fell from the sky. He landed in front of Huaxian and looked at him coldly. Huaxian looked at the old man and said coldly, when you, the venomous snake tribe, hurt other tribes and feed on them, why don't you feel it's excessive? The old man said coldly. The strong prey on the weak before they evolved, they were food for our race. After they evolved, they are still food for our race. Isn't that too much? Huaxian sneered and said, if that's the case, before your venomous snakes evolved, you were also our human race's prey. Now I still treat you as my prey, is that not too much? Human race, this is not the past, and this red moon star is not yours to decide. Under the situation of being suppressed by the major races, you have some strength, you should hide, instead of coming out to spread rumors and die. Chapter 537, Suppressing the Ancient Essence Gene. Huaxian smiled coldly and said, to die is not something you can decide with your mouth, but with your strength. Take a step forward. The speed instantly increased to the extreme. The next moment, he grabbed the old man's neck. System. Start the extraction of special gene vitality. Ding! The special gene vitality ability extraction has been started to speed up the extraction. The extraction is completed and 1 million special gene vitality ability points are obtained. Huaxian was overjoyed. I thought it would take a long time to extract, but I didn't expect it to be so quick, which saved me a lot of time. Having lost his genetic power, the old man looked terrified and became even older. He shouted in horror, you actually. Click. Huaxian crushed his neck directly, not giving him a chance to speak, and move on to the next target. Possessing a special genetic vitality ability of millions, Huaxian can already sense through his genetic bloodline that the venomous snakes possess this gene. With a youth instant extraction. Unfortunately, the young man's cultivation was too weak, and he only gained a few dozen points of special genetic vitality ability from him. From this we can see that the higher the level of cultivation, the stronger the special genetic vitality ability. Next, it is the end of the Viper tribe. What horrified them was that each of them had their necks crushed by Huaxian. Logically, they possess special genetic vitality and should not die, but those whose necks were crushed by this human died. And he died without a struggle. This is so weird. You are a human who practices evil skills. How dare you devour the special genetic vitality of my race? You deserve to die. A white-haired witch rushed towards the forbidden area of the venomous snake clan. The terrifying momentum was turbulent. His cultivation level is actually no lower than true god level 90. To ordinary practitioners, he is as terrifying as a super god level powerhouse. Huaxian looked at the white-haired witch apart from her gray hair. She had a beautiful face and a perfect figure, which made him very moved. Huaxian discovered that no matter how many beauties there were around him, he would still be moved when he saw a beautiful woman. It was really weird. A white-haired witch couldn't see through Huaxian's cultivation level, so she didn't dare to act rashly. Those tribesmen who were still alive were furious. Someone shouted excitedly, "Old ancestor, kill him and avenge our people. This guy was so cruel and killed countless of our people." That's right, ancestor, our great-grandfather was killed by him. Ancestor, you have to make the decision for us. The living people all looked at Huaxian angrily and roared. Shut up. The white-haired witch shouted angrily, stared at Huaxian, and asked in a deep voice, my Viper clan has no grudges against you. Why are you targeting my clan? Hu Xian smiled and said. You said there is no grudge or hatred. Does that mean there is really no grudge or hatred? The white-haired witch frowned and said, then tell me, what is the grudge between you and my clan? Hu Xian said calmly. You, the Viper tribe, killed my wife's mother, that is, my mother-in-law. Do you think this counts as hatred? The white-haired witch frowned and said, even so. You killed so many people from my clan. Isn't it time to take revenge? Hu Xian shook his head and smiled, not even close. Look at the curse of resentment hanging over your Viper clan's heads. Today, in addition to revenge, I will also enforce justice on behalf of heaven. Today is the end of your Viper clan. Do you really think I'm afraid of you? The white-haired witch's momentum was turbulent and she had already entered a combat state. Hu Xian smiled and said, since you are a great beauty, I can give you a chance to live and be my woman. The white-haired witch was stunned. The people of the Viper tribe went crazy. Old ancestor, kill this demon of the human race. He dared to blaspheme you. You must make him live a life worse than death. Old ancestor, chop off this human's limbs, abolish his genetic cultivation, and make him unable to live or die. A white-haired witch stared at Hu Xian and sneered. It is said that humans are lustful. It is true, you even like me. A member of the venomous snake tribe. It depends on whether you have the ability to take me down. After saying that, she actually acted coquettish. This lion seduced Hu Xian. Hu Xian smiled and said, now I am giving you a chance to be my woman. If you don't want to, then I can only destroy you with my own hands. Disappeared from the spot in an instant. The people of the Viper clan became nervous upon seeing this. The white-haired witch's expression was extremely solemn at this moment. I was horrified to find that I couldn't even catch sight of this guy. What is going on? The next moment, my waist felt tight. He turned around suddenly and looked over. She happened to be facing Hu Xian. And at this moment Hu Xian increased the strength of his hug and held her tightly in his arms. Their eyes met, and their noses were about to touch. This scene shocked the whole audience. Roar! The white-haired witch's body shape suddenly changed. And she turned into a giant python the size of a bucket and 100 feet long. With its sharp teeth, it bit the tiny Hu Xian fiercely. Hu Xian didn't expect that the white-haired witch would transform into her original form and attack him. Logically speaking, after genetic evolution into highly intelligent creatures like humanoids, many of their previous inferior genes would be eliminated. Therefore, although many evolved races still have some characteristics from before evolution, very few of them can actually transform back to their original forms. The white-haired witch of the Viper clan was the first one Hu Xian encountered. The body is 100 feet tall and towering like the clouds. It can be seen clearly from dozens of miles away. The entire border city was alarmed. What is that? There are actually strong people in the Viper tribe who have retained their original genes and can transform back into their powerful original forms. So the genes of the Viper tribe are at least ancient genes. Many people don't know that the essential genes of every living organism are also divided into levels. Only those ancient inherited forces know that when life is born, the essential genes are fixed, and all evolutions are based on the essential genes. The essential gene levels are divided into ordinary essential genes, intermediate essential gene, advanced essential genes, super essential gene, God level essential gene, suppress the ancient essential gene, ancient essential genes, eternal essential gene, a chaos essential gene. If a strengthened life form wants to evolve and maintain its original essential genes unchanged at the same time, only a life form with suppressed ancient essential genes can do it. It is almost impossible to achieve a breakthrough with this kind of essential gene. In other words, it is basically impossible to break through the ancient essential gene by suppressing the ancient essential gene. It took a fierce bite and was about to bite Hu Xian. The people of the Viper clan became excited, clenching their fists, hoping that Hu Xian would be swallowed in one bite. Those who prayed for Hu Xian were extremely excited when they saw that Hu Xian had forced the ancestors of the venomous snake clan to take action and even showed their true bodies first. They prayed for Hu Xian even more cruelly. Everyone hopes that Hu Xian can defeat the ancestor of the poisonous snake clan and destroy the evil poisonous snake clan. Soon, the people of the Viper tribe were stunned, because when Hu Xian faced their ancestor coming to devour him, he stood there motionless, as if he was frightened. Subconsciously I felt there was another conspiracy. Chapter 538, The Desperate Serpent King. A white-haired witch transformed into a giant python and hesitated when biting Hu Xian. After all, this guy is very powerful facing his own devouring. He doesn't dodge or avoid. This is very abnormal. After hesitating for a long time, she did not swallow Hu Xian and spat out a mouthful of venom. Hu Xian blocked the venom with a wave of his hand. Then he looked at her and said, "You don't even dare to stand here and let me eat you. What's the point of changing back to your original form? You might as well change back to human form and be my woman obediently. Human, do you really think I dare not eat you? The white-haired witch said viciously. Huaxian ignored him and smiled evilly, disappeared from the spot in an instant. The next moment, he appeared in front of a high-ranking member of the Viper clan, grabbed his neck, and directly extracted the special genetic vitality ability in his body. This guy was extremely terrified when he felt the disappearance of the genetic power in his body. "Ancestor, save me!" shouted in despair. The white-haired witch was furious. "Evil human race, no wonder all races want to suppress you. It's really abominable." The tail lashed towards Huaxian fiercely. Huaxian dodged it easily and captured another strong member of the Viper clan, directly extracting the special genetic vitality ability from their bodies. The white-haired witch couldn't bear it anymore when she saw her tribesmen being killed one by one. It opened its huge mouth, burst out at extreme speed, and bit Huaxian fiercely. Faced with this scene, Huaxian once again gave up dodging and counterattacking. This time, the white-haired witch didn't hesitate and swallowed Huaxian in one gulp. Inside the body of the white-haired witch, a transparent cover appeared on Huaxian's body, preventing the saliva and digestive fluid from approaching him. Huaxian looked curiously at the body of the white-haired witch, which was full of blood-red muscles and had amazing explosive power. He thought to himself that this venomous snake girl had a terrifying physique. If he practiced dual cultivation with her, he might not have the upper hand. Boom! The sound of a roaring tsunami was heard. The next moment, a stomach acid was mobilized by the white-haired witch and flooded towards Huaxian like a torrent. Huaxian was confident in his defense and was not afraid at all. Soon, I was overwhelmed by the strong stomach acid. It took a full minute for the stomach acid to subside. Huaxian was lying there. Not only was he fine, he wasn't even washed away at all. At this time Huaxian took out a weapon. The white-haired witch was extremely shocked when she saw this scene. No wonder this guy is not afraid of being swallowed by himself. I didn't expect him to be so powerful. Now that he is inside my body, it is too easy for him to deal with me. Just stab your heart or brain a few times and you will die. Human, stop it, tell me what you want me to do in exchange for your stopping. Huaxian said coldly, I have told you many times that you should be my woman, but you didn't want to. Now you are so cruel that you want to eat me. Don't blame me for being rude. After thinking about it, Huaxian collected all his weapons. System, extract the special genetic vitality from this guy for me. Ding, congratulations to the host, we are extracting the special gene vitality of the venomous Snake King, and can extract 10,000 points of special gene vitality per second. Huaxian was shocked that the extraction amount was calculated in seconds. How powerful is the special genetic vitality in this guy's body? Out of curiosity, he took out his weapon again. Phew! With a fierce sword, a large gash was cut out. The next moment, one could feel that special genetic vitality energy rushing toward the wound in large quantities, and the wound healed within seconds. At this scene, Huaxian really opened his mouth wide. I didn't expect that the special genetic vitality of the venomous Snake King is so terrifying, and its recovery ability is simply scary. At the same time, he also became excited. If all of this was extracted and refined, wouldn't he also be able to possess such a terrifying recovery ability? The venomous Snake King felt the special genetic vitality in his body slipping away and was extremely horrified. We tried our best to stop it, and used all the means, but it was of no avail. Extremely desperate, he roared. Despicable human, stop it. Huaxian smiled and said, I didn't do anything. You asked me to stop, but how can I stop? Despicable, please stop devouring my genetic power. Oh, you mean my special physique devouring? Sorry. The devouring physique is not something I can control. As long as I come into contact with genetic power, it will instinctively devour it. Hearing this, the Viper King was extremely shocked. You are actually an ancient physique devourer? How is it possible? How can a human like you possess a devour? The Viper King couldn't believe it. But the facts were before him. He said angrily, get out. I'll let you out. Huaxian said as he lay inside her. I think it's pretty good here. It's warm and safe. The key is that it can improve my cultivation. And I can be with you. That's simply too perfect. I can't bear to leave. You. The Serpent King was furious. Takes several deep breaths. People outside saw that the venomous Snake King looked up to the sky and breathed. And the breath formed a powerful air wave that swept across the sky, shocking everyone. The terrifying pressure enveloped the entire border city, shocking countless creatures to the extreme. In reality, the Serpent King was suppressing his anger. After suppressing it, she said to Huaxian, get out, I will be your woman. There was no way she could do anything to Huaxian inside her body, so she could only compromise. Huaxian said in a disbelieving tone, how do I know if you are lying to me? You, Buzz. His body trembled because of Hu Xian's absorption of genetic power. The Viper King's rel dropped from the 90th level of True God to the 89th level of True God. Countless creatures outside also felt the sudden drop in the Serpent King's cultivation level. They all looked at this sight in shock. I was wondering what was going on. The venomous Snake King was filled with anger, fear, and deep regret as he swallowed Hu Xian. Feeling that this guy was still madly devouring his genetic power, he felt even more desperate. A strand of soul flew towards Hu Xian. Hu Xian subconsciously stopped him. The Serpent King roared. "This is my soul as long as I sign a contract with you. You won't have to worry about whether I speak or not." Soul contract? Hu Xian's eyes lit up and he muttered. "That's right, soul contract, you bastard, accept it and get out now." Only then did Hu Xian give up his defense. That soul entered his forehead. Ding! Congratulations to the host for signing a soul contract with the white-haired witch. The venomous Snake King, the host can control the life and death of the white-haired witch through this soul. I didn't expect it to be true. Hu Xian was overjoyed. The Viper King said angrily, "Can you get out of my body now?" Hu Xian was actually very reluctant to go out, because he had swallowed up the special genetic vitality ability of the venomous Snake King at a higher level. And his special genetic ability had actually reached the 30th level of True God. From this we can see how huge the loss was when the Viper King fell from the 90th level of True God. However, if someone gives his life to you and you don't come out, it would be too much. He smiled and said, "Baby, why don't you take me out?" Chapter 539, Need to Vent. The venomous Snake King used all his strength to spit Hu Xian out. The people of the Viper tribe were shocked when they saw Hu Xian being spit out. Considering that the ancestor's cultivation had just dropped, I have guessed that the ancestor devoured this human race. And the one who suffered was probably the old patriarch. Just as they were wondering what their ancestor would do, the Serpent King transformed back into the appearance of the white-haired witch and landed beside Hu Xian with a depressed look on her face. Hu Xian looked at him with a smile on his face, extremely satisfied. Just like the evil monster clan's ancestor, the evil monster Yao Yi, who practices dual cultivation with the white-haired witch. He can use the human king points to strengthen her realm and directly refine the special genetic vitality ability in her body. In this way, the vitality of special genes can be continuously improved. Otherwise, how could he really let the venomous Snake King go? The venomous Snake King wanted to slap Hu Xian, but his life and death depended on his thoughts. Hu Xian looked at the other members of the Viper clan and his cultivation exploded, suppressing the entire scene. Feeling the super god level power erupted by Hu Xian, the Viper King was horrified and finally understood why he was defeated so miserably. Hu Xian disappeared from the spot in an instant. The next moment, a high-ranking member of the Viper clan was pinched by the neck by him, and his special genetic vitality ability was taken away. This time it didn't kill him. The Viper King was furious. "I have already surrendered to you, why are you still doing this?" Hu Xian said coldly, "The Viper tribe has done so many evil things, and their curse is so strong that we cannot leave them alive. And are you going to kill me too?" The Viper King was extremely angry. Hu Xian smiled and said, "You are different, your fate is bound to me." After saying that, he continued to attack. The Viper King felt extremely heartbroken when he saw this. "Ancestor, help me." Countless suppressed venomous snakes pleaded in despair. The venomous Snake King wanted to rescue him, but he was powerless and finally closed his eyes. Less than a quarter of an hour. The entire Viper clan left behind countless ordinary people. On the contrary, those venomous snakes whose bloodline did not have special genetic vitality abilities survived. After refining enough special gene vitality ability points, Hu Xian's special gene vitality ability reached the 45th level of True God. Such an improvement is extremely terrifying. Hu Xian closed his fingers, and the injury could be felt to be healing. He was very satisfied with the powerful recovery ability. Just at this moment, above the venomous snake clan, the extremely dense aura of resentment and curse that was imperceptible to ordinary creatures actually turned into a long dragon and swarmed towards Hu Xian. Hu Xian was frightened and subconsciously tried to dodge, only to find that he was locked and unable to move at all. He could only watch helplessly as the long dragon formed by the resentment and curse swallowed him up. Ding! Congratulations to the host, you have gained the power of the curse of resentment. It took a full 50 minutes to complete the blessing. Ding! Congratulations to the host, you have obtained the power of the curse of resentment and have reached the 60th level of the curse god. Hu Xian was stunned. It is incredible that under such circumstances, he possesses the status of a cursed god, is a true god of level 60. Looking at the almighty faith points that can be exchanged for genetic power of any level, they have accumulated to as high as 50 million points. Is the harvest this time so horrific? It took Hu Xian a long time to adapt. He took the white-haired witch's hand and said, "Baby, let's go." The word baby made the white-haired witch feel extremely sick. But he had to follow Hu Xian and leave. Who asked for the soul to be sacrificed? His life is in Hu Xian's hands. When Hu Xian walked out of the Viper clan, countless creatures looked over excitedly. Seeing that Hu Xian was safe and sound, all living beings breathed a sigh of relief. When I noticed the white-haired witch, someone recognized her and said angrily, "She is the ancestor of the Viper clan. She is the culprit, kill her." Kill her? The whole audience exploded. Hu Xian released a powerful pressure that overwhelmed the entire audience. All living creatures fell silent, in fear, their eyes focused on Hu Xian. Hu Xian said calmly, "Except for the Serpent King who is by my side, all the other direct members of the Viper clan have been destroyed by me, so they can no longer harm you. As for the Viper King, he has signed a soul contract with me. His life and death are all in my hands. It is impossible for him to hurt you." To reassure everyone, Hu Xian excited his soul and activated the soul contract. All living beings saw the soul contract flashing on Hu Xian's forehead and subconsciously looked towards the Serpent King. Sure enough, there was a soul contract icon flashing on her forehead. Only then did I believe this was true. Yeah, the Viper clan has finally been defeated. Did you see that in heaven, my daughter? You can rest in peace now. My grandson, the Viper tribe has been overthrown by the strong men of the human race. You can rest in peace now. Countless creatures at the scene said so. When the Serpent King saw this scene, he deeply realized that the Serpent tribe had done countless heinous and vicious things over the years, which led to such great public resentment. Originally, he hated Hu Xian for his cruelty and for destroying all the direct descendants of the Viper clan. Now he smiled bitterly in his heart. This was all the retribution for karma and reincarnation. The poisonous snake clan brought this upon themselves. Husband. When Yina excitedly threw herself into Hu Xian's arms, tears streaming down her face. Silly, why are you crying? Thank you, husband. If it weren't for you, I would never be able to avenge my mother in this lifetime. What happened to your mother? Asked the Serpent King. Mosquito Yina said angrily, what else could it be? A fellow named Viper Prince from your Viper clan captured my mother and ate her. My daughter was also eaten by Prince Viper. My grandson too. Countless people pointed. The Viper King clenched his fists. She regretted that she only practiced and failed to manage the Viper tribe well, which led to the Viper tribe reaching this point. He was largely responsible. And he said bitterly, I am the only one left in my entire direct lineage of the Viper clan. Those clansmen you mentioned have become ordinary people. If you want to vent your anger, just go and kill them. I thought to myself, my genetic realm is ruined, and living is just suffering. I should pay for the mistakes I made. These people looked at each other. But no one dared to go to the Viper tribe. Hu Xian said, go ahead, no one dares to touch you. I understand that the suspense in their hearts can only be fully released if I take action myself. Kill him. Some people were already disheartened. But now they gave it their all and rushed towards the poisonous snake tribe. With someone taking the lead, more people mustered up the courage to rush forward. The soldiers of the Viper tribe wanted to stop them. Before Hu Xian could make a move, the Viper King burst out with his aura and pressed forward. Boom boom boom. All the soldiers of the Viper clan were oppressed and knelt on the ground. His body was shaking and he was terrified to the extreme. Seeing this, countless creatures rushed into the poisonous snake tribe regardless of everything. Those direct descendants of the Viper clan whose cultivation had been destroyed were beaten in various ways. And many were beaten to death. Suddenly, the sky darkened. A terrifying evil aura rolled in, dark clouds gathered. And the world became dark. Chapter 540, The Strong One Arrives. The evil aura became stronger and stronger. Covering the sky and the sun, the whole world became completely dark and one could not see one's hand in front of one's face. An aura of destruction gradually emerged and became stronger and stronger. Boom boom boom. Countless creatures could not bear the pressure and knelt on the ground. Finally, they prostrated themselves on the ground. Every living being was shocked to the extreme. A strong man exclaimed, this aura must be from a super god level strong general. The evil aura is so strong, could it be that a powerful person from the evil clan has descended? Hu Xian stared at the darkness and had a bad feeling. At this time, the evil spirit Yizu and the evil monster Yao Yi all came to Hu Xian. When the Viper King saw the two people, a look of shock flashed in his eyes. She couldn't even see through the cultivation levels of these two people, which meant that they were both stronger than herself. Could it be that they came to find Hu Xian? Honey, this aura is very strong and terrifying. I'm afraid it's an extremely terrifying existence even among the super gods, said the evil monster Yao Yi. When the Viper King heard her address Hu Xian, he confirmed his guess and couldn't help asking, sister, are you a super god? The evil monster Yao Yi nodded and said, Yes, super god level. The evil spirit Izu said. Husband, I have a feeling that the terrifying existence is coming for you. Why don't you hide? Where to hide? Huaxian asked subconsciously. The evil spirit Izu said, Paradise Island. Huaxian thought for a moment and said, okay, then I'll go to Paradise Island. I thought that I had to go and see the legendary beauties of Paradise Island anyway. Ding, congratulations to the host for successfully completing the upgrade of the consumption ask reward system. Ding, congratulations to the host. You have completed the task of consuming 1 trillion magic crystals within the specified time, and receive 3 lottery fragments as a reward. Ding. New mission, complete the consumption of 2 or 3 times 3 trillion magic crystals within 1 hour. If the mission fails, the host will be killed, and if the mission is completed, 3 lottery fragments will be obtained. Lottery fragments. Huaxian was dumbfounded. It was actually adjusted to become lottery fragments? System, what's going on with this lottery fragment reward? Huaxian asked with a gloomy face. Ding, lucky draw fragments. Every time you collect 10 pieces, you can exchange them for a lucky draw opportunity. After the adjustment, you can make a lucky draw wish for each draw. There is an 80 chance of winning the wish item. Huaxian was speechless. Although making a wish and participating in a lottery was a bit tempting, how could it be as huge as the benefits brought by having more draws? As expected, it is so outstanding that even the system will suppress it. There is no way. I have to accept my fate. Wives, I'm going to Paradise Island first. After saying hello, he rushed away. Soon we arrived at the gate of Paradise Island. The receptionists guarding the gate were also looking at the sky in panic. So much so that they didn't even notice Huaxian's arrival. What are you looking at, ladies? Everyone was startled by Huaxian's voice and then looked at Huaxian. When he saw Huaxian's ID card and the words Consumer Tianziyuan, he was stunned. Huaxian smiled and walked in. The beautiful welcoming ladies guarding the gate have not yet come to their senses. Huaxian arrived at the first-class paradise with ease. The beauties here should have been swapped with the beauties at other entrances. And there wasn't a single familiar face here. But every time I come, there is a different beauty, which gives me a feeling that I never get tired of seeing her. Welcome, Mr. Consumer God. The beauties at the gate of First Paradise reacted quickly and surrounded Huaxian enthusiastically. I was extremely excited, and at the same time I was praying that this lord of consumerism would take a liking to me. Surrounded by a group of sexy beauties, Huaxian also had some wild thoughts. All kinds of ways of taking advantage of others with naughty hands. It's a pity that there are too many beautiful women around me, and I can't have them at my disposal. I can only take advantage of the ones at my disposal. Then I thought of rewarding. He immediately took out the demon crystals, sprinkled them on these beauties and said, "This is a reward for you." These beauties were somewhat unhappy with such rewards. I thought, even if you are a consumer god, you can't bully people like this with demon coins. Would we lower our dignity to pick up a few demons? When someone yelled, "Wow, it's the demon crystal." What? Demon crystal? They all looked at the things Huaxian had given them as rewards on the ground. After seeing it clearly, everyone was shocked. Is it really the demon crystal? As a beauty from the first class heaven, when has she ever been rewarded with a devil crystal? Even now that I've been rewarded, it's still a little hard to believe. Everyone is scrambling to get the demon crystal. Thank you, Lord Consumer. By the time they reacted and expressed their gratitude, Huaxian had already left. I am still shocked in my heart. He is worthy of being the king of consumption. He is so generous when he spends money. You should know that 1 demon crystal is equivalent to 1 trillion demon coins. But their status, they would have to work on Paradise Island for at least 100 years to earn this demon crystal. Now you can just bend down and pick it up. The beautiful woman who shouted was extremely regretful at this moment. I thought to myself how stupid I was. I shouldn't have said anything and just picked them up silently. Those who picked up less were also extremely upset. Huaxian has arrived in the second-class heaven. It's all the same. The big beauties have all been replaced, but they're all still very beautiful. Welcome to our Lord Consumer God. The first woman who saw Huaxian, the great destroyer, enthusiastically built the lake and welcomed it. Huaxian reached out and hugged her in his arms, and couldn't help but kiss her on the face. This second-ranked beauty was not angry at all. Instead, she was extremely excited. Her heart beat faster, and she hoped that Lord Tianziyuan would consume her. Huaxian grabbed a handful of demon crystals and stuffed them into the place where she shouldn't be. The entire groove was filled with demon crystals. This second-ranked beauty was completely stunned when she saw that they were all demon crystals. This is at least a dozen demon crystals, which equals more than 100 trillion demon coins. Oh my god, the reward from Lord Tianziyuan is the demon crystal. The other second-ranked beauties were stunned when they saw this scene. Those who reacted immediately rushed towards Huaxian. Welcome to Lord Consumer. One by one, they showed their most perfect side in front of Hu Xin, not seeking to be noticed by the Lord of Consumption, but only to be rewarded. Hu Xin was not stingy. He grabbed a handful of demon crystals and stuffed them into each beauty's pocket, saying, "Don't worry, there will be rewards for everyone." Hu Xin also took advantage of the opportunity and felt very good. Soon we arrived at the third heaven. When Hu Xin was about to repeat his old trick, boom! The sky exploded with a loud bang. There was no flash of lightning, just pure explosion sound. After the explosion, the earth-shattering pressure became stronger and stronger, and countless living beings were almost unable to breathe. Finally, in the darkness created by the evil aura, an extremely conspicuous black shadow appeared above the border city. Everyone was shocked to the extreme as they looked at the obvious dark figure in the darkness. Some people were also shocked and muttered, "It's a strong man from the Black Grudge clan. So scary." Chapter 541, Privileged Start Points War. The strong men of the Black Resentment clan slowly descended. Everyone noticed that the direction was clearly towards Paradise Island. They were all shocked. What were the powerful Black Grudge clan members doing on Paradise Island when they came in such a large group? Could it be that he came here in such a high profile, just to spend money on Paradise Island in Marginal City? This is simply impossible after all. Paradise Island is spread all over the continent, and every major city has a branch. The evil monster Yao Yi and the evil spirit Yizu looked at each other and said, "It seems that this strong man from the Black Resentment clan really came for our husband." The evil spirit Yizu said, "I understand that this guy came to Baianji City just to avoid his enemies. His purpose is to go to the death prison to avoid his enemies. I don't know if the strong men of Paradise Island can handle this guy." As they spoke, they all approached Paradise Island. The same is true for countless bigwigs. I want to know why this powerful Black Grudge clan came to Border City. At the same time, I also want to see if there is a chance to curry favor with such a strong person. As the powerful Black Grudge clan gets closer and closer to Paradise Island. In the center of Paradise Island, an old man flew up into the air and came to the guy. He frowned and asked, "Sir, what are you doing here on Paradise Island?" The Black Grudge clan's strongman glanced at the other party and said with some disdain, "Super God level 6. Although he was disdainful, his voice spread. Countless people were shocked to hear that the powerful being in charge of Paradise Island was actually a terrifying Super God level 6. What was even more shocking was that this powerful member of the Black Resentment clan didn't seem to take the other party seriously. When the strong man from Paradise Island heard this, he was very dissatisfied and said angrily, "If you dare to cause trouble on Paradise Island, a teleportation array in the central area will be activated, and the strong men from Paradise Island can arrive within 3 minutes. The Black Grudge clan expert said disaffably, 3 minutes? Do you think you can hold me back for 3 minutes? Hearing this, the strong men of Paradise Island immediately became alert. Judging from the tone, the other party really had bad intentions. He had already made secret gestures, telling the people below to prepare to notify the higher-ups and activate the teleportation array to let the strongmen come over. The Black Grudge clan's strongman suddenly said, "Don't be so nervous. I came here to help a human. His name is Hu Xin. I sense his presence in your Paradise Island." After saying that, he looked towards the third heaven through entrance number 1. Hu Xin is here, also looking at the sky. Their conversation could also be heard clearly. Unexpectedly, it was really directed at me. The strong man from Paradise Island said, "I don't care who you are targeting as long as the other party is on my Paradise Island. You can't break the rules of my Paradise Island." What about this? This guy actually took out an identity card of a consumption god. And it was a consumption god with 90 stars. Consumption god 90 stars? The powerful men in charge of Paradise Island were all shocked. Then he said, "If you are in such a position, you can certainly deal with people below the level of God. This side of third heaven." Black Butterfly disguised herself as a man and found Hu Xin. She kept an eye on the changes in the sky and saw the identity of the consumer god of the Black Resentment clan's strongman. Her expression changed drastically. She quickly said to Hu Xin, "Husband, quickly recharge to become a consumer god. As long as you are a consumer god, the other party's privileges will be invalid for you. And Paradise Island must unconditionally protect you from any harm on Paradise Island." Upon hearing this, Hu Xin quickly handed his ID card and Black Devil card to the beautiful woman next to him and said, "Help me recharge quickly." This beautiful woman seemed a little dazed. "The situation is urgent." Hu Xin slapped her hard and said, "I asked you to recharge my account." The beauty finally came back to her senses from the shock, and asked, in a panic, "Master Consumer, how much do you want to top up?" Although she knew that the terrifying strong man above was coming for this guy, the rules of Paradise Island were not something she could break. As a third-grade beauty, she must unconditionally meet the demands of Consumer Lord. Recharge me 2999 billion demon crystals. This beauty recharges quickly. Ding, congratulations to the host, you have consumed 3 trillion demon crystals within the specified time and received 3 lottery fragments. Ding, new mission. Complete the consumption of 4 times 12 trillion demon crystals within 1 hour. If the mission fails, the host will be killed if the mission is completed. 3 lottery opportunity fragments will be obtained. As the amount exceeded 1 trillion demon crystals, Huaxian's ID card was automatically upgraded to Consumer God. He had already reached the standard for consuming the God of Consumption before, but he had not recharged it, so now he just needed to recharge to reach the standard. The strong man from Paradise Island who had originally not taken action in the sky saw that Huaxian's entity card had been upgraded, so he had to bite the bullet and come to the third heaven and stood not far from Huaxian. The strong men of the Black Resentment clan also landed at the gate of the third heaven, looking at Huaxian from a distance. Even though his eyes were calm, the beauties in the third heaven did not dare to look directly at him. They felt that his eyes were like 2 extremely sharp blades. Huaxian looked at him calmly. After a long while, this guy smiled coldly and said, "You are the one who moved my Black Grudge clan to seek protection?" Huaxian asked with a smile, "I have touched many races. I don't know which race you are talking about." His calm reaction and expression were quite surprising. The Black Grudge clan warrior was stunned for a moment, then said coldly, "Since you have forgotten everything, it doesn't matter, today is the day you die." Huaxian sneered and said, "This is Paradise Island, you try to touch me." The other party said inferently, "Do you think I can't kill you on Paradise Island?" Huaxian stretched out his hand to adjust his ID card and said, "We are all Consumer God 7 if you are a 99 star. You cannot exercise special privileges on me, what can you do to me?" The tone was extremely arrogant. The strongest man on Paradise Island, the Earth Bear King, even smiled bitterly for Huaxian. "I thought to myself, kid, can't you see that I, the strongest man on Paradise Island, am no match for this guy?" The Black Grudge said disaffectedly, "Killing you is not enough for me to break the rules of Paradise Island. You only consumed 1 star of the Godly Lord, I can easily beat you down and use my privileges." Then he looked at the strongest person on Paradise Island, the Earth Bear King, and said, "I want to use the privilege of a high star consumption god to force him to fight a points battle with me. Is that against the rules?" The Earth Bear King nodded and said, "It is not against the rules, and the low star consumption god is present, and cannot refuse the points battle forcibly initiated by the high star consumption god." The latter words were spoken to Huaxian. "I thought to myself, you are such a arrogant boy, let's see what you will do now." The Black Grudge clan strongman sneered at Huaxian and asked, "Now, are you still showing off?" Huaxian said disaffectedly, "Points battle? Just ask anyone in heaven. I, Huaxian, have never been afraid of anyone." The confident and arrogant look made the strong man of the Black Resentment clan frown. He stared at Huaxian for a long time, trying to see through him and to know where his calmness came from. Chapter 542, The Terror of the High Star Consumption God. A long time. The Black Grudge clan warrior smiled coldly and said, "You are confident, but your opponent is me. I will crush any chance of your survival. Watching the cruel struggle of prey is my favorite. I hope he can only struggle for a while and don't let me down too much." After saying that, he said to the Earth Bear King beside him, "Why don't you call a classy beauty to preside over the points battle?" The Earth Bear King took out his communicator and dialed a number. The others waited. After a while, the communicator was connected. In the communication video, a super beautiful woman was seen taking a hot spring bath in an underground river. "I also ate rare fruits and enjoyed it very much." "Lord Earth Bear King, what happened that alarmed you to call me?" "Huaxia. A 90-star consumer god has come to our edge city Paradise Island, and has started a points battle with another consumer god. As the third most beautiful woman on the heavenly ranking, come quickly to preside over the battle." Huaxia said reluctantly, "Okay then, I'll be right over." When she stood up from the hot spring, she was so majestic that Huaxian's eyes widened. Big butt, big breasts, and most importantly, a super S-shaped figure. This is the most enchanting figure he has ever seen. The Earth Bear King hung up the communication and said, "Wait a moment." The atmosphere at the scene was a little tense. The strong man from the Black Grudge clan walked to a seat and sat down naturally. "Close your eyes, as if everything has nothing to do with him." Huaxian walked to the 100th floor and sat down in a very professional manner. He also said to the 2 beauties, "Come here and give me a massage." Then he said to the beautiful woman he had beaten, "Come here." The beautiful lady was trembling with fear. Huaxian grabbed a handful of demon crystals and handed them to her, saying, "This is my compensation for you." The beauty was stunned. "I couldn't believe it and thought it was an illusion. So I pinched myself silently. The pain made her realize that this was all real, and she quickly took over a dozen Eman crystals. Thank you, Lord God of Consumption. Huaxian grabbed 2 more handfuls and stuffed them into the chest of the beautiful woman who was massaging him. But the 2 of them were very happy. Thank you, Lord God of Consumption. I am so envious of the beauties around me. Someone boldly walked up to Huaxian and offered to give him a massage, saying, Master Consumption God, Yi Hong's massage skills are very good. You should feel it. Huaxian was in a good mood and grabbed a handful of demon crystals and stuffed them over. After a while, Huaxian was surrounded by a group of older girls. A Black Grudge Clan warrior couldn't help but curiously open his eyes and saw this scene. He said distaffingly, I'll let you show off for a while. Not long. A Kukaisi arrived. Seeing a group of beautiful women gathered together, he asked curiously, What are you doing? The beauties on the heavenly ranking had absolute power over these third-rank beauties. They all quickly replied respectfully, Sister Kuxia. We are serving this Lord Consumption God, he may be generous. Each of us has rewarded at least 10 Eman crystals. Oh, Kuxia was indeed surprised. I couldn't help but walk over to see what kind of person he was who was so generous. The Black Grudge Clan warrior on the other side said, Since you are here, then hurry up and lead the battle. After saying that, he threw his ID card over. As a 90-star consumption god, he is full of confidence and has a strong foundation. No way. A 1-star god lord only costs 1 trillion demon crystals. The stars means 10 trillion. Samsung 20 trillion. This will be used as an inference later. When it reaches 10 stars, it becomes 100 trillion. 20 stars equal 1 quadrillion demon crystals. After 30 stars, not much is added, each star increases by 1 quadrillion. Until it reaches 100 stars. The group of beauties surrounding Huaxian also consciously stepped aside. Only then did Kuxia see Huaxian. He exclaimed, Human? I never thought that he was so generous and even more audacious. He consumed 1 star of the god and dared to offend the guy who consumed 90 stars of the god. He was actually a human? Zhao Huaxian said, Give me the ID card. Huaxian stood up and walked towards Kuxia. I thought to myself that I must win over such a perfect and domineering beauty. He came to Kuxia, took off his ID card and handed it to her and asked, Beauty, what kind of man do you like? Kuxia saw through Huaxian's thoughts at a glance and said in a deep voice, Anyway, your status does not qualify you to consume me. He then looked at the Black Grudge Clan expert and asked, Sir, how many points did you get in your first battle? The Black Grudge Clan expert glanced at Huaxian and said calmly, First, 10 trillion demon crystal points. Yes. The whole audience took a deep breath. 10 trillion was a huge sum of money, it was too scary. It is worthy of being called a battle of consumption gods. Kuxia looked at Huaxian with disdain and said, It's your turn now. Everyone looked at Huaxian, very worried. It was because they just saw that Huaxian had recharged 3 trillion Eman coins, which was 7 trillion short of 10 trillion. Besides, once his recharge reaches 10 trillion, he will become the 2nd star of consumer god. Obviously he didn't. The Black Grudge Clan strongman said, Boy, if you can't even take the first hit, that's your death. Huaxian said calmly, It's only 10 trillion. I hope you won't feel bad later. He handed the Black Devil card to Kuxia and said, Beauty, recharge me with 12 trillion evil crystals. Kuxia was a little surprised. She didn't expect that this human was so wealthy. She recharged his account immediately. Ding, congratulations to the host. You have completed the consumption of 12 trillion demon crystals within the specified time and obtained 3 lottery opportunity fragments. Ding, new mission. Completed within 1 hour and consumed a times 3 times 36 trillion demon crystals. If the mission fails, the host will be killed. If the mission is completed, you will get 3 lottery chance fragments. Seeing that he was only 1 fragment away from making a wish and taking part in the lottery, Huaxian felt a little excited. I thought that if I made a wish for a super god level upgrade coupon, there would be an 80 chance that I would win, so it shouldn't be impossible, right? Zhao Kuxia said, 10 trillion, I will follow him. After following it, it became a tie. The goal now is not to defeat the opponent. A draw is enough. Everyone looked at the strong man of the Black Resentment clan. The latter sneered and said, Interesting, then it will be 50 trillion demon crystal points. Kuxia completed the points battle input. Everyone looked at Huaxian again. Huaxian said to Kuxia, First, recharge me with 36 trillion Eman crystals. Kuxia didn't think much about it and recharged directly. Then he looked at Huaxian. Ding, congratulations to the host. You have completed the consumption of 36 trillion Eman crystals within the specified time and received 3 lucky draw fragment rewards. Ding, new mission. Within 50 minutes, complete the consumption of twice 72 trillion demon crystals. If the mission fails, the host will be killed if the mission is completed. 4 lottery opportunity fragments will be obtained. In order to delay time, Huaxian chose to remain silent. Everyone thought that he was probably at the end of his rope. After all, how could a 1-star consumer god be a match for a 99-star consumer god? The Black Grudge Clan's strongman said disaffectedly. If you admit defeat, you will die. If you don't admit defeat, you only have 3 minutes to delay and live 3 more minutes. Chapter 543, I only have one hobby. Huaxian smiled and said, I have always been a low-key person, now I have 41 trillion points. Then, he said to Qixia, recharge me 9 trillion demon crystals. Everyone found it boring, and even after recharging 9 trillion yuan, they only ended up breaking even. Everyone became more certain that Huaxian might not make it. He shook his head secretly, thinking that one god of consumption was about to die tragically at the hands of another god of consumption. Qixia completed the recharge for Huaxian. Huaxian smiled and said, 50 trillion points go with him. Qixia gained points and looked at the strong man from the Ziyuan clan. Everyone was watching him, curious about how many points he would get this time. The powerful member of the Ziyuan clan smiled confidently and said, give me 100 trillion points. Qixia quickly added points. Everyone's eyes shifted to Huaxian. I thought, 1 million points. Does this guy have it? Huaxian said calmly, recharge me 63 trillion Eman crystals. Qixia recharges quickly. Ding, congratulations to the host. You have completed the consumption of 70 trillion Eman crystals within the specified time and obtained 4 lottery fragments. Ding, new mission. Complete it within 50 minutes and consume 5 times the critical hit of 360 trillion Eman crystals. If the mission fails, the host will be killed. Complete the mission and get 4 lottery fragments. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Huaxian continued to say to Qixia, recharge me another 37 trillion demon coins, and give him another 100 trillion points. Everyone has gradually become accustomed to Huaxian's recharge rules. After Qixia recharged patiently, she went straight into the battle with 1 million Eman crystal points. Seeing this, Ziyuan Zihentian, a strong man from the Ziyuan clan, said without waiting for everyone to look at him, give me 300 trillion points. Qixia was only concerned with her own battle points. Ziyuan Zihentian looked at Huaxian and said, keep following me. I hope you won't let me have too much fun. Huaxian smiled and said, I will definitely not let you down. I'm just afraid you won't dare to follow me. Miss Qixia, recharge me 300 trillion demon crystals and go into battle directly. Qixia frowned, slightly dissatisfied with Huaxian's address, but still completed the recharge and went into battle. Ziyuan Zihentian had a disdainful smile on his face, but he was a little dissatisfied in his ear that didn't expect Huaxian to be so wealthy. We have to see where his bottom line is. He said coldly, give me 100 trillion demon crystal points for the battle. The whole audience was shocked. I didn't expect that the battle at the god level would be so fierce, involving 100 trillion demon crystal points. The eyes of the whole audience fell on Huaxian again. Can he keep up? Huaxian kept smiling. Miss Qixia, please recharge me 20 trillion Eman crystals first. Qixia recharges directly. Ding, congratulations to the host. You have completed the consumption of 360 trillion Eman crystals within the specified time and obtained 4 lottery fragments. Ding, new mission. Completed within 50 minutes and consume 8 times 2780 trillion demon crystals. If the mission fails, the host will be killed. If the mission is completed, 4 lottery opportunity fragments will be obtained. After accumulating 20 chapters of lottery fragments, Huaxian said with some anticipation, system, I want to make a wish for the lottery. Ding, please make a wish. I want to make a wish to win the Super God level 10 upgrade scroll twice. Ding, the host currently has the right to make a wish and draw the highest level 5 Super God level upgrade coupon. The chance of winning the wish gift is 80. The chance of winning the level for Super God level upgrade coupon is 85. The chance of winning the level 1 Super God level upgrade coupon is 99. Please confirm the level of the wish item. Try your best to turn a bicycle into a motorcycle. Huaxian said without hesitation, give me 2 chances to win the level 5 Super God upgrade scrolls. Ding, congratulations to the host, you have won 2 level 5 Super God upgrade scrolls in the lottery, and consumed 20 lottery fragments. Huaxian breathed a sigh of relief. An 80 success rate was still very high. Suddenly I felt that after the system upgrade, although the chances of winning the lottery were harder, the 5th grade prizes were better, especially when making a wish. You can get the items you need in a targeted way. It seems that after the upgrade, it has become more humane. System, used to level 5 Super God upgrade scrolls to strengthen the 98 evil gene realm. Ding, congratulations to the host, you have used to level 5 Super God upgrade scrolls to strengthen the 90 evil gene realm. And your current realm is Super God level 11. After completing the upgrade and possessing strong strength, Huaxian breathed a sigh of relief and was finally no longer worried about the threat of Ziyuanzi Hentian. He said confidently to Q Cuxia, recharge me 977 Rillion Eamon crystals and I will fight you directly. After recharging, Q Cuxia went straight into battle. The whole audience was shocked. Everyone is curious about how many points Ziyuan Zentian will give out this time. Ziyuanzi Hentian looked at Huaxian. He never expected that this human race was so wealthy. It's hard to imagine where his demon crystal came from. After a while, he said to Q Cuxia, give me 500 trillion points to fight. This. Everyone in the audience took a deep breath. 5 quadrillion, that's too terrifying. They all looked at Huaxian, wondering, can he still follow? Huaxian smiled and said, it's interesting this way, it won't be boring. Miss Cuxia, please recharge me 180.3 Rillion Eamon crystals first. A Q Cuxia recharged Huaxian's account. Someone muttered, why do I feel like this human race is suddenly more confident? I feel the same way, it's really strange. Ding! Congratulations to the host, you have completed the consumption of 278 trillion demon crystals within the specified time and obtained 4 lottery opportunity fragments. Ding! New mission. Complete it within 50 minutes and consume 10 times 2780 trillion demon crystals. If the mission fails, the host will be killed. If the mission is completed, 4 lottery opportunity fragments will be obtained. Miss Cuxia, recharge me another 780 trillion demon crystals, and then use all your points to fight. Cuxia quickly recharged and joined the battle. And he said to Ziyuanzi Hentian, Mr. Hu, I give you 460 trillion points. Because it was the first time that Huaxian was bigger than the other person. Q Cuxia said it out. Others were also shocked. He actually used more than 400 trillion to attack Ziyuanzi Hentian. Is he going to start a counterattack? Ziyuanzi Hentian once again looked at Huaxian. And then said, it's quite interesting, I'm quite curious about your identity now. How about adding some spice? Huaxian smiled confidently and said, my favorite is the lottery. Ziyuanzi Hentian smiled and said, if you lose, how about telling me where you got these demon crystals? What if you lose? Huaxian asked instead of answering. I can't lose. Huaxian sneered, I also don't think I will lose. Ziyuanzi Hentian smiled coldly and said, then tell me your conditions. Huaxian said without thinking, I only have one hobby, which is beautiful women. As he said this, he looked at Q Cuxia, and he continued to say to Ziyuanzi Hentian, if you lose, redeem Miss Cuxia and let her be my wife, how about that? Chapter 544 Too scary. Ziyuanzi Hentian was stunned. He originally thought that Huaxian's condition was to beg for mercy and ask him to give him a chance to live. I didn't expect that even when he was about to die, he was still thinking about beautiful women. Do you really want to sacrifice the woman's life? He nodded and said, okay. I don't believe Huaxian can beat me at all. Q Cuxia frowned. Although he didn't believe that Huaxian could defeat Ziyuanzi Hentian, he was still unhappy that Huaxian was planning to target him. As for the human race, no matter how outstanding they are, Q Cuxia doesn't like them. Huaxian smiled and said, it's settled then, it's your turn. Ziyuan's Entian Xiao Q Cuxia said, give me 100 trillion points. The whole audience was in an uproar. It's so shocking. Unexpectedly, Ziyuanzi Hentian skipped 1 trillion and went directly to 100 trillion. Looking at Huaxian, everyone felt that he might not be able to keep up, right? Q Cuxia quickly gave Ziyuanzi Hentian 100 trillion points. Because each star after 30 stars adds 1 quadrillion points. To reach the 99th star, there are only 700 trillion points. But 100 stars is a hurdle, which requires a recharge of 100 trillion to break through. Each subsequent star does not add much, 100 trillion is enough. The second hurdle will appear at 200 stars, which is 10 trillion Eamon crystals. With 100 trillion added for each star. The following 300 stars and 400 stars are all deduced from this. Therefore, when Ziyuanzi Hentian scored 100 trillion points, the 99 stars he consumed as god fell immediately. Currently he is a 30-star consumer god. Seeing this, Huaxian said disapprovingly, only 100 trillion has knocked you down from the 99 stars of the consumption god? I have to say, you are a bit exaggerated. Ziyuanzi Hentian was not angry. He said coldly, you can tell me when you catch up. Huaxian nodded and looked at Q Cuxia. Miss Cuxia, recharge me 20 trillion Eamon crystals first. While Q Cuxia recharged Huaxian dissatisfied lie. Ding! Congratulations to the host, you have completed the consumption of 278 trillion demon crystals within the specified time and obtained 4 lottery fragments. Ding! New mission. Complete the critical hit for times rounded to 100 trillion Eman crystals within 50 minutes. If the mission fails, the host will be killed. Complete the mission to obtain for lottery opportunity fragments. The new spending limit arrived, and Huaxian said to Qinsaya, "But charge me another 90 trillion Eman crystals, and all the points will be used in the battle." Yu Kexia quickly recharged and went to the battle, saying to Ziyuan Zihentian, "Mister, who is what really an older than you?" Zhiyuan Zihentian's expression turned gloomy. "I just couldn't understand how a guy who saw me coming in quickly recharged to become a one-star consumer god in order to survive, but have such terrifying financial power?" Huaxian looked at Ziyuan Zihentian with a smile, and said proudly, "Why, you can't keep up now, it doesn't matter. Redeem Miss Yu Kexia, she will be mine from now on." Yu Kexia said angrily, "Although I am a consumer of the 99 stars of the Divine Lord, I am qualified to consume my services, but I am only limited to eating and playing with my friends. I am not allowed to consume anything else." After these words were spoken, Ziyuan Zihentian's expression became even uglier. But this is indeed the rule of Paradise Island. Although he is powerful, he does not want to be an enemy of Paradise Island. Huaxian smiled and said, "This is not my problem anyway. The 99-star consumer god agreed to the bet just now." Ziyuan Zihentian said inferently, "You are only 1/1,000,000th of a trillionth older than me. Do you think you can beat me?" He took out his own demon card, which turned out to be a black demon card, and handed it to Qinsaya, saying, "Recharge me with 200 trillion demon crystals, and directly increase the battle points." His voice was cold, simply because this was all he had. As a big shot, what kind of women has he not played with? It is impossible for him to spend such a huge amount of money to consume a woman. This points battle was launched because we felt that the opponent was weak and could be defeated easily. Unexpectedly, I met such a troublemaker. He invested all his belongings in it. Instead, Paradise Island made huge profits. Yu Kexia quickly recharged and gained points in the battle. Only then did he look at Huaxian with dislike or even disgust and said, "Master Ziyuan Zihentian has 190 trillion points more than you." Huaxian nodded and said, "First, recharge me with 10 trillion demon crystals." Yu Kexia quickly recharged. "Ding, congratulations to the host. You have completed the consumption of 100 trillion demon crystals within the specified time and won for lottery opportunities. Ding, new mission, completed within 50 minutes and consume 10 times the critical hit of 100 trillion demon crystals. If the mission fails, the host will be killed. If the mission is completed, for lucky draw opportunity fragments will be obtained." Huaxian continued, "Recharge me another 500 trillion Eman crystals." What? The whole audience was shocked. It was because they saw that Ziyuan Zihentian's recharge of 200 trillion Eman crystals was already his limit. However, he is a veteran consumer god with a 99-star power. Right now, this human race is actually going to recharge 500 trillion Eman crystals. Even if the evil resentment of the sky is suppressed by 200 trillion points, there will still be 300 trillion points left. It's too scary. Ziyuan Zihentian was also frightened. Then he didn't believe it at all, and said to Yu Kexia in a mocking tone, "Recharge him 500 trillion demon crystals." "I don't believe he can recharge successfully." Yu Kexia couldn't believe it either and quickly recharged her account. And I was stunned. Everyone saw her expression and understood. "Did you really recharge?" Huaxian said with a smile. "Give me 300 trillion points for the battle." Yu Kexia finally reacted and looked at Huaxian in shock, doubting whether this guy had the ability to recharge 100 trillion Eman crystals. Huaxian was quickly awarded 300 trillion points, and said to Ziyuan Zihentian, "Mister, who is 110 trillion points ahead of you?" Everyone's eyes were focused on Ziyuan Zihentian. 100 trillion. They began to doubt that he could not keep up. Well, if he loses, he has to fulfill his promise with Huaxian. But how can he do that without spending 300 Divine Lord stars? Don't even think about redeeming Yu Kexia, who is ranked 3rd on the heavenly ranking. Ziyuan Zihentian glared at Huaxian. After a long while, he said coldly, "You are so cruel. You better hide in Paradise Island for the rest of your life and never go out." After saying that, he turned and left. Huaxian shouted inferently, "Wait. I thought to myself, do you think I am still the same person I was just now?" Ziyuan Zihentian stopped, turned around and looked at Huaxian coldly and asked, "Why, you are not convinced and want to keep me?" Huaxian sneered and asked, "Is it so shameless that you can't afford to lose the bet if you spend the 99 stars of the Godly Lord?" Ziyuan Zihentian was extremely angry. After all, he was slapped in the face by Huaxian. But he said shamelessly, "I just can't afford to lose. What can you do to me? I, Ziyuan Zhenqian, came here today with the purpose of killing you. The points battle is just for fun, so what if you beat me? After saying that, he turned and left again. Huaxian said in an extremely cold voice, "If you don't fulfill your bet today, don't even think about leaving here alive." Chapter 545 Stop, do you know who I am? Yes. Hearing Huaxian's words, everyone in the audience took a deep breath. A black butterfly watching the show on the side said in horror, "Husband, don't be impulsive." Huaxian glanced at Heidi and said confidently, "You don't understand me yet. When have you ever done something you weren't sure of?" Ziyuan Zihenti, and didn't think Huaxian was stronger than him, and said disdainfully, TSK, you are so arrogant. Come on, I want to see how you kill me." I thought to myself, if you had such strength, you wouldn't have run to Paradise Island to hide. Huaxian asked coldly, "So, you are determined to cheat and not accept defeat?" Ziyuan Zihentian smiled and said, "I am just cheating. What can you do to me?" Huaxian nodded and said, "If that's the case, then I can only use force to solve it. Come on, lowly human. I'm waiting." Before he could finish his words, Huaxian disappeared instantly. When it appears again, already standing in front of Ziyuan Zihentian. What shocked the whole audience was that Huaxian's right hand had already grabbed Ziyuan's neck. He was lifted up like a chicken. Ziyuan Zihentian was extremely shocked, because he didn't feel how Huaxian appeared in front of him at all. "If my neck hadn't suddenly felt tight, I wouldn't have known someone was pinching it." He burst out with the strength of the 7th level super god at all costs, trying to struggle free. However, he was suppressed so tightly by Huaxian that he didn't even have the qualifications to be stabbed with a needle. At this moment, Ziyuan Zihentian was truly frightened. "I can't figure out why this is happening. This guy clearly gave him the impression of being weak before, but he crushed him after a points battle. It was so weird." Huaxian said coldly, "Do you think your level 7 super god strength is awesome? Can it crush everything? What do you want?" Ziyuan Zihentian asked, suppressing the fear in his heart. Huaxian's murderous intent suddenly erupted, and he said murderously, "You made your own choice. What do you want me to do?" Flick. Brutally crushed Ziyuan Zihentian's neck. But this does not cause much harm to the super god level strongmen. But Ziyuan Zihentian was suppressed so tightly that he couldn't move at all. His neck was crushed, which made him feel the pain, but also made him feel Huaxian's courage. This guy really dares to kill himself. Boom! The space trembled. Huaxian punched him in the head. Magnetic. A terrifying force caused countless cracks to appear in space. Ziyuan Zihentian was terrified to the extreme and roared, "Stop, do you know who I am?" Before he could finish, boom! Huaxian punched him in the head without stopping. Explode instantly. If the brain is destroyed, even for a super god level strongman, there is only one way to survive, and that is to find a head to revive before the super god gene power disappears. Boom! Huaxian threw out another punch. Without giving Ziyuan Zihentian any chance to survive, his body was also blown up. The super god level genetic power had no place to be stored and quickly dissipated between heaven and earth. The whole audience was stunned with horror as they watched this scene. The powerful member of the Ziyuan clan, who was a 99-star consumer god and as 7th level super god, was so domineering when he came. Who would have thought that he would die so miserably in the end? He was killed by this human race without any ability to fight back. So what kind of horrific realm does this human race reach? Heidi found that she seemed to understand this guy at all. Apart from being lustful, I feel like I know nothing else. Huaxian clapped his hands and said disdainfully, "A little consumer god of 99 stars dares to challenge my bottom line. He is courting death." No one fought back, nor did they dare to fight back. Huaxian came to Qixia and asked with a smile, "Miss Qixia, how many demon crystals do I need to top up to consume you?" Qixia was also shocked by Huaxian's decisiveness. After reacting, he said inferently, "Human, maybe you are really strong, but you have to understand that the Ziyuan clan in Ziyuan domain is the largest. Even though the Ziyuan clan has now been torn apart and divided into many branches, the Ziyuan clan is definitely not something you, a human, can provoke. And you actually killed a super god level strongman from the evil clan. You'd better leave Paradise Island as soon as possible. There is only one place where you have a chance to survive." "Where?" Huaxian asked subconsciously. "Death Island." Huaxian nodded and said with a smile, "Thank you for your kindness. It seems that you still care about me, otherwise, why would you worry about my safety and recommend me to go to the island of the dead?" Qixia rolled her eyes and said, "You think too much. There is no exit from Death Island. No one who has entered has ever come out. I just don't want to be pestered by you, so I recommended you to go to Death Island." These straightforward words made everyone around her break out in a cold sweat. After all, even though she is a great beauty on the heavily ranking, she is just a worker. He was the one who defeated the 99-star consumption god and easily crushed the super god level 7. Even the human race is really excellent. So the other beauties at the scene were all very envious of Huaxian. I wish I could take Huaxian down by force. Huaxian smiled and said, so, I won't go to Paradise Island until I get you. Now that I have consumed the identity of a 99-star god, I order you to tell me how I can consume you, redeem you, and keep you by my side. He recharged 500 trillion and spent 300 trillion, with 200 trillion remaining, which was far more than the average 99-star consumption god. Of course, there is still a shortfall of 800 trillion Eman crystals to reach the 100-star consumption god level. Huaxia was extremely upset, but Huaxian's status was there. So she suppressed her disgust and said, consuming the 99 stars of the godly lord, you have the right to control the third on the heavenly ranking to do some simple things. If you spend more than 100 Divine Lord stars, you are eligible to ask the third on the heavenly ranking to play with you, eat with you, play games, etc. If you consume more than 200 Divine Lord stars, you are eligible to ask the third on the heavenly ranking to hold hands, and perform other intimate actions. Consume 300 God Lord stars, and you are eligible to consume the third place on the heavenly ranking. Sleep, redeem yourself, and occupy. After saying that, he looked at Huaxian, as if to say, if you have the ability, just recharge 300 stars of the God Lord and give it a try. Huaxian smiled and nodded, so it's not easy to get you. Then recharge me 500 trillion demon crystals first. Knowing Huaxian's recharging habit, Huaxia's heart trembled and she suddenly felt uneasy. In the points battle between this guy and Ziyuan Zihentian, every time he says to recharge a small amount first, and then directly crush him with a large amount. He wouldn't top up a small amount for his own sake and then take me down with a large amount, right? If this is the case, what should I do? How can I, a member of the Divine Bird clan, be defiled by a human? But there was no other way. She didn't dare to break the rules of Paradise Island. So she could only grit her teeth and recharge Huaxian. Chapter 546, Better Not to Be Too Embarrassed. Ding! Congratulations to the host, you have consumed 100 trillion Eman crystals within the specified time and obtained 4 lottery opportunity fragments. Ding! New mission. Within 50 minutes, complete a critical hit of 5 times 500 trillion Eman crystals consumption. If the mission fails, the host will be killed. If the mission is completed, 4 lucky draw opportunity fragments will be obtained. After recharging 500 trillion yuan, everyone saw Huaxian with a smug smile on his face. I was also a little nervous, would this guy really recharge for Huaxia? Huaxian said calmly, recharge me another 200 trillion demon crystals. Everyone was shocked. 200 trillion. This is far more than the consumption of 199 stars of the god of consumption. Of course, the threshold for the second hurdle of 200 stars is 10 trillion demon crystal points. Therefore, although 200 trillion points surpassed the 199 stars of the god of consumption, it was still far from the 200 stars of the god of consumption. Huaxia breathed a sigh of relief. Even if he consumed 199 stars of the god of consumption, he could only ask her to play with him, eat with him, and play games with him, but he couldn't even touch her hand. Huaxian smiled at Huaxia and said, it's getting late. Arrange lunch and eat with me. Huaxia rolled her eyes and said, this way, please. Huaxian took 2 steps and quickly turned to Heidi and said, wife, go tell the others not to worry about me, I will come to find you soon. Heidi rolled her eyes and said, he values women over his wife. Huaxian chuckled and said, wife, don't you want such a beautiful sister? It's pleasing to the eyes just by looking at her. Black Butterfly looked at Huaxia and said, the Divine Bird clan is naturally beautiful, it's really pleasing to the eye. Even if I'm a girl, I like them. Hubby, come on, you must take her down. Huaxian said confidently, don't worry, my dear, I will complete the task. Black Butterfly nodded and said, husband, although picking up girls is important to you, you have to be prepared after killing the strong man of the Ziyuan clan. Huaxian nodded and said, wife, don't worry, I know what's going on. After Heidi left, Huaxian rubbed his hands and followed Huaxia away. These third-grade beauties present at the scene can only envy. They knew that their identities were looked down upon by the human race. Following Huaxia, they came directly to the 8th heaven, where the beauties on the heavenly ranking lived. Naturally, it is a private house with its own courtyard. Huaxian discovered that not only is the scenery here beautiful and the air fresh, but even the genetic power elements are richer than other places. From this we can see that the treatment of the beauties on the heavenly list is very good. Huaxia did not have any maids. Walking into the yard, he said to Huaxian coldly, you enjoy the scenery by yourself. I'll go cook. Huaxian said happily, I didn't expect that I could eat the food you cooked. I am so happy. Yukaxia still said coldly, the food I cooked costs 100 million Eman crystal points for each dish. Do you still think it smells good? Huaxian smiled and said, it smells so good, I wish I could eat it every day. Yukaxia rolled her eyes, thinking that this guy was a man who didn't feel sorry for spending 10 trillion or 100 trillion. So why would he care about 100 million Eman crystal points? Cooking since ancient times. Huaxian wandered around her yard. Although the yard is not particularly big, it has everything. Lotus pond, swimming pool, open-air fitness field, martial arts training ground, etc. Everything is available. Huaxian looked at it for a while and found it boring. In such a beautiful environment, how could she be as pretty as the third most beautiful woman on the heavenly ranking? When I came to the kitchen in the yard, I saw Yukaxia cooking seriously. What are you doing here? Hearing Huaxian's footsteps, he asked without turning back. The voice was as cold as ever. Huaxian chuckled and said, I was bored, so I came over to take a look and learn some cooking skills. You men can cook? Huaxian said confidently, I'm not bragging about my cooking skills. Every girl who has eaten my cooking will fall in love with me. Yukaxia burst out laughing. With a look of disbelief. He said, you are the most boastful creature I have ever seen. Huaxian looked at her profile seriously and said, I'm not bragging. If you don't believe me, I can show you my skills. Well, I want to see how good your cooking skills are. With a snort he stepped aside. Come and try to show off your skills. Huaxian nodded. Rolled up his sleeves and said, then I'll show you my skills and take you down. Then she realized that she didn't have an apron, so she smiled and said to Yukaxia, Aprame, can you lend it to me? Yukaxia didn't give her own one to Huaxian, but went to get a new one and threw it to Wuxian. Huaxian looked at the apron she was wearing and said, I actually want to use the apron you use the most. Shut up with your current status, you are only qualified for me to accompany you for dinner and play simple games. You are not qualified to ask for my personal belongings. Huaxian smiled bitterly and said, no hurry, I'll cook first. System, my cooking skills have already reached the super god level. Can't I improve it further? Ding, draw a lottery to get a cooking breakthrough upgrade ticket. Huaxian smiled bitterly. The chance to win a lottery was so rare nowadays. How could he waste it on a cooking upgrade ticket? However, to cope with the current situation, it would be easy for him to use his god-level cooking skills. Huaxian looked at all the ingredients on the scene. He looked at Yukaxia and asked, Miss Kaisia, what dishes would you like to eat? You tell me and I'll make it. Yukaxia didn't believe in Huaxian's cooking skills at all, and said coldly, just make whatever you can. Then he emphasized, it's better not to be too embarrassing. Huaxian nodded and said, so you can just play freely? Then I'll make a few simple dishes. And I picked green peppers, potatoes, eggs, tomatoes, vegetables, and tofu. All are ordinary dishes that cannot be considered ordinary. Huaxian first made shredded green peppers and potatoes. It looks just normal. Shred potatoes and cut green peppers. It looks like that. Yukaxia looked at it and shook her head. I thought, even if you know a little bit about cooking and making home-cooked rice, what will it taste like? I also want to make a name for myself by cooking. Capture my own stomach, and dream on. Soon, a large plate of fragrant shredded green peppers and potatoes came out of the oven. Yukaxia smelled the fragrance and murmured to herself, it smells okay, it probably doesn't taste bad. I didn't think about it being delicious at all. Huaxian quickly made braised tofu, stir-fried vegetables, and tomato and egg soup. 3 dishes and 1 soup were served, all in large portions. Yukaxia sneered, I didn't expect that you look skinny but have such a big appetite. Huaxian smiled and said, I did all this, but I didn't do it for myself. Not for yourself, is it for me? Yukaxia asked, pointing at her nose. Huaxian nodded seriously and said, yes, I made it for you. He handed the chopsticks to Yukaxia and said confidently, come on, try my super god-level cooking skills. Yukaxia refused Huaxian's chopsticks, took a pair of her own, picked up a small piece of shredded potato and put it into her mouth. Chapter 547, No More Ideas. As soon as you take a sip, the original flavor of potatoes, the fragrance that has not been destroyed in the slightest, attacks your nasal cavity. This step alone shocked Yukaxia, who loved cooking. Take a gentle bite and it's crunchy, cooked yet crispy, with the heat controlled to perfection. Savor it slowly and you will enjoy the endless aftertaste. And this is just the feeling of a small potato. Yukaxia could no longer control herself and picked up a large portion of shredded green peppers and potatoes with her chopsticks. When it enters the mouth, it still has the original flavor. I can't wait to bite it. The green pepper added to it makes the shredded potatoes seem to have a soul. It makes people linger and can't put down their chopsticks. A large plate of shredded potatoes was quickly swept away by Quxia, but she was still hesitant. He looked sharply at the braised tofu, fried vegetables, and tomato and egg soup. I couldn't wait to pick up a piece of vegetable, put it in my mouth, and my taste buds exploded. It's unbelievable. How can there be such delicious vegetables in the world? Tasting a piece of tofu, the soul is simply floating. The deliciousness is indescribable. Take a sip of tomato and egg soup. The perfect combination of tomatoes and eggs, the most delicious and nutritious, are all in the soup. After taking a sip, I feel that all the cells in my body are awakened and I feel more energetic. How is this done? It's obviously just an ordinary home-cooked dish. Eat, eat. I can't stop at all. In a short while, 3 dishes and 1 soup, all in large plates, were swept away by Quxia. My stomach has grown a lot, but I still don't feel satisfied with the meal. Huaxian didn't even move his chopsticks. He looked at her with a smile and asked, "How is it? My cooking skills are pretty good, right?" Quxia finally reacted and pretended to be calm and said, "It's just so, barely edible." I thought to myself, this guy must be a foodie, otherwise how could he have such good cooking skills? Huaxian smiled and said, "I said I would make you a delicious meal tonight. But since it's just average, forget it." Feast? Muttering to herself, Quxia was very much looking forward to it. I thought, if the side dishes are so delicious, how about the big meal? The more I think about it, the more I look forward to it. He quickly said, "Since you are so sincere, I will let you cook a big meal tonight." At this time, Huaxian walked up to her. He reached out and grabbed her hand. A feeling of electric shock caused Quxia's body to tremble violently. After reacting, he shouted angrily, "What are you going to do? Just want to struggle free?" However, his cultivation level was not as good as Huaxian's to begin with, and he had eaten too much in addition. Huaxian was holding him tight, so he could not struggle free. Huaxian smiled and said, "Look, the food I cook is so delicious, don't you want to eat it only once or twice? If you follow me, wouldn't it be nice to eat whatever you want every day?" Quxia wanted to fight back, but when she thought about how delicious the food was, she couldn't. I never thought that one day would be conquered by the food. Seeing that Huaxian was about to take more extreme actions, he hurriedly said, "You'd better abide by the rules of Paradise Island. Otherwise something bad will really happen." Huaxian also knew that Paradise Island was mysterious and powerful, so it was better to keep a low profile on its current strength. So he said, holding hands and hugging each other should be fine. As he spoke, he had already hugged Quxia in his arms. "Put your hands down honestly. Huaxian, don't do this." Quxia's breathing was extremely rapid, her face was flushed, and she was almost out of control. "What do you mean don't do this?" Huaxian asked with a smile, smelling her hair. The reaction was extremely strong. After Quxia felt it, she became even more shy. He bit his tongue lightly to suppress the evil fire and quickly put it aside. Rushed into his room. Clang. He shut the door heavily. Huaxian looked over there and felt really uncomfortable. He got up and left the yard, thinking of finding an eye for 10th grade beauty to vent. Not far. Then I heard the pleasant sound of a piano. There was a solemn tone of homesickness and a hint of sadness in the voice, and I walked towards the source of the voice out of curiosity. Soon we arrived at a lotus pond. The lotus flowers are in bloom. The fish are gathering together, and the colorful butterflies are flying. It is very beautiful. Under the pavilion, a beautiful figure is playing the piano. Huaxian couldn't help but walk over. I sat down behind her and listened with rapt attention. After a long time, the piano music ended. The beautiful figure slowly turned around and looked at Huaxian, who was closing his eyes in ecstasy. Zanyan smiled and asked, "I wonder who this young master is." Huaxian then opened his eyes, looked at his ID card and said, "A person who likes beautiful women. You are so honest. I wonder which beautiful lady the young master has taken a fancy to." Huaxian smiled and said, "The peerless beauty is right in front of me. Isn't it unnecessary to ask such a question?" The other party looked at Huaxian's ID card and said, "But your identity is not enough to consume me." Huaxian also looked at her ID card and said, "I am indeed not qualified to be the second on the heavenly ranking. I am very satisfied to be able to talk to you today." As he spoke, he walked to the edge of the pavilion and looked at the schools of fish. Obviously, they were all attracted by her beautiful piano music. "Why can these fish understand your music and are so obsessed with it?" "Because they are all my people." "Are you a fish man?" Huaxian was quite surprised. The other party nodded and said, "I am from the mermaid clan." "Mermaids, no wonder they are so beautiful." "I don't know, may I know your name?" The other party's ID card could hide his name, so Huaxian did not see it. "Merseman Rainbow Monster." After saying that, he stood up, holding the piano, and slowly left. Huaxian looked at her peerless back and found that he could not even think of profaning this fishman rainbow monster. It was really strange. Logically, I should want to win the heart of this beauty who is ranked second on the heavenly ranking. But there is no such bottom. Why? At this time, in the distance, several 8th grade beauties came over to play as a group. Huaxian realized that the evil anger he had caused from Qcuxia was due to the disappearance of the fishman rainbow monster. Hey, where's that man? A beautiful lady said this as she walked over. The same is true for other beautiful women. After all, a man who can appear here must have a good status and position. As I got closer, I could see Huaxian's ID card clearly. Everyone was shocked. The consumption god has 199 stars. So strong. Sir, you are alone. Do you need anything? Asked a beautiful woman Kokathis Lai. As 8th grade beauties, each of them is as beautiful as a fairy, and their figure, appearance, and temperament are all extremely attractive. However, Huaxian found that he really had no intention of possessing it. Could this all be related to that merman rainbow monster? It's really mysterious. He smiled and said to these beautiful ladies, "Leave me your contact information. I will contact you when I need you." Okay. A group of beautiful women were vying to leave their contact information. At this time, a handsome young man came over from a distance. Seeing this scene, his eyes lit up and he shouted, "Beautiful ladies, come here." Chapter 548, You will dislike women after following her. Everybody looked over. When he saw that it was a 10-star consumer god, he instantly lost interest. They ignored him and surrounded Huaxian to add his contact information. The young man immediately became unhappy and walked over quickly. He angrily asked, "Are you deaf or blind? Can't you hear me?" I thought to myself, I am a consumer god after all. But it is abominable that I am ignored by a group of women who are not on the list. A beautiful woman said, "Sir, look at the person in front of you speaking." Only then did the young man notice Huaxian, who was surrounded by women. Seeing the 199-star consumption god, his body trembled violently and he was extremely shocked. Looking at Huaxian's face, what is even more shocking is that a human being, not only young and good-looking, but also consumes 199 stars of the God Lord. It is too scary. "Sir, you are busy, sorry to bother you." Huaxian shouted, "Wait." The latter's body trembled. And he turned around and asked, "Sir, please give me your orders." Huaxian smiled and said, "It's okay, I'll give it a try. Will you listen to me?" The young man's body trembled and he was very angry. However, the other party was of noble status and he did not dare to offend him. So he could only leave in silence. A group of 8th grade beauties were at the scene, laughing their asses off. The 10-star consumer god dared to snatch food from the tiger's mouth and rob the food of a 199-star consumer god. He deserves it. The implication is that they are all Huaxian's people. Huaxian discovered that the evil fire that had been suppressed was gradually rising again. Looking at these 8th grade beauties in front of me, I became interested again. He hugged two of them and his hands were in all kinds of naughty ways. These beauties suddenly realized that this god of consumption with 199 stars likes girls to take the initiative. So nearly 50 minutes. Huaxian said loudly, "You all performed well. I like it very much. There are rewards." "Thank you, Lord God of Consumption." The group of beautiful ladies were all delighted. Huaxian also said happily, "Give me your devil card and I will transfer the money to you directly. You can divide it among yourselves." The beautiful woman quickly handed her devil card to Huaxian, thinking, this kind of adult with a consumption god of 199 stars should be very generous, right? Huaxian directly transferred the remaining 300 million Iman crystals from their spending limit to them. Ding, congratulations to the host, you have consumed 500 trillion Iman crystals within 50 minutes and obtained for lottery opportunity fragments. Ding, new mission, within 50 minutes, complete the consumption of 4 times 20 million brilliant Iman crystals. If the mission fails, the host will be killed. If the mission is completed, you will get for lottery opportunity fragments. After receiving the demon crystal transferred by Huaxian, a beautiful woman opened her mouth wide and stood stunned. Seeing this, the other beauties couldn't help but ask curiously, "Ladybug Leal, what's wrong with you?" "Ladybug Leal, I'm talking to you, what's wrong with you?" After shouting for a long time, Ladybug Leal finally responded and shouted in fear, 300 trillion Iman crystals." "What?" The beauties at the scene were all shocked. And he asked in disbelief, "Ladybug Leal, are you saying that this Lord God of Consumption rewarded us with 300 trillion magic crystals?" In the distance, a peerless beauty just happened to pass by. Hearing the huge noise here, he walked over curiously. He was also quite shocked to hear the number of 300 trillion Iman crystals. Curiously asked, "What are you shocked about?" These beauties suddenly turned around and looked over. After seeing it clearly, he exclaimed, Elf Fairy, it was this 199-star consumer god who rewarded us with 300 trillion Eamon crystals. What? The elves and fairies were all shocked, looking at Huaxian curiously. Huaxian also looked at her. This beautiful elf Xianer was actually ranked 7th on the heavily ranking. Huaxian said to these 8th grade beauties, "You all should leave. By the way, remember to rate my reward if anyone doesn't get it. Remember to come find me." "Thank you, Lord God of Consumption." The group of beautiful women left excitedly. 300 trillion demon crystals. If they were divided equally, it would be an astronomical figure. When they were far away, Huaxian asked the elf Xianer, "With my identity, can I consume you?" The elf fairy was stunned. "I don't like humans either. But his identity is there." He smiled bitterly and said, "Of course. I thought. Curiosity killed the cat. I shouldn't have come here." Huaxian nodded and said, "Then come here." Elf Xianer walked up to Huaxian depressedly. Huaxian hugged her unceremoniously. Then he took a bite. They were reluctant to separate for a long time, and their hands became more and more excessive. Fairy Elf said with rapid breathing, "My lord, we can't stay here any longer. Go to my place." "Okay, show me the way." Huaxian eagerly hugged her and left. "Go to the right." The elf Xianer also breathed rapidly. Huaxian galloped away. Unexpectedly, I met the merman rainbow monster on the road. Passing by him, I felt that the evil fire that was about to explode was suppressed easily. This scene is amazing. He intended to stay a little longer. All the evil fire in his body disappeared completely. Putting the elf Xianer down, he caught up with the fishman Hong Yao and asked, "Why is it that when I am by your side, the evil fire is suppressed?"